What's up? What's up? Are we live? I think we're live. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Yes. We are live in full effect. Shout out to SPR. Letting me know. Okay. Here we go. What's going on here? This camera might be a little bit. There we go, a little bit better. All right, welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend is YouTube Streets, Porter Rock 77 back with another episode of 60 Frames No Lag podcast, where we keep it real and talk about all the topics in gaming across PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, all that good stuff, right? We got the crew here little by little. You know how the crew does. They enter in. Craig is always timely. He's always in. He's here. He's always the headliner. He's up in here and stuff, right? And soon we'll be joined by hopefully, with J Dub, Extreme, and hopefully the brain and stuff like that, right? But in the meantime, you got us two here. Truly appreciate you guys. The early bird, the early crew that comes into the chat. Really appreciate you guys showing up. And of course, we'll get more and more people as the podcast starts developing, right? But while you're here, if you don't mind, please hit the like button and please share this out to your favorite social media platform, right? To get the word out and stuff like that. And oh, look who showed up. We got Ramon. Oh man, this is gonna be a good one. When he shows up, good shit happens. What's going on, Ramon? How's everything?
You spoiling me, man.
Yeah.
Everything's going all right, man. Everything's going all right. Saw you went live, and I was taking a break from working on this project, so I was like, oh man, I got to drop through. So
Oh,
as always,
absolutely.
nice to come through.
Oh, absolutely. You are always welcome. Thank you so much for coming through. Did you get your Canadian citizenship yet? Or are you still American?
I actually took the test yesterday and passed it. I pretty much aced it. I only
Oh.
missed one question.
Oh, so
So
what was the question? Like, what was some of the questions?
I'll put it like this: like, you know how I think it's probably the case with most countries where the questions they ask, people born in that country would fail the test because you don't know it. Like, stuff like, when was when did the first settlers come? Who were the main who were the first three First Nations uh of Canada, like who were the Acadians and stuff like that, right? So just things that I asked some of my like coworkers and stuff, or even my wife for that matter, and they're like, "Who?" Like I have no idea. So it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because it's true. Like, if I'll be honest, if I probably took the American citizenship test, I would probably get like half right. You
Same with
understand what I'm
me.
saying?
Like I
Because like the question they ask, you only know it because you had to study for it.
exactly.
But the day to
When
day
I was still
life,
living in the
most of
states,
it,
it
you're not
was
going to use it. You know?
no, exactly. You're absolutely right. Or if you learned it in history class, unless you're studying to become a historian, it's information you're not going to hold on to most of that information, right?
You know
Or unless you're a history buff.
that's I you know I look at education from a different lens, right? Like after I got my degree, right? I looked at education from a different lens. Like we have basic education, across high school and stuff like that, right? But how much is retained and used after you graduate high school? Like how much is the information that they're giving you saying, hey, you need to know this stuff, you need to pass that stuff, and you're like, wait a minute. Do I need to pass it because it's part of the test, which is part of requirement to get a diploma? Or do I need to pass it because this is something I need as part of my life beyond high school?
Exactly. Exactly.
And right. And there's a lot of stuff that we learn that we never use in application, right? Unless you stood in that specific field, right? But that just means you use that specific field, but the other stuff that you learned, you forgot. Like for one thing,
Yeah.
there's one thing I learned that I still haven't forgot today, but it is completely useless information. the most
Yeah.
useless information. And I learned it at 13, right? So at 13 years old, I had earth science class, right? So they teach all that, right? The one thing I still remember from that earth science class, and I don't know why I still remember this, but I remember it, is like, when you look at water or any liquid, right? The top layer, you see this film that's above liquid. Like you'll see it. If you ever notice it, look at it and you'll see there's this little
Yeah.
film. That's called the meniscus. Now, what the fuck am I
Interesting.
going to do with that info? But what good is that? I know that info, and it does what?
You probably
It's
remembered it because it's kind of
it's
fascinating.
so stupid. Like it's so stupid. I'm like, what the fuck? And I had to learn that, but I learned it, and I, for whatever reason, that's one of the few things I remember, and it does nothing for me. Like, why do I have that in my memory bank? Like, why am I remembering that? That is so fucking useless. But I had to learn it. I learned it. It was on a test and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that we get taught that they just throw in students, but you have to ask yourself how much of it is retained and useful beyond the requirement of having to know it, because that year, that school year, you're gonna get tested on it.
Well, I
And
think
then after you
that
get tested on it, that's it.
there is one reason for like say that question that you got, and there are two reasons why we intentionally retain information. As far as that question that you got, the reason my theory is the reason we get questions like that is because you might read it and it might spark such an interest in you that you might
I'm gonna
end
become a
up
scientist.
pursuing
I
a
might
field.
be an
Yeah,
ocean, like a oceanologist or something. Study whales and
yeah.
sperm whales. See how much sperm whales produce in
Oh
the
my
ocean or
god.
some shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you took it to a different level, but yeah, they're more or less, yeah,
I'm a,
less that, yeah.
I'm gonna
But
study the
the
gallons and gallons of sperm
oh
fucking
my
whales
god,
push in the beach, and how much of it we swallow while we're in the water. Yeah, I don't want that
okay,
career.
so
I don't want to. I don't want
that
to know how much the average human swallows in whale sperm.
well
Imagine
now
I
that I'm
study that, and
knowledge,
I imagine if I study that and I get to say like, hey, on an average lifespan of 80 years, people who attend the beach at least 5 times a year swallow approximately about 2 liters of sperm, whale sperm, in their lifetime. What would you say if they? What would you say if that stat came out? Like if you go
well,
to the beach
the
5 times a year over the course of, let's say, 50 years, you have swallowed approximately 3 liters of whale sperm.
well, see, all
What
that
would you do
is
with
a
that
slippery
information?
slope.
What
Well,
would you do with that fact? But what would you do
well,
with that fact?
it
I'll be
creates a
a
slippery slope
I'll be
because
a
it's
climate
not just
denier.
whales that live in the ocean.
I'm a climate denier. At that point, now I deny. I deny science. At that point, I'll be a science denier. At that point, like, nope, fake news.
Well, the worst thing is not only whales live in the ocean, so do with that what you will,
I know, you know what I'm saying. There's some knowledge that's just not useful. Like, why would you study
or
that?
that you don't want.
That's a lot of energy, time, and education to ultimately tell people that they have 3 liters of well sperm in their body.
God.
That
How,
does
how,
nothing.
how,
You could have
how
done anything else in the world, but you figured that out. Like, no, your brain was not meant to figure that out.
I can't believe we turned left on that one.
Like, there's a whole new people be like, wait a minute, what podcast did I just, say?
50
Oh shit, Brian, he said, thanks for ruining my
liters, no
life.
lag.
He said, thanks for ruining my life in Miami. The man lives in Miami, so you like 5 gallons of whale sperm.
Oh man.
You got a lot of
Oh
protein, Brian.
Oh man! All right, all right,
You know what I'm
all
saying?
right.
Oh man, he's like, now everybody's like, I ain't ever going to the beach again. Like everybody, I guarantee somebody thought of that. There's got to be, because that's just useless information people will commit their life to. I'm just not going to research it. I'm just not going to Google it. I have no, because like I go to the beach all the time, beach in Puerto Rico. I have no interest in knowing that data, but somebody did it, and probably the government funded it for like $25 million. I'm just saying. He said,
Well, I
Spriney's
mean
is like ignorance is bliss.
back in the day, colognes and perfumes were made out of whale vomit. So
Was it
that is true.
yeah,
really?
yep,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So
Whale vomit.
the things that people slather on themselves and consume
Whale
is
vomit.
like yeah. Yes, sir.
So here's the first question: who thought of that? Who thought of one looking for will vomit? Because why would you look for that? And then actually like using it for something,
I
and then
don't know.
figuring
Maybe they
out
were swimming
it
in
could
the
be
smell good.
used,
I don't know.
and then
But
and then figured it out. You can use it for perfume and cologne. Like who
it
who
was
who thinks of
probably
that?
it was probably it was probably a relative of that one guy who followed behind a monkey. I think it was a monkey, and after they consumed coffee beans and then decided to make coffee out of it and realized that supposedly tasted good because there's a coffee bean that they harvest after the monkey has consumed it because
Oh,
they don't
Capi
digest
Luau.
it.
Capi Luau.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't
That
know the name
yeah,
of it.
Capi Luau.
So same similar person to that because imagine being that guy who saw that and was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and make a drink out of that and see what it tastes like. Think
And
about the type of
I only know that because of the movie The Bucket List with
Oh, okay, I've not
Jack
seen that.
Nicholson, and
Yeah,
Morgan
yeah, I've
Freeman. You
heard
got to
of it.
watch it. It's awesome. It's a
Yes.
good movie. It is a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But he drank Capi Luau. So for
Oh,
those of you who haven't seen the movie, it's literally called The Bucket List. It's both of them are pretty much terminal illnesses. They're both gonna die. They're both old men. They met in a hospital. Morgan Freeman, average family. Jack Nicholson, he has a family, whatever, but he's middle class life and stuff like that. Jack Nicholson, rich, wealthy, and they're both in their deathbed. And they got together and they realized, you know what? Let's create a bucket list and let's just live life to the fullest on our final days, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And they had like 10 lists, like visit this, visit the mountain, laugh until you cry, fall in love again, all this stuff, right? Or fall in love with a girl, things like that, right? So the one that's on the bucket list, laugh until you cry. The way they accomplished that one, I mean, it's a little spoiler, but just to give you a little taste, and it's a great movie. Um, so they had to scratch off that list in the movie, because Jack Nicholson is a rich dude. He drinks Capi Luau. It's this very expensive coffee. And he always talking about it tastes delicious, whatever, whatever. Well, Morgan Freeman found out that information that they feed the beans to monkeys and the monkeys digest it, but they can't actually eat it. Like they can't break it down. But the acids in their stomach give it this distinct flavor, but they shit it out. And once they shit it out, they pick the beans and they serve it. Right? That's how, yeah. So when he told them this,
uh,
he's like, Jack Nicholson read it, and he's like, you have to be shitting me. And Morgan Freeman's like, nope, the monkeys beat you to it. And they just started laughing, crying, because he's been drinking shit beans this whole time for years, and he never knew, But he, like, at first he was pissed. He's like, you gotta be shitting me. He goes, nope, the monkeys beat me to it. And that's when they started busting out laughing, and then he scratched it off the list. Laugh until you cry.
oh, that's funny.
But it's a great movie. It was me and my wife loved that movie. So I'll just give you a little scene, but it's a good movie. But wow, that's crazy. Well, Sperm. So who knows? And especially I like to wear Fahrenheit. She probably has lots of well vomit
Oh my god.
because that's a strong smell. It's from Christian Dior.
Yeah.
It's a good smell.
Yeah.
That and another cologne I use that's from Christian Dior. Savage or Sauvage because it's spelled weird, so I call it Sauvage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sauvage. I
Yeah.
church it up.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, yeah, that's right. I feel like Johnny
Yeah.
Depp, feel like a cool guy.
I got that.
Sauvage.
Yeah. I got
Sauvage.
that.
I have a lot of cologne. All right. Craig, what's going on, brother? So
How you
how
doing?
often you visit the beach?
I'm in Kentucky, so not a whole lot.
No beaches?
Although I do
Oh,
plan on going.
so
We got a bunch of lakes.
Oh, so you
We got a bunch
don't
of
get
lakes
well
over here.
sperm. You suck up alligator shit. So you
I
traded
guess
in well
so,
sperm to
yeah.
alligator shit. Okay.
Well, I don't get in the water. I usually go fishing, so yeah, I don't really get
So
in the
fuck that.
water.
Oh, so you're good
Yeah.
then. You're decontaminant free. Then you're good.
Yeah, I'm doing
No
what
crocodile shit, no well sperm. Good for you.
I'm doing what.
Craig doesn't even know what to say. He's like, what the fuck is happening in there? Can we get to the games? Can we talk shit about Xbox? Because this topic is uncomfortable. I think right now, everybody's Googling the potential of just slurping down will sperm simply because you go to the beach. I guarantee all of you are doing it.
Man,
I guarantee everybody's on Google, Safari, looking this shit up.
No,
I have a feeling. Chat, hit one if that's what you did after I mentioned it. Hit one if you actually like. You know what? Let me Google this shit. Like, are we like every time we go to the beach? Like, water gets in your mouth. Is there a chance? A little bit of that is, he said Half-Life High on Life said 0. Liar. I know you guys are Googling that shit. You just have to know. See, SPRX is
I
honest.
mean,
Murray
but
Wilcox said
do you
0.
really want to know when there's
I
other
don't know.
fish
Like,
other than whales in the ocean as
I,
well?
I know, but the thing is, like, okay, shit. That all right, but sperm is different. It's just something about.
Oh, I understand that, but the problem is
Swallowing sperm.
there are thousands of species of male fish in
Now
the
let me ask you
ocean. So,
this. Now let me
you
ask you.
really want to
Yeah, let me
pursue
ask you.
that?
Now let me ask you this. If
Dolphins
you
as well.
if you found out you swallowed whale sperm, does that make you gay?
Oh my god!
I'm just wondering.
Oh my god!
Nah, never mind.
All right,
Oh,
I'll let y'all answer
Are
that
you
one.
gay because you swallowed 3 liters of whale sperm? You know.
Oh my god! How the hell
Maya
did
says I
we
would
get
never.
here?
He said it's only gay if you're outside the ocean.
Ew.
DE says if you're not in the ocean, you swallow whale sperm. Yeah, it's not
Oh
sperm but
man.
vomit. Oh shit, Oh man, that's a question you gotta ask. You go, why? Gordo's like, why are you gay? from that meme guy. I'm just wondering. It's just I don't know where that came up. I don't know where that came from. Corey says only if you like it. All right, I guess. So all right. So if you try whale sperm, you're like, this tastes disgusting. You're good. All right, makes sense. Makes sense. Um, he goes, Chris Petita just got in the stream and now talking if you are a gay question. No, we're talking about whale sperm. The potential. If you go to the beach a lot, depending how many days, it could be up to 2 liters. You notice how I'm changing the narrative now? It went from a question and now I'm stating it like if it's a fact. That's weird. It's not a fact. I just made that up. It could be a real stat. I don't know, and I'm not gonna research it. It's ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know. If you go to the beach for years, you can potentially end up consuming a certain amount of whale sperm. I really don't want to know that data, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But I guarantee some of you in the chat. Oh yeah, you looked it up and you know the answer, and now you can't unsee it. That's the reason why. Because think about it. What if you Googled it right now? Ramon, Google it right now.
I
But don't
absolutely
tell
will
me.
not be googling it right now.
Because once you know, that's it. You can't unknow it. It's done. And so that's why I'm not going to look or care about it. And I'm sure somebody's going to probably post in the chat, I don't care. It don't count. I'm not doing the personal research. Therefore, it didn't happen. I'm going to stay ignorant to that question.
It never happened.
It never happened. I'm going to say, because once you know, you can't unknow it. And that changes perspective. Would you be, let's say if you did find out, would you go back to the beach? I don't think I'll be able to go back to the beach again. Because that's it's going to keep happening. I will look at the beach as like a sperm bank at that point. I'm like, this is one big well sperm bank. Like, I'm not
Oh
going
my
in there.
god!
But think about it. I'll be like, I'm not going to the beach. It's a sperm bank. Get out of here. I wouldn't do it. You might as well call the whales Diddy because they're having a freak off on the beach. Like, I can't do it. You lather yourself up on Diddy oil, jump in, swallow some sperm.
Man.
Couldn't do it. So I'd rather stay
So you're gonna be
ignorant.
swimming with a sea of thieves.
Yeah. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Booty bandits, butt pirates.
Bandit.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I'd rather stay ignorant because if I find out factual scientific information on that, I will never get in that water. Like never ever again. The beach will completely everything. So, not doing it. Can't. I have to stay ignorant. I will not. Nope. Nope. Anyway, so Craig, what you been up to? Oh, you said you said you beat Black Ops 6.
Yeah, beat that. Played some
All right.
Helldivers with J-Dub over the weekend. That was fun.
Okay. How's the new update?
We did one Super Earth mission, and he got.
Oh, it's on Super Earth.
Yeah, we did a Super Earth mission. At least that's where it said it was, and
Yeah.
it was dark. Couldn't really tell, but we were playing with these two new people, and they kept calling in airstrikes. And they were blowing everybody up. It's like, okay, you can't call in airstrikes, and you couldn't talk to them either because I don't know how that. Like, I don't know how that works. There's just people that join the game, and then some you can't talk to them because they're not on your network. It's weird. So, or as the kids would say, weird. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, Black Ops 6 was solid if you like the campaigns. And so that was fun. Had a good villain. They had a good reason for doing what they were doing in a way. So but it was fun, you know. Plus the leader plus it was full woke because the leader of the mission is some black dude. So
Oh my
so
God,
the game
this
is
guy,
full woke. But
unbelievable,
yeah, it was
man.
it's fun.
I
Yeah,
know I'm almost like, oh shit.
won
Oh
the
man.
championship again on the college football game. Won the chip again, so have won the
Okay.
last 2 out of 3. So that's fun.
Okay.
That's what I
All right. Shout out to Gordo P23. Thank you for the super chat. Says smash that like or get the fuck out. You heard him. Appreciate it, Gordo. Thank you so much for rocking out. Lucci Sky's crazy. He said pollen is tree sperm.
Well, there you
Yeah, that's
go.
true.
That is
That's
true.
true.
I never looked at it that way.
Do you know what?
You
Do you
see?
know what honey is?
You
Do you
you
know what
see?
honey is?
Nope, and I don't eat it,
Nope.
and I'm good. You don't have to say it.
Yeah,
I don't eat
It's
it.
bee vomit. It's
That-
bee vomit.
That's probably why I didn't like it, man. That's probably why I don't like honey.
Really?
I think it's disgusting.
Oh,
Except
man, I
Honey Nut
love honey.
Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios is good.
Yeah, I like Honey Nut Cheerios, and I like
But like real honey?
the honey.
Well, let me
honey
tell you
whiskey.
something. Like honey is, for me, is disgusting. Like I can't. Ugh. Oh my god! Right? But here's what made it worse. So when I was younger, right, my dad used to give me cod liver oil because it's good for that digestives. Cod liver. You ever taste codfish? It's from codfish. Codfish is disgusting. The smells nasty. The oil is even worse. So to make it taste better, he put honey, which is so it's two things I can't stand. Like you don't add something else I hate to make something taste better. You just doubled the dosage of shit that I don't like. I don't like cod liver. It tastes nasty. They said, no way, I'm mixing in honey. It'll taste better. No. I'd rather just have the cod liver oil. You just added more shit I don't like. Oh my god, it was miserable.
I'm convinced my parents used it was a punishment when my parents would combine two things that we hated: liver and onions and lima beans.
Oh my god.
I'm convinced to this day it was a punishment meal.
It's true. And I used to tell my dad, I don't like honey. Oh, yeah, it's good. It's sweet. I'm like, I don't. Oh, my God. I feel like throwing up. I'm like, he's like, it's good for your thing. It's good for your gut. Yeah, because I'm about to vomit everything out my gut.
Yeah, man. Everything's coming out.
Oh, my God. Digital knows what I'm talking about. Cod liver oil? Yo, that shit is bad. That shit is terrible. Oh, my God. Hoodrich is like, codfish is good fried. I can't stand the smell. Codfish has to be one of the most smelliest fishes out there, even when you cook it. Woo!
That's true. That's true.
Boy,
Yeah,
when my mom used to cook that house used to stink. Like, this place smells like a fish market. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I'm going to spend all day, all night outside, bro. Because that smell was... Orange what? That's a type of fish?
Orange roughy. Yeah, orange roughy. That's a good. It's not that oily, fishy smell. It's a good fish. That or a rock bass. I caught 3 rock bass over the weekend, so I'm gonna fry.
Bro, Craig sounds like he's like in a bayou. All these weird fishes. These fishes I never even heard of. You make gumbo? You make gumbo and shit?
No, I do not make gumbo. No, I haven't tried. I'll say that. So
it might also depend on the fish itself, because back when I used to eat meat, salmon, I used to like salmon, but it was too oily for me, and I couldn't. It would always make me.
Is it salmon salty?
I don't know about salty, but it was.
Okay.
I don't know if it's salty, but it was definitely oily. But when I had it, when I came up to Vancouver, the fish is so fresh up here that when I had it up here, it didn't bother me. So
they have better salmon in Canada?
Yeah,
What is
well, I
fresh?
don't know. I
Get
can't
fresh.
say Canada specifically, but when I first came to Vancouver for the first
Oh,
time,
Vancouver.
I
Okay.
found that salmon didn't bother me, whereas normally it would mess with my stomach. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it, even though it's oily. I'll just see. And then, yeah, I didn't have any problems because the fish is like really fresh up here. So that could have something to do with it as well.
See, that's what you get ordering salmon from Crenshaw. That shit nasty. Can't get fish from Crenshaw. My man
That
got
is
my
true.
man got my man got fish from the swap meet.
He's on
Damn.
Crenshaw Strip ordering
That's
fish.
it. My man got fish on Crenshaw. Like what? But now Vancouver, you know, the actual place with good ports and whatever, I'm assuming, you got good fish. Can't get fish from Crenshaw, dog. My man,
Hey,
you
yo,
can't get
you
you
just
can't get fish from Martin Luther King Boulevard. That's
you
not
just
this.
you just reminded me again. You just reminded me again. You need to go to Rosario's. I know it's not close
Was
to you, but you got to go.
it's in L.A.
Remember? Yeah, it's in Carson,
Okay,
my old city. Um,
okay. What is
yeah,
Rosario?
it's in Carson. It's a pizza place. It's owned by it's an Italian family who owns it, and dude, trust me.
Here
Okay,
we go.
Google
Listen,
Google the
you
Google
listen.
the just Google Google
You you
Rosario's
you
Carson and look at the
Californians
images of the
always
pizza.
you listen. You Californians, like listen. I'm like this guy. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. This is
I'm
you
trying to
This is what
tell you that, like,
this
I
is
wouldn't mention it to a New Yorker if it wasn't if I
this is
wasn't
what you do to me.
confident.
You California guys, right? You guys from California. This is at the point where
Oh
I'm
my
at.
god.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you. You guys got me like this, right? I'm literally this guy right now. Okay,
Oh
you
my
you got
god.
me like you no, I'm gonna show you. This is you guys right now. I'm like I can't take it no more. This is me right now. Every time I hear California, chat, every time someone from California, you got to try this pizzeria. This is me. I'm literally this. I'm at this point right now. I'm at this point. This is literally me right now. Every time.
Just just
Every
just
every time.
just give
Every
me a
time.
chance.
That's me.
Just give me a
Every
chance
time.
to explain. Just give me a chance to explain.
That's
I
me.
am
Every time
very
I hear,
aware. I am very
yo,
aware of New Yorkers in pizza. I'm very aware of this. But what I'm saying, it is not New York style pizza, obviously, because it's not thin crust. But it is an Italian family, Italian run pizza place with a like a what you call them oven, like a stone oven, like unless they updated because I haven't been there. I haven't been there in like years. I haven't lived in Carson, but I'm telling you, man, like one slice is all you can eat out of the whole thing. Like it's just you. I'm just telling you, just like it's.
I mean,
I
Like
swear
it's
to the
I
God.
would never if it wasn't that
That's
place, there's no other place I would have recommended to you because I understand New Yorkers and pizza, trust me.
that's me
But
right
this
now.
place is
Don't give me
something different.
don't give me hope, bro. You know, I wasted so much gas traveling up and down I-5 with every recommendation.
Okay,
And gas is
but
like
see what I'm
$5 a
telling you,
gallon out here, dog. It's $5 a
what I'm
gallon, bro.
telling you is
These pizza
just
trips are
Google
expensive.
just Google
Rosario's.
Rosario's Carson pizza,
All right.
and then you'll see the images of what the pizzas look like.
All
And
right.
if that doesn't look good to you, then okay.
Okay. Rosario's Carson Pizza. Rosario's Carson Pizza. What is this? Is it is it Chicago deep dish?
Not deep dish, it will, but it's but the pizza's thick, but it's not deep dish though.
All right.
But
Okay,
it's
so
definitely nothing near. It's nothing like New York style pizza. It's not thin crust. It's
okay.
the pizza
So
is like it's not Chicago style, but it's definitely thicker.
right. Okay, so this is the photos right here. Let's see some of this.
place. Yeah, that
Let's
place
see.
here.
Let's see. Hold on, bro. What the fuck is this? What is that? What are you showing me? What is that?
Okay, I'm on my phone, so I can't see. What is it? What
Oh
are you
no,
looking at?
no, no, we can't. Chat.
No,
This is
what
appetizing.
what are you looking at?
A picture of Rosario's pizza. Chat.
Okay,
Does that look like something?
We got one of those here.
What is this?
I think we have one here.
Chat, what is
No,
this?
it's there's only one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If it's not pepperoni or pepperoni and sausage only, that's the only thing we got because that's the only thing they had when I ate there. So I don't know what they have now.
Well, who's that
What
dude?
is that? What is this?
Who's that guy in the corner?
What is that?
Table, man. Like that.
What am I looking at?
Oh, let me see if I can pull up YouTube on my phone while I'm in Discord.
What
I just want to know who this dude is.
is that? What am I looking at? Chat, does that look appetizing to you?
That looks like a meat pizza. Somebody in the chat said terrible.
Oh man, see? This is why. Every time.
They got a new pizza there called the 12T flop. See if it's.
I don't even know. Oh shit. I don't even know what that looks like.
Okay, so all right. That looks different than when we used to eat there.
Why you used to eat? That's, you know what I'm saying? Look at this. Look
Yeah,
at this.
that doesn't look like it did when we used to eat there. So
look at the beauty.
it's been over 20 years. So I guess they've changed.
Look how beautiful New York pizza looks. Look at the beauty of it. It's like art. Look at this. Look at that. That is art right there. Look at this. Look how beautiful that slice is. I don't know what the hell that is. What is this? How much pineapples can you put on a damn pizza?
Wait. They have pineapples on it?
Dog, I don't know what.
Wait, hold up. They put pineapples on it?
Brother, if I would have taken
they
my
put
wife
pineapples
to this,
on it.
Bro, my wife would have divorced me if I would have taken her to this.
Dude,
wait.
Look
at this
you
shit.
You said they have pineapples on it?
On the Rosario's pizza, yeah.
Oh my god! All right, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Look
I
at
apologize.
That. Would you eat
when
that?
When we ate there, they would have thrown you out.
My wife opened the door. She goes, "There's nothing wrong with pineapple." I'm like, "But look at that." She looked at the picture. She's like, "Oh fuck, nah."
Okay.
My wife's like, "Oh fuck, nah."
I apologize.
She
when
said,
we ate there, they would have thrown you out if you asked for pineapple on the pizza. So obviously that place is different now.
Is on the new management? Is on the new management?
It must be because there was no such thing as a Rosario's pizza with pineapple on it. So I apologize because that one, the pizza doesn't look like it did when we ate there, and there definitely wasn't no pineapple on it. So I apologize.
Sorry,
I
dog, but
was not expecting that. I mean, even though I can't eat their pizza anymore, that actually kind of depresses me a little bit because that place used to be just
look at this.
Damn. Oh well.
Look at that shit.
I guess I should have expected it after 20 years.
I don't even look what is this? Like, what is this? Oh my god.
So now I'm embarrassed because that's not the Rosarios I grew up on. So now I feel bad.
That's just wrong, right? Oh man, all right. Oh man, see, like I said, y'all gave me false hope. See, this is why I feel like that. This is why I feel this way. I feel
if it makes you feel better, I feel the same as you because now I'm deflated because that's not the same spot that I grew up on.
We're both sitting in the corner depressed.
Well, yeah, it was a double whammy on me because I thought I was about to break the curse of Californians recommending pizza to New York, and all I did was add to it. So it's just worse for me.
Yeah, like California's like 0-35 in recommendations, bro. Like, yo,
that
for
is
real,
literally the only place that I felt confident recommending to a New Yorker, and now I see this. So, yeah,
like,
all right, well.
Shout out to Lincoln Clay VR. He says tree bark pizza. That's what it looks like. They cut trees and just add it to that shit. Like what? Glenza with $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Says PR wants rum and raisin pizza. Oh my god. Oh man, that would be some extreme shit right there. Oh my god, rum and raisin. Oh, you know the story behind that, right?
Yeah. I actually commented I actually commented on that one. I was like,
Have you?
I was I,
What the?
I was riding with him until he mentioned the rum
Fuck?
and raisin because I
Are you
don't
like
like
what
chocolate
the?
ice cream either.
What is wrong with y'all? This generation,
Like
I'm telling
Rocky Road is the
Oh
only
yeah.
chocolate ice cream I can get, or if it's like a Neapolitan where it's mixed with other stuff. But otherwise, I don't like chocolate ice cream at all. At
Holy
all.
shit.
If
Shit.
it's not Rocky
Blaze.
Road, and even in
Yo.
Rocky Road, I can only have like one scoop, one
Oh man.
small scoop.
Blaze said, as an Italian, I'm offended.
Yo, Blaze. Number one, I apologize, but that wasn't the Rosarios I
Oh,
grew up on. I
yo,
promise you, that wasn't the
he's gonna,
Rosarios I grew up on.
he's gonna have you
Like
swim
I
with the
feel bad because
fishes.
I thought they were holding it down, and then I look at this, and now
And
yes, I'm sufficiently embarrassed, and
oh
I
man,
apologize. That's not the place I grew up on. That's all I can
you
say. That's
you
not the
you about
same place.
you about to swim with the fishes. Blaze gonna be like, "Hey Tony, get this guy Ramon out of here."
Man, I was you
Blaze
know
was
I wouldn't recommend
embarrassed.
something if I wasn't confident, dude. I was
Yeah,
not expecting that.
Blaze was embarrassed looking at that. He's like, all that pineapples. What the hell is going on here? Hey, yo,
Oh
Tony,
man.
get this guy out of here.
I cannot believe Rosario's is putting
Oh man.
pineapple on their pizza. Like that
Oh
actually kind of depresses me, man. Like, and
no.
I'm not even necessarily opposed to pineapple on pizza, but not a Rosario's pizza. Like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
Domino's. All right, that's some Domino's shit right there. Right,
yeah, like
my
McDonald's
man.
pizza. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like junk pizza. But
the
yeah, okay. So I'm now that I'm depressed.
the G the genius said, "Can I get a slice with a can of Dole pineapples?" They pretty much they emptied
Pretty
the
much.
whole can of Doles on that sucker.
Oh my god.
Like you know,
Okay, I'm depressed now. Can we move on? My neighborhood
oh
pizza shop
shit.
has been
Yeah,
tainted.
yeah,
So
that's yeah, that then them dudes look they moved. They're no longer there anymore.
oh
Liquid
man.
Data says, much love, gents. Canadians should stick to making syrup. Oh, he said, listen, stick with Canadian whiskey and maple syrup and Canadian
Well,
bacon.
you
You
did miss
got
the
that.
part where I said I'm Californian.
He's from California. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you guys, the one thing I give Californians, you guys know your burritos. So just take the win.
Oh yeah.
Just take the win. You got
Take
that on
the
lock.
win.
That's
Take the
easy.
win.
Just take the win. Take the W, man. That's an easy W. Like so far, a lot of the recommendations are, oh, you should try this Mexican spot. I'm like,
Oh yeah, Mexican food's on point, man.
ooh,
That's yeah,
oh yeah. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Like burrito is, well, Mexican food is to California what pizza is to New York. It's just you're just
yeah.
not gonna replicate it, right? I know some people say Tex-Mex is good. You know,
No,
I don't know. I never had. What do you don't like about it?
Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is
What?
if you
Yeah.
like a whole lot of sauce, but
Oh, they're saucy.
I feel like most Californians probably don't like Tex-Mex because
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Tex-Mex. I
Okay.
can if I'm desperate, but the whole time I lived in Texas, like I ate Mexican food very very little, unless it was a Juarez style Mexican spot, which there weren't many at all where I
Mhm.
lived. But otherwise, nah, man. Like I think you just nailed it when you said Mexican food is to California what pizza is to New York. So
Mhm.
that's an apt description.
And also breakfast sandwiches. 'Cause California breakfast
Oh
sandwiches
yeah.
suck. Y'all terrible at
Yeah.
it. Right.
Yeah.
And you know what's pissed me off? This is what's the worst. You all name like a lot of stores that do like the bagel breakfast stuff like that. Like, not for the chain one, not like the Einstein bagels. I'm talking about local. For whatever reason, a lot of them try to name themselves after New York, like New York Bagel, Garden State Bagel, Five Borough Bagels. Like all these a lot of spots, especially in Carlsbad, like a lot of it are named after New York or New York themed bagels, because right, that's the thing. But no, like y'all suck. So stop calling yourselves New York Bagel. Like no, just
There,
stick to California. Call it
see,
Carlsbad Bagel, because this is clearly
yeah,
Carlsbad.
I
There's
don't.
nothing New York. There's nothing New York about this damn bagel.
Yeah, I don't. It used to be there was only one pizza spot that I would feel confident recommending to a Chicagoan or a New Yorker, and now that that's gone, because I never would have recommended a bagel to a New Yorker anyway. But now that Rosario's has sold me
Uh,
out, now I can't. I don't even have that ace in the hole anymore. So I'm
right.
Yeah.
So like I try to tell, like, there was one spot here that did breakfast. I told him, listen, this is not a New York breakfast. He goes, oh, it's what's the difference? Like, I gotta tell you, I don't know how to explain it, but for everybody, when you get a breakfast sandwich in New York from a bodega, it's absolutely delicious. But you wonder why. So let me try to explain it. I don't know how to exactly make it, but first it starts obviously with the egg, right? The egg, when they crack it, they like, they whisk it, but it's like a cross. It's like halfway fried and halfway scrambled. It's not fully scrambled, but it's not fully fried egg. It's like in the middle. It's like this crossbreed of scrambled fried egg. It's like a combination, right? So first is that. It's like you can't really say it's a scrambled egg, but you can't say it's fried egg either. They like half acid, but it works so well, right? So that's the first step, right? Then they take these fresh bagels. Hey, it is what it is, right? And they slather a shit ton of butter on it. And then they put it on the grill. So now it's being, heated up on the grill. So you got two slices of bagels, it's on the grill. They do this egg, whatever, this half-ass breed of, it's kind of like Underworld, half vampire, half wolf, better than both. It's kind of one of those things, right? Half scrambled, half fried, better than both. So you got that, right? Then they put the pepper, they put the seasoning, you know what I'm saying? They add the cheese, they add the bacon, then they take it and they pop open the bagel. They put it on top, put the bagel on top, and then they wrap it in this white paper, right? And when they wrap it, all of a sudden you see the grease is like being soaked in the bag. So by the time they get it in your hands and you open it, like the whole thing is greasy. Like even the bread out of it. Like it's just greasy. But when you bite into it, you're like, holy shit. Like, it's like you walking up to the gates of heaven. It's like, wow. It's probably not healthy at all. But God, if there's some things worth dying for, that's probably one of the few things in life where you can honestly say this is worth getting a heart attack for. Like, like if you got a heart attack right after, you wouldn't be mad. If anything, you're like, how come I couldn't get a heart attack after my second serving? So you would be like, I should have gotten the heart attack eating two of these, not just one. But but when here in California, the bagel's dry as fuck. It feels old, and it's like early in the morning. It's like you're serving me bagels from yesterday, so it's not even has that soft texture. I'm like, man, what the fuck? The egg is
that ain't no lie.
so you're not
that
even.
Ain't no
they're
lie.
not cracking the eggs. They don't crack eggs here. They go to this little cabinet that's already pre-made, and they just put it like in an oven. I'm like, what the fuck? Like you don't crack fresh eggs and mix that shit up? Like no, that makes no sense. Crack some fresh eggs and go on the grill and spatch some shit. They don't do that here. It's like pre-made eggs. It's like McDonald's eggs or some shit. Terrible.
Yeah, that ain't no lie. It's pretty terrible.
Hey, Extreme. What's going on, my boy?
Yo.
Hey, you go to the beach a lot?
Not a lot.
You don't want to explore this.
No, so do you swim? Like, do you go inside the water in the beach?
You don't want to explore this. You don't want to go down this road.
Supposedly, there's I haven't looked at it, so I can't confirm or deny. But supposedly, going to the beach a certain amount of times a year, after like so many years, you swallow a certain amount of well sperm. So you could potentially have up to 2 liters of well sperm in your lifetime that you swallowed.
That's all right. That's okay.
You good with that? Now here's the second question. We're
can't
wondering.
Get me pregnant. I'm good.
I'm just saying, but here's the question: does that mean you're gay?
No, because if you got to think about it, does that also mean that you just swallow a lot of other fish sperm?
That's what
can't just be the word.
That is what I said. The exact same
thing. There's like shark sperm. There's like jellyfish sperm. Oh yeah, we're all
jellyfish have sperm. They bust a nut.
I don't know.
From where?
I don't know. But other things do. Like
fish fertilize eggs. The female fish lays the eggs, and then the fish swims over them and fertilizes them. Yeah.
But where does it come out of jellyfish? Does it come out of the tentacles?
Oh, jellyfish. I thought you said fish. I don't know about
jellyfish. Jellyfish.
Yo, P-Rock, why do you think it is salty? Huh? Come on. We all knew this.
Oh my God.
Oh, man. See?
We all knew this.
Now we can.
We got some games to talk about. Don't we? We talk about some games or something.
We can know it now. That's it.
Your digital XP, listen, man, I do go around the Great Ocean from time to time, but it's far away from me. But yeah, no, listen.
Oh, man.
Listen, we all knew why you were salty the whole time. If you didn't know, now you know.
And Navenzor said that. Why else do you guys think the ocean is salty? Oh, man.
Oh
Goddamn.
no!
Goddamn Wells needs to start eating pineapples.
Okay,
Oh.
so moving along.
No, we're not. We're staying right here. When you go into the
Oh.
water, it's just fish G's all over your face. Just
Oh
drenched
man.
in cum.
Oh,
It's a
no.
bukkake
Oh man.
that you're getting from nature.
Oh man. So all this time we've been going to Diddy's party without realizing we've been
I'm
going to the
telling
Diddy
you,
party.
I'm telling you. That's why I don't eat fish,
Oh
because they've
man.
been in it the entire time. That's incredible.
Oh,
They're
My
ready for the
stomach is starting to
jackpot.
hurt.
That's wild, bro. That's wild. Oh man, that's crazy, bro. This podcast, everybody's like, I'm unsubscribing to this fucking podcast. They're like,
I like the way
they
you
didn't come
thought I
here.
was going to
They're like,
get me.
they
I'm
didn't come
into
here
it.
for this shit. They're like, they didn't come here for this shit. Oh man. Okay. Oh Lord, this is wild.
Yeah,
All
your
right.
skin is smooth after the beach. It's good, and it's great for vitamin D. Not just from the sun.
Oh, this guy took it to a whole new level, bro.
Yo,
He says
listen, you
he's-
cannot out extreme an Australian. Come
my
on,
man, my man
our
said,
entire humor,
he says,
our
yeah, y'all
entire
guys,
humor is dry.
he says, y'all been getting facials all your life without realizing
Exactly.
it. Oh man, that's
No,
wrong.
listen.
Oh.
Australians are great at black
Ramon
humor.
is like,
That's what we do.
yo, he's like, I should have never hopped onto this shit. He's like, why? He's like, I thought you were gonna talk about games and shit. This guy comes out with this stuff. Oh man.
Hey, I
Oh
didn't
man.
take it there. You built a bridge, and I decided to make it a
It
construction project.
all started with the bad pizza and the pineapples.
Yeah.
I'm lying.
Yeah.
All right.
To be fair.
Okay, well, shout out to everybody. We got Blaze up in here. Blaze, you're always welcome and stuff like that. I know you're hurt with that pizza or what Ramon calls pizza. I understand that's hurtful.
Man, I feel betrayed too. Okay, like I'm over here hurt too. Like I'm
Oh,
just
Do you like
hurt.
margarita?
Like, how dare you? Man.
Yeah.
Oh man, say that's
Rosarios
crazy.
and pineapple. I just never thought I would ever
Like,
say that in the same
see?
sentence.
Oh man,
There you go.
I'm definitely
There
feeling
you go.
betrayed.
that's
listen,
just
man. It just happens. That's just the way life goes.
you know.
One day you think it's a beach, the other one you realize is just a bunch of sea cum.
Oh,
Alrighty.
Lord, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Right. This is the chat's reaction to Ramon suggesting that was pizza. Like right now everybody's looking at Ramon like this. You know what I'm saying? How dare you? Everybody's
I
just
just want to fly out there and fight somebody because they made me look bad.
Everybody, you're gonna go to Cars. You're gonna visit Carson City and deport their asses. You know what? I'm calling ICE on your asses. I'm gonna dial this number. We're gonna get ICE out here.
Send them to El Salvador.
He deserves to go to El Salvador prison for this shit.
That's the new United States community prison.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that to anybody who goes out and buys an Xbox for $600. I'll be like, what? Send this motherfucker to El Salvador.
Yeah.
All right. Extreme man, what you been up to, my brother?
Hey, listen. Today I adopted a baby for a few hours, so that was great.
You adopted a baby for a few hours?
Yeah, for a few hours. Yeah. My friend came. He has a son, and he let me, take care
You
of the son for a
babysat?
little bit. Yeah, babysat for a few
Oh,
hours. That was
okay.
fantastic. Great. Remember, people, the best kind of parenting is the kind of children you can walk away from.
Oh man, this guy's bad. He's like,
For tip.
it's great being a temporary dad. All right, take this motherfucker back.
Hey, listen, whether it belongs to you or not, it's all temporary.
You got to go. You got to go, kid.
For tip,
Go
get some milk.
Man, that's messed
Never
up.
look
Like,
back.
yeah, like you skedaddle. Your 2 hours is up. Oh man, and then you come back. Whew, I did my fatherly things for the day.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. You just take care of them. As soon as they start getting a little bit grumpy, take it back. Fuck out.
He just puts them in an Uber.
Exactly.
Take them back to the
Return to sender. Return to sender. Just go ahead.
Like, no,
Off
this
you
ain't
go.
working.
Off you go, buddy. Off you go.
Like, nope. Kid starts crying.
Hey,
Nope.
listen,
Time to go.
I just got him. Put him back in the PO box. There you go. I'll let his parents know he's on their way. So yeah, that was really fun.
Oh, that's cool though. All right.
Do you know what's funny?
All right.
Children always find a way to literally. They try to find the. You know how lightning tries to find the shortest path to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Children try to find the shortest way to death, just
Obviously.
as
Oh,
quickly
yes.
as possible. As
Yes.
quickly, they just look around
Yes.
the room and they're like,
Yes.
"What can kill me in the fastest way?"
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
electricity, bet I'm dead.
Yes.
You know, and this
Let
guy
me stand
literally
in this
went to the
bucket of
oven.
water and lick this socket.
Exactly. He literally went to an oven and started turning it on. And then he wanted to open it. I'm like, it's okay. I understand this was the quickest path in this room. You know, in
Yeah.
the other room, I have a mirror, floor standing mirror that is not anchored at the back because usually I don't have children in the house. And he was like, let me push it away from the wall. He could have pressed on it, he could have done anything else, but he wanted to remove it from the wall so it could fall on top of him and end his life. That is, children are fascinating. I love that about
Yes.
them. They're just like, what can kill me as quickly as possible, you know, and then they
They
go
have
towards that. And it was
they
so
absolutely
interesting.
have no fear of death. They look death in the
I'm
eye
telling you.
and says,
Yeah.
"Try me."
You little bitch. You little
Yeah,
bitch. That's what they
I
say.
don't. They look at death and be like, "I don't believe you." Like, what are you doing, man? Oh man, they love, especially electricity. They love sticking things into the sockets.
I'm telling
Holy
you.
shit!
I'm telling you,
That's
they
like the
love that
go-to.
shit, man.
You know, that's I'm telling you, man. You know, they look at death and they be like, you know, like if they were. That's why you don't have babies in the movie Final Destination because none of them will die. They will actually
I'm
like
telling
go after it. They're like, I
you.
dare you. I don't believe you.
Listen, if there was a
Like,
monster, the baby will run towards it and the monster will run
yeah.
away.
The monster will be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you know, it's just like it's crazy. All right, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
So that's really fun.
Let's get some real topics. You know, now that we're past the pizza, children dying, and you know, well, sperm.
Well, Sperm.
Let's talk about Sony's multiplayer issues continue. Right, I'm gonna put this in the screen. You know, just a little thing right here, but it says right here. FairGames from PlayStation Haven Games apparently doesn't feel good to play and is super clunky in its current guise. According to PlayStation podcast Sacred Symbols, the game recently had a pre-alpha under codename Project Hearts. But the feedback has not been good. So apparently,
They should have called it Project Broken Hearts.
yeah, so it was right. So they had so apparently this game had like a private pre-alpha testing. Um Chances are like the big content creators that stream live service games, the more popular ones and stuff, that's all they do. They play 1,000 hours, so they got privately invited to test this game out, to give their feedback and stuff like that, and apparently their feedback has not been good at all, right? um and like the game got delayed, I guess, till next year, and they haven't even given an official date. But if a game feels clunky, let's say a year out, let's say the game comes out September 2026, and it's at this point, and then Jade Raymond's gone. So she left the studio, it's her studio, and she's not even there. So she's not going to supervise the progress of this game. So who knows who's the head dog on this, right? So you lost the main director, she's gone. The feedback is super clunky at this point, right? Like, do you think this game's? I'll start with Extreme because Extreme, I could see the grin in his eyes. Do you think this game's gonna come out? And I know you called it, right? You said that it doesn't look good, but do you think like
Yeah.
is this another like catastrophic flop? Like another, yeah? With like, what do you
Absolutely.
think?
Absolutely. I've been from the moment they revealed it, I was like, this is like cancel it, take it back. Take it back, send it back. These troops are not the ones that we want out here. Listen, sometimes I don't even understand how it takes all of these insiders and reporters to tell us of the origin you. Okay? You've got the gamer sense, you could see that game and you were like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, listen, of course, there's a creative process. Sometimes people put a miracle out of the ass, and then they can just create something. You're like, wow, I didn't think that could work, and here it is. But I had no confidence in this game, and I always said I want everybody to know if this game turns out to be great, Oh yeah, you guys can make fun of me all the time. I'm not pretending. I don't believe in this project whatsoever. I think it should die. When I'm not for it. Okay. I want you to know I'm not going to take any credit for it. I'm just going to say this thing should have died. And if it turns out to be good, I'll take the L on that because I don't see it. I don't see this as a good project. I don't see this as a redeemable project, even. I think that it should just go the way of the Concorde and it should just end. That's it.
All right, Craig, what do you think? Playtesting, terrible feedback, Jay Raymond gone, right? Is this another massive flop in Sony's hands in their endeavor to try to dominate the live service market?
Again, people gotta really understand that the reason why you bring people in is to get the feedback. And I'm just to a point now where it's like, if these people were in charge when Kennedy said we're going to go to the moon, when the problems happened on Gemini, they just would have canceled the program. So, and we wouldn't even gotten to Apollo. But the game came out clunky. One of the clunkiest games ever made when they were actually making it was a game Rockstar made called Grand Theft Auto 3. So, and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Grand Theft Auto Vice City shipped very famous with over 100 bugs on it. So, it is people to me, the people are going in, they're seeing stuff, and it's like, okay, well, this isn't where this isn't this and this have to improve. And so you have to give them a chance to improve it. I met the guy at an air show. I like planes. I met the guy this guy at an air show. He tested the very first F-16, the very first plane that they put together. He was a test pilot, and he literally got out of the plane and he said, "This is wrong. This is wrong. This needs to be improved, and this is wrong." And they literally went back. General Dynamics went back and they started fixing it. And so I personally just believe I'm at a point now where if you see an alpha or a beta, the game is supposed to look. It's not going to be complete. So as far as the project itself, yeah, Jade Raymond is gone. I think they've hired 2 other people in her place. So just have to wait and see. It was Mark Cerny's idea to buy Haven Studio. Anybody wants to know, that was Cerny's idea. So just have to wait and see what they have. If they cancel it, though, they cancel it. But I would like to see it just to see what it's going to be about. But if not, it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Ramon. So, in Sony's endeavor to appease you PC master race, we're ending up with another flop. It just seems like I'm gonna blame you PC guys because this is your fault. It just seems like
Absolutely.
the generation they're trying to cater to you, everything is screwed up. So I blame you,
Yeah.
Ramon. This is your fault. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But what do you think of this? Another like Sony's live service strategy, and we could potentially see another colossal flop. Like you gotta admit, this live service strategy has produced a lot of bad than good so far. What do you think if like the Fair Games end up and the studio that Sony bought ends up another colossal flop? Like how do you think about that? What are your thoughts behind that?
My thoughts are I really, 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 really hope that Totoki appointing the gentleman, I can't remember his name, who is now the CEO of PlayStation, is a signifier that they're returning to form.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Totoki, as I'm nuking these projects, I would be looking Herman Hulst directly in the eye as I'm pressing the buttons to nuke them all, as a clear indication of you need to be not sleeping at night. On the Concord thing anyway, because he's over all of this stuff. I also think that, well, I hope that they're really taking a hard look at this because we know that PlayStation is capable of pivoting when the chips are down. So I really hope that they're looking at this, and with the new people running PlayStation, they're looking at this and they're like, okay, we're taking nothing but L's except for Helldivers, and
That's
I'm
it.
not against them trying live service, But what I'm against is Jim Ryan saying, "All right, we gonna put everything we got into 12 live service," which was ridiculous. Try two, just try two. Try two, and do what you do best. Because they've made all of their profits. They've made everything that they've done up to now was not on the back of live service. It was on the back of what they do best. Continue to do the majority of what you do best and stop trying to fly too close to the sun. Stop trying to get cute with your success and going overboard trying new things. Try new things. That's perfectly fine. But don't try 12 new things and then we get very little out of the things. Like Sony's audience, PlayStation's audience is single player games. So you don't give your audience less of why they're here for this new thing. You give them what they're here for, and you try a few of the new thing. That's my biggest issue with this. And as far as fair games, like I don't have a dog in that fight because the minute I heard it was multiplayer, I wasn't interested. And then when I watched the showcase and I saw what the game was, I was even less interested. So, you know,
Mm.
I hopefully they don't close the studio down. A lot of people there that, have worked hard on everything, and it would be nice if they kept the studio, and if this game fails, give them another chance to do something under different leadership since Jay Raymond decided to dip out. Get a new leader in there and give them a chance to try to make another game. Like I say, I'm not against live service, even though I don't care about it. But they just went overboard with it. That's my whole thing with it. So,
Mm.
you know, Fair Game's probably not going to make it. It's that game because I mean, I think along with Marathon, because I think Marathon is cooked too. But
Mm.
give them a chance to make something different with different management. Give them a second chance. But yeah, I just hope they're righting the ship and they're doing something reasonable instead of throwing 12 globs of spaghetti at the wall and seeing, which glob sticks, because that's pretty much what it is. What it seems like
Mhm.
anyway.
Can
Now,
I just say I disagree with that. I disagree with the notion that they shouldn't have tried the 12 live service games because the money didn't come from them. The money came from the investors, and the investors wanted live service games. And if you're Sony and you haven't reduced the budget for the single player games, right, and you have the budget for live service now that you didn't have access to before, it makes sense to go in this direction. The part where they make the mistake, and I agree with P-Rock, is that they then tax single player studios to then make this thing. I do agree that they should have just been like, hey, Haven, Firework, Firespite, all of you guys that are brand new, you take this money and you go with God and you discover if there's something to discover on that side, rather than tell Sony Band and Bluepoint and whatever else. I do think that there was
I
a
totally
critical
agree with
mistake.
that. I totally agree
But
with
the
that.
actual following of the live service path, I can understand it because it's what the people who had the money to give decided that they wanted to pursue. So it's either you say no to all of that and that money, or you give it a shot. So I don't mind them giving it a shot. I just say that they did make a mistake in taking away from traditional single player studios in order to give some of those a shot. So I
Okay,
think that
so
there is a critical error.
that thing that you said I wasn't aware of. So they were using investor money for the live
yeah,
Yeah,
service.
because remember
yeah.
around the
Okay, I
2020
thought it
They
with
was
the
provided
their.
they
pandemic,
provided
yeah,
funding, right? They provided
yeah.
the
Okay, see,
funding, right?
I thought it was their dime that they were doing this on. Okay,
I
Well, it
mean,
okay,
is
it's
I
a
see.
public
I see
PlayStation,
what you're
company,
right?
so it's all
PlayStation money.
messed up in there. But it is like a publicly traded company, and so if your investors are like, this is what we want to see, because that's where they got the extra money from. What was his name? Shuhei Yoshida spoke about that. That they gave him a budget that
Yeah.
he didn't have access to before, because before he would be the one to balance the budgets between all
Yeah.
of the first party studios. And then they were like, yeah, they gave Jim Ryan this additional extra money to do these things. So they were always going to try live service. That was never going to stop, or they were just going to walk away from all of that money. So it was one or the other. But like I said, the allocation of certain studios to chase after the live service when they were traditional single player studios, that was the biggest mistake. Because if
Yeah.
Bungie failed, if Firespite failed, if Haven failed, but you were still everybody else that was still doing the thing they're supposed to do, you'll be like, yeah, whatever. Like Concrete Genie failed, nobody gives a shit. So it is a thing like Media Molecule failed, right? They had dreams and none of us cared because all the single player studios were carrying the weight. So it's basically it's when you realize that wait, Sony Bend was essentially distracted with this thing that didn't end up happening. That you're like, wait, but then you only have Insomniac. Naughty Dog hasn't been around because they were distracted with their own thing. And then who else has it been? Really, just Insomniac, right? From like
No,
the release line.
Blue Point with that God of War nonsense, multiplayer
Yeah.
nonsense,
Also,
like
yeah.
They were
dude, like
distracted as well. So you
whoever
had like
whoever
three.
recommend whoever came to them with that should be stapling papers in the basement. So,
There,
Mhm.
there were like three massive studios that should have been working on the single player side and should have stuck to that, that got distracted by this other venture, and that should not have happened. I think they should have just bought more studios. If you're going to go out there and purchase during that time when investment was cheap because money was cheap to borrow and everything, you should have just invested in more multiplayer studios from the get go and then have those try their things rather than converting traditionally single player studios. Unless, like what Podok said before, we're going to give them additional resources for more teams within those studios. Because again, the issue isn't even that Sony Ben failed. The issue seems to be that Sony Ben failed, and then there was nothing else, going on at the same time to kind of compensate for that. Because if they were like, oh no, we're working on two projects at the same time, and then the live service project failed, but the single player is still going strong, then you'll be like, okay, not bad. But yeah, I think that was a critical mistake there.
so I just want to
Mhm.
amend based on that info that I didn't know. And I agree. Like, if that being the situation, then I can fall back on the, you know, going all in on 12. But
Yeah.
I've also felt the same way day one about like distracting studios that do single player games with this multiplayer initiative. And and I know it's a excuse me. I know it's a line to walk, like with the whole Blue Point thing. It's a line to walk with creatives when you want to try something different and being told, no, do this or figure something else out. But sometimes that has to be the case. And someone at Blue Point coming to whoever and saying, "Hey, we want to do a God of War multiplayer." To me, that reminds me of when Crystal Dynamics decided it was a good idea to create a game called Nosgoth, which was basically a MOBA off of the Legacy of Kain franchise. When they showed the video, the trailer on YouTube for the first time, and they showed what it was, they turned off the comments because they knew that it was going to be a mushroom cloud of rage, because you took a game that is heavy story driven,
Mhm.
and turned it into a MOBA. So that's what it's not quite that bad, but it makes me think of that when they said they wanted to do a multiplayer God of War game. It's like that's not what it's that's yeah, anyway. Yeah. Before I start
Yeah.
ranting, I'm just gonna stop there.
No, and Extreme did hit a great point, right? I think there's a balance point in all this, right? I think overall the Sony strategy for like service game also clouded, in my opinion, this is just my viewpoint, what they needed to do for the single player studios, right? Because to me, one, the biggest mistake was trying to use some of those single player studios for
Yeah.
live service. So that's a huge mistake because what
Yep.
that did was
Yep.
like and what that did was you rely on the studio to release a game that they traditionally don't make. But if they release it is good, okay, Blue Point, let's say Blue Point didn't make a God of War live service and they actually released it, and let's say it's good. Doesn't even have to be great or genre defying, but it's generally good. Well, Blue Point made a good game. And let's say Sony Ben, who's also trying to make a live service game, right? Let's say they released it and it's generally good. Then okay, Sony Ben. But the problem is they were delving into an area they're not familiar with, and the projects got canceled, and now they got nothing. So they're really gonna go a whole gen. At least with Sony Ben, they're gonna go this gen without a new game. That this gen has no Sony Ben game.
Yep.
Unless you're talking about the remaster of Days Gone, they legitimately provided nothing to PlayStation this gen, right? Blue Point, they got the remake of Demon
Demon
Souls
Souls.
at
And
launch,
that's it.
and that's it. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's inherently the problem, right? What I think is Sony's big mistake is not anticipating that, like, okay, wait a minute, this gen, or they should have thought about this during the PS4 gen. The future of developing our single player studios is going to be more time consuming and it's going to take longer. So to have studios push the content that gamers clearly want, because we could, obviously, the thought of Sony needs multiplayer, of course, that could be debated and back and forth, sure, whatever. But there's one thing that cannot be debated is gamers want PlayStation single player stories. The sales show it, at least the AAA. The sales show it,
Yeah.
the mind share, the awards. Like Sony single player is like the big deal for PlayStation. Of course, you have the huge monies and money transaction, of course that. But in terms of mind share, people want that single player goodness that Sony provides across all their titles. That's automatic. So you should know, kicking off next gen, people want that. People want Sony first party AAA games. They want to play that. They want more of it, right? So Sony should anticipate it. How can we give the consumers more of what they want, right? So you look at a Sony Ben, you're like, man, Sony Ben, you really guys are only equipped to make one game. We're gonna invest so that way you could develop two games. Sucker
Yeah.
Punch. You guys got the ability to make great games, but it's only one at a time. We got to put some money to grow your studios because we need
Exactly.
to ensure
Exactly.
you guys are able to tackle on multiple projects. Right now we got Ghost of Yotai, but who knows? We probably could have had, at least at a minimum, an Infamous remake in the books and people would have been happy. You understand? Sony
Yeah.
didn't think about that. They didn't
Yeah.
think of, like, we have to make sure that the one thing we're great at, we still feed the audience with that. You can still do your
Yeah.
live service, but we got to make sure this one thing that we know is great. We know there's no debate. This is the moneymaker. In fact, I would say the PS4 gen was probably the best gen of Sony first party games in the entire
So far,
brand.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they know this is what the audience want. We got to give you more of it. So we're going to
Yeah.
invest to make
He
sure
just
we give you more. The other plan, okay, we got Firewalk Studios, we bought Bungie, Haven, blah, 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 all these other studios released the thing, right? And even if they failed, which they are, except for Helldivers, it's okay because PlayStation gamers still got the new Sony Ben game. They got an Infamous remaster, plus another new game for Sucker Punch. Bluepoint is doing a remake of, Bloodborne, or they're making a new IP. You're still getting all these games at a higher output because they invest in the studios to push out more. So the audience at its core is actually getting what they want, which is a single player studio games. This additional stuff, if it works, it works. If it
you
doesn't,
just
no harm. Other than Sony pockets, no harm to the gamer because it didn't stop the gamers getting what they actually wanted and what they were expecting, what they expect every gen. I don't think this is just exclusive to PS5. I think every gen PlayStation comes out, PlayStation gamers, people who are interested in PlayStation, want the big AAA single player experience all the time. So that's just tied to the brand. You could do all these other projects, and if they fail, gamers be like, the game flopped. But hey, I still got my single player experiences, which is what I really want. And I think gamers, sure, they'll give the multiplayer live service a try. Sure, if it's there, they'll try it. Even a few people try Concord, whatever. But the problem is the people feel they're missing out single player because Sony didn't invest to keep up the tempo, and they use studios that would normally make single player games. They use them for live service, and now they're not even doing that. So like Bluepoint, you get nothing more. Sony Ben, you didn't get anything at all. Naughty Dog, you're not going to be able to play the first game to maybe 2027. 7 years
Yep.
into the console life cycle, you'll get your first Naughty Dog game, brand new Naughty Dog game. And that's why, and people, who bought a PlayStation didn't buy a PlayStation with the thought of, oh yeah, I want all new live service games. No, they bought it because of single player experiences, which Sony does it better than most. There's only a few developers that you can say are on that level, like Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto, CD Projekt Red with The Witcher. Who else? Who else can we think of with storytelling and single player experiences that's on that level? Maybe
I mean,
Elder Scrolls, maybe Fallout,
Uh,
maybe. There's only a few. You
Elder
can't
Scrolls doesn't
like
really do
notice,
storytelling.
but you see what I'm saying? Like If
Yeah,
we try to
you have
answer
to
that
think really
question,
hard to
we have
find.
to really think hard. If we can't like spit it out. Like, oh yeah, this studio, this studio, this studio. Like, we can't spit out single player storytelling to that level. You have to really sit back and actually think like, oh, how about this studio? And then maybe there's a
Yeah.
conversation. Like right now, Eminem disagrees with Elder Scrolls. He might be right. Maybe they're not good at
Yeah.
storytelling. But you
They're
see what I'm
not.
saying? But you see what I'm saying? It's not easy to really pinpoint the top tier single player driven storytelling games. You would have to sit back, digest, and talk about it and debate about it. You know? But the one thing that's
We
not debatable
actually,
is that's what they want from PlayStation. And it's just
You
they're just amazing at it across the board for most of the studios.
you reminded me of something too that I've been scratching my head about. Like for all of Sony PlayStation being called Remaster Station and all of that, the fact that I mean we're still in the gen, so I mean they could be working on all this and I just don't know it. But it seems like such just good low hanging fruit that they could bring forward the PS3 classics that everybody wants. Everybody wants a remaster, well, a remake of Infamous One, but I'll even take remasters because they don't take as long. Remasters of Infamous One and Two, bring those forward. All of the Ratchet and Clanks they could bring forward. The freaking Sly Cooper games they can bring forward. Like they have this whole treasure chest of IP that people are begging for. They're like, just bring them forward. You know what I mean? And they like it just and then I know the whole PS3 architecture argument, but Bluepoint did it with Demon Souls, and that was a PS3 game. So like the fact that it seems like just such easy low hanging fruit, people been begging
Mhm.
for, and of course Bloodborne. But I mean, like why they haven't brought forward these beloved IPs from the PS3 generation is just something that I just wonder why. And then the whole rumor about the God of War Greek saga. Like I'm still holding out. I'm still huffing the hopium that that's true. But if it's not true, it's another one I'm scratching my head on. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, you, I just don't understand why. Because they even talk about it. You know, even though I don't believe it. You know, the whole if you want new games, the remasters help to fund those, which I think is I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
But like if that is the case, then why wouldn't they be bringing these games forward? So I don't know what they're
because no
doing
one's
right
going
now.
to buy them. I'm just going to tell you,
You know
no
what?
one's
Yeah,
going to buy them.
unfortunately,
I
you're probably
this
right.
this is one thing that we have to be honest, right? There are two sides to this thing, right? There's the creators, and obviously Sony is one in this case, and then there are the consumers, right? And this is the thing. Here's the thing. I also want to melange this with the whole people in the chat talking about double A games. Sony should make more double A games. Here's the thing: the market doesn't buy them. The market doesn't buy remakes and remasters. Like, what was that game that they did bring it back from like the PlayStation One? It has like the skull guy and he dies and he's like an undead person.
Medieval.
Medieval. Nobody bought Medieval. People were saying for years and years and years, "Oh my God, you should bring back Medieval." Spyro came back. Nobody bought it. You know, like this is the thing. We have to be honest with what it is that the market is going to pay for. You may buy it. You as an individual, fantastic. You and 12 of your friends. I agree, right? But
Yeah.
here's the thing. It's going to sell less than Concord. No one bought Spyro. No one bought Medieval. People keep saying they want these things and they don't support them, right? They don't buy them when it comes to the till.
You know
The
what? You're
same
right
thing with
about that.
double
That's
the
been the
games.
biggest thing I've been
I mean, another
frustrated
good
about
point is
the
Dead
PlayStation
Space.
community. That is a
Dead
good
Space is
Yeah,
point.
a good
exactly.
example
Dead
too.
Space remake.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, fantastic! Oh my god, it's such a great remake! Oh my god, play, play, play!" People are like, "Yeah." So here's the thing: Infamous One
Good
and Two.
point.
I love them. I played them. They were games all the
Mhm.
time. But unless you're going to reboot the franchise from the get go, like a God of War 2018, even if you follow the same story bits, if it's like a Final Fantasy VII remake, where it's a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new, maybe it can work. But a straight up remaster, no one's gonna buy that. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna buy that. And I love the franchise. Like, think about
I
that.
still have my
I'm not gonna buy it.
PS3. Part of the
It has
reason
to
is
be a
because of
remake.
the Infamous
Yeah.
games.
And this is
It
the
has to
issue
Like,
be.
with
I
It has
would
to be a
remakes.
prefer a
remake.
remake. I would
Even a
prefer a
remake,
remake,
if
but
it's a remake, but it's the same story bit and almost the same gameplay mechanics, it's still flopping. it needs to be a reboot. Now the reboot
No,
can
you're
have the
right
same
about that.
story beats,
Mhm.
but it gotta have new mechanics. It's gotta have like new things, and they've got to fix up some of the writing plot holes. It's a
Well,
brand
yeah,
new game.
it has to be updated. It has to be updated for sure.
So
Yeah.
here's the
For sure.
thing. So here's the
Modern.
thing. That doesn't work. It just doesn't. Concrete Genie, wonderful double A game for according to some people. I think it's garbage, but many other people think it's great. Right? Has a decent score. No one bought it. You know, Dreams, no one bought it. There are so many, even partner games that they partnered on. Kind of Bridge of Spirits, right? Fantastic for a small studio, but it wasn't
Mhm.
bought in the millions. Like, and yet that had a PlayStation level quality to it. People
Mhm.
don't buy double A games from Sony. They don't do it. It doesn't matter how much you wish they did, they just don't do it. Asking Sony to say, like, hey, do this thing is a failure. It's more of a failure than the live service games. Because then it's
Mhm.
worse. You create a good product that just dies on the shelf. No,
Mhm.
absolutely not. Sony
You know
should
what,
not
man?
make
Is
double A
I
experiences.
hate
They,
it, but you're right. I hate it, but you're right, and it's
And
frustrating
if
as
they're
hell.
gonna
So
bring, if they're gonna
frustrating.
bring something back, like even a Gravity Rush didn't sell. If they're gonna
Yeah,
bring it back,
yeah,
they need to redo it from the ground up. And guess what? It needs to be a AAA level.
and it
People
needs to be
will
a whole
not
new
accept
game.
anything less. Exactly. People will not accept anything less from Sony. Okay, call it a blessing or a curse or both. That's just the reality. Okay,
Mhm.
just like I don't know if Nintendo made a AAA like freaking God of War level game, or if they made a I don't know a Cyberpunk level game, I don't know if that audience will buy it. I don't know,
Mm.
right? If
No,
they decided
Because
to
that's
do it
not their
like
actually,
super
style. That's
photorealistic,
not their
you know the
style.
exactly,
reason.
it's not the
I
style
don't
they're
think they
looking
would
for.
buy it for the same reason Astro didn't sell as much as it should have,
There you
because
go.
the
There you go.
PlayStation
There you go. There's
excellent
Astrobot
That's
games,
a good
just came
point.
out. Game of the
PlayStation,
year.
yeah, the
I said
audience,
it's the best platformer I've ever played. People thought I was crazy. Then he won the most awards of almost any
Of
game on
any
earth and the
platform,
most awards of any platformer. He
platformer,
beat
yeah.
yep,
Mario,
yep.
and no one buys it.
Yeah, it
like,
only sold what? It only sold like what, 2 or 3 million?
like 3 million if you're
So the
lucky.
last count was 1.5, but that was as of
1.5.
September. As of
Yeah,
September,
that
Yeah,
was
so
like
but it's
exactly.
still
when it
selling.
initially
So I would
launched,
imagine it's probably 2 to 2.5 by now. But compared to
Yeah.
which
Sony's
is
other
criminal. It's freaking criminal, man.
compared to other Sony's big AAA that sells 10 million, 12 million. You know what I'm saying? Now, luckily because of the budget, Astrobot is successful. But you would
Yeah.
think that if PlayStation gamers really wanted this game, it would be in the 10, 12 million, similar in line
And you
to
know
the
another game
Horizons,
that is just as
the
good as
Spider-Mans, God of
Astrobot?
War, you know?
You know another game that's just as good as Astrobot?
What's
Sackboy: A
that?
Big Adventure. Sackboy is an amazing game. It came out
Sackboy is
at launch.
excellent. That is such a good
Nobody
game.
bought it. Not a
That's such a
single
good game.
person bought it. It is a fantastic game. And guess what? It's a
It
double A
is.
budget. And it
It's
died on the vine.
fantastic.
No
It's
one even
fantastic.
you tell people Sackboy is good and they're like, cap. And I'm like, no, it's actually really fucking great. And if you
It,
have friends over, it's one of the only games where you can all play co-op, which
yeah,
people
it's
say
four
that they
player.
want.
4 player.
Exactly. And
Couch
it's
co-op.
brilliant. It is brilliant. It is just as good to me as
Like
Astrobot
you'll
was.
see, yeah,
And
like you'll see
nobody
Ghost of
gave a
Yotai
fuck.
sell. Ghost of
Yeah,
Yotai will sell.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna
Yote
sell.
is gonna sell all in the millions, but not you. I totally forgot about Sackboy. Like, I like
exactly.
that enough that I actually have it in my wish list to double dip it again on Steam. That's how
I'm
much I
telling you,
like
Sackboy is a fantastic game, and it's a double A game, and it's different from the Sony template, and it gives people co-op, and it's everything people say that they want. We want something lower budget where the story doesn't have to be this cinematic Kojima level movie, gameplay out the wazoo, blah 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 blah. And when it's given to them on a platter, they just sniff their nose at it. There is
I mean,
nothing that PlayStation gamers can say to convince me that they want double A games and they will actually buy it. And when I say buy it, I mean buy it to the level of the AAA buys that you make, right? Like
yeah.
if a double A game
it.
sells 20 million, like a God of War, then I will believe this is what you want, that there was pent up demand for it. But when it sells 1 or 2 million copies, and then we have to be like, oh, well, that was successful for the budget. That's like being told, oh, you're good looking for a black person. Like, it's an
Oh
insult.
shit! Ah, here we go. Oh man. Oh man. Hey,
No,
who said it? No.
as much.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to put
No,
up the
it's,
No,
disclaimer.
but you know
But
what?
you
No,
know what?
it's a backward compliment.
Watch Ghost of Yotai sell Astrobound
and that sends
numbers
a
in the
message.
first 24
Yeah.
hours.
I'm
Easily.
telling you.
Yeah,
First
and
day.
And
that
it could
sends
be
a
worse than
message.
Ghost of Tsushima. It
Maybe
could
even
literally be
more.
worse than Ghost of Tsushima, and
Yeah.
it will outsell Ghost. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like, what
You know,
are you doing? Stop
it,
going with this narrative that people have this pent-up demand for this double the budget, or like lower budget games have some kind of virtue to them. Like they have some kind of like passion that is, untouched by corporate greed. No, they're made by the same corporation. They are made for the same greed. They would love for you to buy 20 million copies of Sackboy after listening to me. Go ahead, get 20 million of your friends and buy it. They will absolutely love it. They'll be just as greedy over Sackboy and Astrobot as they will be over God of War or anything else. There is no virtue to low budget games. But guess what? The PlayStation audience doesn't want them. And we know this because even when they partner with other studios like second party games, you don't want them. You don't want them. The only time that you want a second party game is if it approaches a AAA budget, or at
like
least it
Stellar
looks like
Blade.
it approaches like a Stellar Blade. But even that game didn't sell out the wazoo. You want the expensive $300 million games, which is why I am so tired of hearing people say,
Complaining about
"Oh
the
my
budget.
God, we don't want this budget game." Shut the fuck up! It's exactly what you want. GTA 6, right? Is rumored to cost like $1.2 billion, and no one ever says, "Where did Dexter get the money?" Oh my God, what's gonna happen to the CEO's house in Cabana? And what about his yacht? No one cares because it's what you want. If Sony games, guess what? I'm happy with $1 billion Sony games. 100%. I hope Interstellar costs 500 million. What the fuck? Why are you pretending that you don't want that good? I don't care, man. If Sony needs to spend $800 million, or like in the case of Bungie, $3.6 billion for something we're not even getting, bro, let it happen. Like, stop pretending that you're for this life when you are not. You're bougie. This is what you're here for. You're here for the high-end experience. Stop complaining about how much it costs. And it's not even costing you. You're not even the one paying the $300 million. Jesus Christ.
You know,
Fucking hell.
as much as as much as like you definitely brought my head back out of the clouds because I keep thinking because I buy all these games, right? And so
Mhm.
Yeah.
like and then you hear other people who at least speak like minded, but then yeah, it's easy to forget
They don't show up.
when you look at the sales, people don't show up. They talk all this smack, but then when it's time to show up, it's like we show up and then we look around and it's just like two other people like us, and then it's
Do you know what
crickets.
it feels like? It feels like all of us agree to go streaking on like the final day of the UEFA. And then, you and I, we go out there, we're ready to streak, and we look back and everyone's just like,
Everybody else just standing back.
yeah, it's like, wait, guys, I thought we all agreed on this. We're in the group chat yesterday.
Nah, dog, you by yourself streaking. You
You by
you by
yourself.
yourself, but
Like no
I'm
no
in the
no
You
man,
crowd
streak.
with
I'm
them.
good.
You
I'm
streak.
No,
They've
I'm
got their
good.
phones out.
I'm in the crowd like looking at
I'm
my
good.
stream like I'm like
I never
this,
heard of him. Never heard of
Let me
him.
do this. Let me do this. Oh shit, we got ghosted. Let me do some super chats real quick. We got Liquid Data with the super chat. Thank you so much. My brother says, like I said before, it's not the live service games, it's the games they are trying to make. They could do the traditional single player campaign and multiplayer, then monetize the multiplayer. So I see that a lot from people, but with the majority of people and what they are playing and what they consume, is there is the audience there to go back to the 360
No,
days of multiplayer, where
absolutely
you have the
not.
single player game and you have a small, you have a multiplayer game associated? Is that really a
No,
big enough audience for that, or has live
there isn't.
service now taken
Can we
over
take can
that?
we take a real look at this here? I love the Last of Us factions. Okay, I loved it. I played for hundreds of hours. It was a niche title. It's literally called the Hidden Gem. Literally, people didn't play it. I loved it. Uncharted 4 multiplayer. People say, "Oh my God, that was another hidden title." Guess what? Hidden because people didn't want it. Like, we have to be honest about the conversation. Okay,
How
just
did
because
how did
I love something, and can I just say, there are so many people that are here on podcasts, the people that we know, right? And they complain about all of these games being stale, being AAA, being void, being by the book. And then Clear Obscure comes out, and then everybody's telling them that just one of the great experiences ever. And then they're like, "Oh, it's a turn-based game. I'll get to it later." Fuck you from the deepest depths of my soul. Fuck you. I want you to know this.
we don't even have to go to Claire. We
I
can go to
feel
Death
like those are
Stranding. We can go to
shots.
Death Stranding.
I feel like that's a shot. I feel like that's a
No, no,
shot.
no.
Listen, I feel like that's a
If you
shot. I don't
recognize
know.
yourself, if that feels like it hit you
It's a
somewhere,
fact.
I
I
want you to
feel
know I
like
meant it.
I feel
I
like
meant it.
listen, I
I
told you
meant
I'm
it.
gonna play the goddamn game. I just have a lot of shit on my plate. Okay.
Listen, I'm
Listen,
just like, wow.
I didn't think Assassin's Creed Odyssey was this big of a game. It's a lot of shit in that fucking game. Like
Everybody told you.
goddamn.
Everybody told
Yeah,
you.
there's a lot.
He said
Like
everybody
Hold on,
told you.
we don't even
this
have to
game is
go.
Everybody
like
told
We
you.
don't
5
have to.
games in this shit. I'm like, and I got all the DLC, and I just love Greek mythology and shit. So I'm stuck perpetually doing all this shit, fighting minotaurs, looking for Atlantis. I'm like, fuck. When does the game end? I'm like,
Listen, leave
shit.
the land of the
She had a
colonizers
baby.
behind.
I'm
Go
like,
to
We're
fuck.
gonna
stay
head to the
My
top of
obscure.
that.
character got a kid too. This game is gonna be forever. I'm like, that shit threw
We
me
don't
for a
even
loop. I'm
we
like,
don't
what
even
the
have to be as
fuck?
recent as Claire Obscure. We can say
Shit.
Death Stranding. How many people say they wanted new and
Oh
different?
my
Death
god.
Stranding comes out and they're
Yes.
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, that game looks kind of
Yes.
weird. Like, well, why don't
Yes.
you
No,
play it and find out?
well, yeah.
I don't
You know
know,
what?
dude.
But I played
Like,
and I beat it. And I be honest. I'm glad I did, but it is different. It's
oh,
Yes.
it's
different,
very
That's
but
different.
what
it's
people
worth it.
say they want, right? That's
That's
what
what they
people
say
say
Mhm.
they
they want.
want,
And
and
then the
they're right.
numbers don't show. And then they're
And that
fucking
game is
on the podcast.
fantastic.
And then they're like turning up the nose at the game that is literally representing everything. And we don't have to go to Death Stranding. Freaking Split Fiction, A Way Out,
Yep.
even what was it? It Takes Two. All of those games were offering something different, great visuals, and exactly the level of visuals people say they want,
But they're
right?
not.
We
They're
don't
not
want
AAA
Naughty
though.
Dog level visuals, but we
They're
don't
not
want
AAA.
like Nintendo level visuals. We want something double A visuals. So then they give you this, and then there are people that just turn up the nose. Like even the freaking Life is
Ooh,
Strange series.
ooh, what's that?
Exactly.
What's
Yeah.
that, brother?
Jesus Christ. I cannot
Oh,
stand
Dude, you
like
know
these
what?
gamers talking on podcasts.
another
What?
good one was Banishers. Banishers was a good AA game. It was an emotional freaking like it was an emotional story. That game was
That
a
was
good
an
game with a
awesome
good
game.
story and excellent acting. And that game didn't do. I mean, it did okay. I think I'm not entirely sure,
Yeah.
but that was an excellent game, and I hear nobody talking about it.
You
And
know
it
what they
just
say about Banishers? They say, oh, the story was good, but the gameplay wasn't so great.
dude,
So we
the
don't play that.
gameplay wasn't. Yeah, I mean,
Then
I know, I'm singing to the choir, but the gameplay wasn't bad. Like it was, the gameplay was.
no, no.
I'll put it like this: I thought the gameplay would be a lot more shallow than it was before I played it, based on what people were saying it. And then when I actually
Yes.
played it, I
Let,
was like,
let,
dude, the gameplay is deeper than what people are saying it is.
let me tell you the hypocrisy, Roman. They will look at that game and say, oh, the gameplay wasn't good enough. Gameplay is king, therefore I won't play it. Then they're going to take another game where the gameplay is fantastic, but the story isn't so good. And then they'll be like, this story isn't good enough for me to play this game. Like I guess I get you later. Like the story is important. Then they will be like, you know what? They take a look at another game and they'll be like, the graphics were amazing, like a Hellblade 2, right? But the gameplay wasn't good enough. Graphics are overrated. Then they will look at another game that has a fantastic gameplay, but the graphics aren't so good. They'll be like, just the graphics just don't look good enough. It doesn't look good enough on my screen. It doesn't matter. They are like those little. What's that game where there's like little things that pop up and you just try to like knock them
Whack
down,
a
and
mole,
then they
whack a mole.
Whack-a-mole.
whack-a-mole. They're like a game of whack-a-mole. They're over here, then they're over there. They're over there. You try to, you're like, oh, you want to be over here? Here it is. Oh no, oh, it doesn't, And you know what? Do you know what will actually solve all of the issues? A $300 million game. And then I'm going to tell you that the budget is the issue. It's just like, what
All
the
the
fuck
while
do
they're
you
buying
want?
it and playing it. They're literally
Oh.
Tell
playing
you,
it as
I
they're
don't know.
complaining about the budget.
I've already
What's up,
told
Ghost?
P Rock in this panel. Hey, what's up, everyone? My
Hey,
you
hold
know,
on.
hey, what's going on? There are so many good games, and I think we get sometimes caught up in the Twitter sphere or even on YouTube here, right? And you can always tell like the true gamers, like the fakers or the people just want to talk about games instead of playing them will always show
Yep,
themselves
100%.
because like when you hear like comments where people are like, man, this generation's been asked for gaming. And I personally, I'm just like, I don't know what are you playing, man? Because there's so many good
Exactly.
games. I mean, you named Banishers wasn't really good. Somebody in I think Chaos Legion Spawn said, Flintlock was a really good game. I enjoyed the hell out of it, right? So there are just so many games, gems that drop, whether it be a AA budget, a AAA budget. I mean, we've been force-fed games this whole generation. And for an old ass gamer like myself, man, I'm playing them all. I'm buying them all, playing them all, and this is to me, as far as gaming, one of the best generations. Man, I got VR, I got a Portal. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we're Sony's got
100%.
me
Yo,
covered.
I ain't lying. I'm having
You know?
trouble making time for VR. Like I'm like, fuck. Like it's a lot. Like I will have to like take off work for like 6 months and like just wake up and play games
I've been
Yeah,
saying
to catch
this.
up.
I'm sorry. What the Ghost
it's wild out.
Ghost in the Shell? Something that you said reminds me. I've been saying this since the start of this gen, and it probably started before this gen. I sincerely believe we're in a golden age of gaming because we have never had more variety in
Yeah,
game
that's a
type,
lot.
in game prices. Like the prices and the types of games have never been more varied than they are right now. You want a low budget and you can't really afford expensive games? There's indies and double A's. You need to expand your horizons because you can get games for as little as $1 or as much as $5 or $10 if you look.
Yeah.
You have the budget and you can play anything you want. You can play triple A's, double A's, indies. There's so many games out there and they're good ones. From 2023 up to now, we have been drowned in good games. Not drowned in games, drowned in good games. You can't keep up.
Mhm.
Facts.
And I
Mhm.
mean, Robert, to your point, if
I don't have
budget
enough.
is, yeah, go ahead,
Go no,
Ghost.
go ahead, Ian. Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say quickly, to Ramon's point, the advantage of Game Pass and PlayStation Plus is that even if you are in a financially very difficult situation, if you can afford to have at least a month or two, you have access to games of every budget and size, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's fantastic. And many of these games are game of the year quality games. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you are unhappy as a gamer this generation, that is a choice. I want you to know
Yep.
that. You choose to be miserable. Okay? That's it. Look, Roman is playing on PC, and even he's not miserable. It's
Oh
your fault.
shit.
Right.
Oh
Oh my
That, that,
man.
God.
that
We
goes.
had
But
to,
that,
had to,
that,
had to
Oh,
have
that's
there
that
you
wild.
jab
go.
in
That's
there.
wild.
Oh, my man threw
Had to
that
have that
jab up
But
in
jab in
there.
that goes.
Not
If
to
you
mention,
broaden,
folks talk like I don't have a PS5 sitting there right on the other
Oh
side of the
shit.
TV from my PC.
Oh shit.
Oh,
even
All
if
right.
you take
Go ahead,
a step
Ghost.
back, right, and even if you take a step back and you focus on the whole picture as a whole, right? I mean, you look at the PC game; they have so many different variations, so many different cards. No matter what the price is, right? But they have so many different. They've got a huge Steam library. They do get the Game
Yep.
Pass PC. You look, you know what I'm saying? You look at Xbox side, like M said, if you're pimping on a budget and your pockets ain't right, and you decide to go the subscription route, they too have all plethora of games. How good
Exactly.
those games are,
They
whatever the
have a
case may be,
huge
it don't
VR
matter.
library.
Yeah.
Right.
PC.
So it's like so it's
Huge.
like anyone that says that like this generation it sucks for gaming is just being they're not a gamer. Period. Like end the
Yep.
conversation, mute them, block them, unsubscribe, and keep it moving. Like that's the
Mm.
wildest shit ever. That's the wildest take. So whether you play on Xbox, PlayStation, upcoming Nintendo, PC, man, y'all tripping, man. If that's the sentiment that you have, crazy in hell.
Dude,
All right.
Star Wars Outlaws. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me do some super chats real quick. We got it's Chill Will with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Will. Says, I think a lot of people are focusing on the live service cancellations and not the fact Sony studios this gen are now multi-game development. Like Sony Ben is currently working on an unannounced game right now. So yeah, so Sony brand supposedly now they're working on a new game, but the problem is you're not playing that game until next gen because they just started it. You know, it wasn't something that they were having in the queue. You know, after whatever project they got canceled, they moved on to the next project, but because they spent so much time on the live service, this new game, it's probably at a minimum a PlayStation 6 cross-gen title. So it'll come out on the PS5 and the PS6, but you're not getting this game within the next 2-3 years. Unless it's like a remake, because you could push a remake in 3 years. Bluepoint did the Demon Soul remake in 3 years, so that's a possibility. But if this is a full-fledged new title and they started this year, you're talking 2030 at the earliest, which is pretty much PlayStation 6 era, and that's the problem, right? So we don't got Sony Ben. Like, sure, they're working on a project, but that's a PlayStation 6 game, at a minimum. Gordo P23 with the super chat, thank you so much. It says the crazy thing about it is if that Sackboy game came out on Switch, it would have sold a lot more. Maybe.
Facts.
Maybe,
I
depending on
think it would
that,
have.
that's a good point, right? The audience dictates and stuff like that. I think Yoshida talked about on a podcast that the majority of PlayStation gamers, the money goes towards the AAA. I think it's like 80% or something like that. It was like 12% for single A indie games. It's not a lot. The data
Yeah.
shows the consumer wants the AAA titles. Navenzor, thank you for the super chat, says the veteran is saying when it goes and gets tough, quit. I don't know if you're talking about shutting down live service. I say this, right? This let me put it this way. Sony is supposed to provide content the consumer wants to play, right? But they have to release the product. If they're doing a strategy that is simply not working, do you just keep going and keep failing? Or do you be like, you know what? Stop this. Let's invest and go back to giving what the gamers want. Because I understand everybody saying Sony should try. But what we should be focusing on is Sony should be delivering content for us, right? Like make the games for us. If Sony keeps
Priority.
going down this road and they keep canceling, or they do release a game and it sucks and they're like, all right, shut it down. At a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, how much time and investment are they putting in delivering nothing? At a certain point, we have to say to
Reputation is
ourselves,
important too.
What happened?
I said reputation is also
Yeah.
important because
And
you start taking too many L's, man. People are gonna be
yeah.
like, man, what's going on with PlayStation?
Yeah, at a certain point, you have to ask. Like, that's why I said that now the conversation of live service is different than 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we get it. It brings in money, and if it's successful, they'll bring in lots of revenue, future game development. They'll start with 10, 12 projects, 6 of them will fail. 3 of them might succeed. All right, that was the conversation 4 years ago. But this is 2025. The reality, one was successful. Everything else looks like it's flopping, which is not a great strategy. So all this energy Sony's putting into, coupled with using first-party studios, single-player studios that should have been making single-player games, we're losing out. We're not getting the content, and we can't just sit by and not get content just to simply say, oh, let them try. For how long do you let them try before you realize you're wasting time when you could put energies towards the actual system that people really want, that people will really buy, that you're already good at? Like, double down on what you're good at. You already have the playbook. It's a winning playbook. It's a winning strategy. The strategy was proven successful. Just double down on the strategy, you know? So at what point do we tell Sony, all right, double down on the strategy of what we're willing to buy, just go in that direction again? It's okay. If you suck at multiplayer games if Helldivers end up being the only multiplayer game you're good at, then oh well, you got your golden goose. It's okay. You'll be fine. But develop the games that most people want, that most people perceive PlayStation is, which is the single player, story-driven titles. And I guarantee if next gen Sony comes out and says, yeah, our live service ambition, we're throttling it down, we're gonna put more money back into our single player, I guarantee, of course you have the shit talkers, but once the game's released and it's the big AAA budgets, people will buy it. Just like, you'll shit talk about it. Oh, Sony sucks, you didn't do the multiplayer. Then all of a sudden they're buying the next big AAA single player game. That's just how it is. Again, sometimes, Ben Franklin has a bigger voice than podcast mic or a Twitter feed. Ben Franklin has the
They
final
talk
say.
bullshit walk.
Exactly. Ben Franklin has the final say. People can say, oh, Sony sucks, whatever. They're failed. I can't stand this company. Next thing you know, they're buying every single AAA single player title that Sony's releasing. So what's the point of crying on the airwave or on Twitter? You're speaking with your wallet. You're showing what Sony's actually doing, right? All these multiplayer guys, oh man, Sony needs more multiplayer. The biggest critics didn't buy Concord. Why? Oh, because his excuses, reason, blah, blah, blah. It's a Sony multiplayer game. That's what you wanted. They made it. Go after it. Nope. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, come on, this is absolutely ridiculous then. At the end of the day, we know what we really want. We know what the money goes towards. We know what mostly people buy. Sony's good at it. They were very successful with the PS4, right? It is what it is.
And the
Right.
the I really wish people would pay more attention to. I don't know. Like I know you were just talking about Sony AAA first party games, but the subject we've been on, just like my mind is still spinning on it right now. There's a game, if you guys have heard of it, called Tainted Grail. Have you heard of that?
No.
Tainted Grail. Look it up. It is basically being called an indie Skyrim. It's got a similar scope to Skyrim, and if you like Skyrim, like I have it in my wish list. I haven't bought it yet, but I know a few people who have played it and said it's freaking excellent. And it's like it's surprisingly super high quality to be an indie game. And if you look at it, like it's I don't know what magic they pulled off, but I would like to recommend everybody check that out because it is an excellent looking game. And again, you're on a budget. I don't know what it is in US, but in Canadian, it's $57.99, which is probably somewhere in the 40-ish dollar range. So it's not even expensive. And the game is getting glowing feedback.
Oh.
Treasure trove of games, dude. There's more stuff out there than we can consume, and it's good stuff.
Mm.
I sent you something on the Twitters just to finish up on this point with Bjork.
Okay.
But yeah, Roman, listen, I agree with you, yeah? I fully agree with you. And what I'm going to send is going to be proof of that because if you take a look at my favorite game of all time right now, right? Clear Obscure,
Yeah.
which by the way, Hero Down Under said it was his favorite gaming experience of the last 44 years. So when I tell you
Wow.
people that's a top 5 gaming experience, like so you're gonna stop, like, don't play with my name. Over here, you can see that they're celebrating 3.3 million copies after, ironically, 33 days on the market, which is fantastic. This is great for them. This is way more than they ever expected, right? I'm not going
Yes.
to downplay their success. But what I'm going to tell you is that when you tell the industry, okay, when you tell the industry to follow this so they can only sell 3 million copies in
Yeah.
33 days, like imagine Square Enix. Like, yo, Square Enix sells this in a week, and they're like, that was such a disappointing title. Horrible reception. We
That's
will
not a
never
lie.
work with
Because
PlayStation
they sold 3
exclusively
million
again.
in a week and they weren't happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
remember that Clear Obscure is on all platforms, maybe except for the Switch, but it's on all
Yeah.
platforms, right? Right.
Except for
And
Switch.
Okay.
when you think about, people talk
PC,
about
Xbox,
attachment rate.
PlayStation.
Exactly.
I have a
When you think-
question though. I have a question on that. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, go ahead.
What if you had a platform like Sony that did a Clair Obscure, or even if it
Yep.
was a third party and they did a Clair Obscure type of thing, but with more marketing dollars behind it? Do you think
I'm gonna tell
maybe
you
it might
this. So,
sell more?
no. So here's the problem. Here's the problem. And I think we talked about this to extreme. Depending on who makes the game, there will be a different conversation. Like let's say if Santa Monica made Claire Obscure, people will nitpick it because it's Santa Monica or Naughty Dog. God forbid Naughty Dog makes this game and it's turn-based. God forbid Naughty Dog makes this same exact game and it's turn-based, they will get destroyed. They will absolutely get destroyed. People will tear them the fuck up. They will call them lazy gameplay. They would just get
Pull
ate the
out the
fuck
white
up.
glove
And
and
you
check
know, and all the
restrictions.
little details and animations will get
Yeah.
destroyed. Everything about the game
Yeah.
will get destroyed because it's Naughty Dog. People expect a Naughty Dog
Yeah.
level game, right? In terms of animation, technical work, all that stuff, gameplay. Naughty Dog would not be allowed to make this game. They would not. They would not. This game will be totally viewed, right? But because it's a new studio, and I'm not taking away from the new studio, but because it's a new studio, they get a fresh start, they get a fresh image, and they created a great
Yeah.
game. But Rockstar making this game, get the fuck out of here. People will tear Rockstar up for this game. Tear them up. They will tear. Square Enix, I think, would probably get tear up for this game. Square Enix would probably get tore up for this game. It's just, I firmly believe, depending on who you are and what reputation you establish, will dictate the type of games you can and can't make and stuff like that, or how harsh or how unharshly you will be criticized for certain games and stuff like that. Again, Final Fantasy 16, right? Well-developed game, whatever, sold 3 million the first week on the PlayStation 5 alone. It didn't meet expectations.
Okay, so I got another
I
question
just
on
want to
that.
answer your question that you just
Oh,
asked directly because we're talking about marketing budget and if this would have helped, right? If they had a marketing, like AAA marketing level budget behind it, listen, they will get the chance. This game is heading to the Game of the Year nomination. It is
oh yeah,
assured, it is guaranteed. And that thing is going to see more than 100 million eyeballs, okay? Because that's the numbers that they pull now at the Game
yeah,
of the
that's
Year for Jeff
true.
Keighley's show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Listen, it's going to be there. It's going to be highlighted in multiple categories because it is that quality of a game.
Mhm.
And guess what? Even if it wins Game of the Year, since GTA 6 vacated the spot now and it has a real chance of winning, even if it wins,
Yeah.
it is not going to sell 20 million copies thereafter, even though that would be the largest marketing experience any game could ask for. And you know this because it happened with Astrobot. It just happened. It won Game of the Year.
yeah. That's true. That is very
And it got
true.
seen by 100 million people, right? And they didn't buy it. That's the thing. Gamers are hypocrites.
You're right. As much
Here's
as
another thing.
it makes me want to punch a wall, but you're absolutely
Here's
right.
another point, right? If it did receive the marketing level of a AAA game, now it costs like a AAA game. At that point, 3.3 million is not enough.
Yeah, marketing is actually one of the highest costs. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough now. Now it's like didn't meet expectation. If you give it that level of budget, the reason why this game is doing great because it probably far exceeded what they cost to make the game versus what they thought was going to sell. They probably were looking at 1 million, maybe tops. Right?
Because
Maybe
they put it on Game Pass. Game
tops.
Pass
Yeah,
is
they
a
put on
sign
Game
that you didn't
Pass,
even think
so
of
they
it.
probably weren't.
You mentioning it on Game Pass is another thing that has me scratching
Yeah.
my head. It's there. It's literally
Yeah.
right there. All you have
Yeah.
to do is click download.
Yeah.
It's right there.
That's
And it's
weird,
on PC
right?
Game
The
Pass
most
as well.
players were on PlayStation,
And it's
Yeah.
on PC Game Pass.
and
So
it's on
you see,
PC Game Pass.
like again, this is it. People, even if you make it as easy as possible, and we already talked about the Game Pass thing, right? South of Midnight is on Game Pass. Nothing about it.
Dude,
The
that game
Oblivion.
is phenomenal. And
This is what I'm telling you. These people are all lies and him. Listen, when you go on the podcast and you hear a person say this, gamers want small experiences, AAA games, pure passion projects. Tell them to shut the fuck up because they don't. They
yeah,
don't.
Mhm.
They say that they do, and maybe that person does. Maybe he's honest. But gamers as a whole, they don't. Listen, they just don't want it.
you know, and the thing that trips me out is, okay, everybody's in an uproar right now because of games going up to $80 US. Like, okay, so I I was nonplussed. Like when I heard that games were going up to $80, I was just like, okay, you know, that sucks. Like, you know, it's
Are
I
you
don't
already paying
want prices
$80?
to go up. Dude, no, I'm already
In
paying
Canada,
$89.99 plus tax. I paid that for
yeah.
Returnal because, and
Mhm.
I know your feelings on Returnal, P Rock. Like Returnal is still like,
I
well,
love
I haven't,
Returnal.
I have Clear Obscure, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't say it yet. But
You haven't played
Returnal
Returnal.
so far is my
So
game
he
of
hasn't
the
Oh,
played Clear
generation.
Obscure.
oh,
He hasn't
Obscure. You
played
haven't
Clear
played
Obscure.
Obscure.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yo,
So
Returnal's amazing.
yeah, yeah, Returnal is my game of the generation so far. Still,
Mm.
I love it that much, right? I paid $89.99 plus
Well
tax for
refined
that.
taste. You have well refined taste.
Ratchet and Clank, yeah, Ratchet and Clank, like all of those, right? So when the games went up to $80, I'm like, okay, so $80 US is roughly about 110 something Canadian. Okay, so they've priced me out. What they priced me out is they priced me
Yeah,
out
once
at
you hit
launch.
triple digits, all right.
Well, they priced
Triple
me out. They
digits.
priced me out
Yeah,
at launch, and I'm not a
yeah,
FOMO person. So
yeah.
in 3, 4, 6 months, a year, when I can afford the game, then I'll play it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm not
absolutely.
screwed because I'm not a Nintendo only player because their games don't go on sale. So because I
Yeah,
play on
Oh man.
platforms where games go on sale, and I'm like,
Mm.
okay, they priced me out. Now I gotta wait, and I'll just wait.
Mhm.
And in 6 months, when I can afford it, then I get it. And that's
and
how it works.
that is exactly right. This is the exact same reason I can't get angry at $80 games, except for Nintendo. But I
Yeah.
can't get angry at $80 games, for the exact same reason that you just said. It goes on sale eventually. And
Yeah.
I've always said this: gaming is the only hobby where waiting gets you a better product at a cheaper
Yep.
price. You
Yep.
know?
I agree with that statement,
100%.
especially with Square
Yeah.
Enix games. Like it's better to
Oh
wait
my
for
god.
Square Enix
Oh
because
my
then they
god.
add all
Oh
the
Every year.
yeah.
updates, the
Yeah.
better frame rate modes.
The
Like
DLC.
The
So you don't have to
DLC.
relearn the game because the gameplay
Yeah.
systems are so
Imagine,
deep.
Yeah.
imagine somebody who bought Ghost of Tsushima right now. They're getting it cheaper and with the Iki Island expansion.
Yep.
True point.
And the
True
PS5
point.
upgrades. And if they're on the PS5 Pro, they get those benefits too. You know?
Yeah.
But here's the
Good
thing,
point.
Roman, like
Yeah.
what you said before, Clear Obscure is about to unseat Returnal as your favorite game. You're welcome. You've
Oh
already
man,
bought
here we
it.
go.
Go ahead and play it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I actually had planned to play it, but I'm not in an emotional spot right now where I can play it because I've been through some shit recently. So
Nah,
I'm
man, I
probably
get it,
gonna
man.
I'm probably
All right.
gonna fire it up like in July maybe.
All right.
I
Yeah,
need a
man,
little
take
more
your time
time.
because that shit is emotional as fuck. It
All
is.
right.
It can
All
be
right.
confronting.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
no,
Jenna
I
Hayes.
lost my dog and cat in the span of
Oh, I'm
5
so.
days apart. So
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Wow, that sucks.
so we've been going through it. So yeah, I gotta
Oh,
wait on Clear Obscure for a while.
I'm sorry
I
to
I'm
hear
sorry,
that,
appreciate it.
though.
man. I
That
understand.
sucks. Oh man,
Yeah, I
that
appreciate it.
sucks.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was pretty rough.
Hmm. Jenna Hayes, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. All Hispanic and Latin gamers, make sure you buy Mind's Eye. Support positive representation of Hispanic and Latin characters in video games. Buy it, P Rock. I had no idea Mind's Eye had Hispanic cast of characters.
Mind's
I gotta
Eye?
look.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
Mind's Eye.
interested in that.
I'm interested. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see my Latino culture in games. You understand what I'm saying?
Follow, if you play
I,
Man's Eye before
I,
Clear Obscure, I will
but
fly to
listen,
your house and
listen.
slap
If
you.
if my Latin with my Latin peoples in it, I gotta support my Latin peoples. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my
We are
god, I
seriously on the.
swear.
All we got is Spider Man. All right, Miles Morales.
If
That's it.
if you play that game
Okay,
before Clear
I'm
Obscure,
gonna.
I'm
That's
going
it.
to
I'm there
hate
day
you.
one, bro. Especially if the character yells "puñeta" in the game. I'm there.
I'm
Oh,
gonna hate you.
all
I
right.
want you to know.
So let me add on to the salt. Like if we didn't beat down Sony enough in their multiplayer strategy, I got more. Like I got more cowbells. So apparently, apparently, according to once again, on the Sacred Symbol podcast, that Sony has pulled the paid marketing plans for the game over the next couple of months, which which potentially could mean that the game most likely is going to get delayed. Let me click on the actual article. It says report marathon delay likely as Sony cancels all paid marketing plans. Bungie's marathon is likely to be delayed as a new report claims Sony has now canceled all paid marketing plans. Bungie's upcoming shooter marathon just can't seem to catch a break. What started as a highly anticipated closed alpha test has hit roadblock after roadblock, leaving fans wondering if the game will actually see the light of day this year. First, the studio was rocked by an art theft scandal when it was revealed that some of the marathon's promotional materials and in-game art were directly copied from an indie artist's work, Anti-Real. Bungie quickly apologized and promised to review all assets, but the damage was already done. Following the whole art theft controversy, several reports have now painted a petty, troubling picture of what's happening behind the scenes at Bungie. Multiple sources say morale among the developers is in free fall, with many team members feeling frustrated by leadership decisions and the overall direction of the project. Some have even gone as far as calling Marathon's leadership toxic and humiliating to work with, saying that warnings about focusing only on PvP were brought up early on but were completely ignored by higher ups. On top of that, and I think you talked about that. Like, why not
Yeah,
focus on PvE, which is what seems to be the successful formula?
I've been
So,
pointing the right way the whole time. I'm
yeah,
like
but
the
it looks like
Statue of
these
Liberty.
developers were the same thing.
Yep.
PvE, all right. On top of that, another report claimed that after the mixed reaction to the closed alpha, Bungie pushed back its marketing and pre-order plans that were supposed to go live in June, and the big open beta was replaced with public playtest. Sony
So,
reportedly cancels all paid marketing for Marathon delay incoming. A new report claims that Sony has canceled all paid marketing plans for Marathon. This information comes from Colin Moriarty, who shared the news in the latest paywalled episode of Sacred Symbols podcast. This reportedly came from someone familiar with the marketing efforts in the overseas market and is considered a fairly unusual move for a game of this high profile. This is a quote. I was told by someone familiar with marketing plans in the key overseas market that there are now no plans to paid marketing for Marathon at all. Moriarty said during the podcast, I don't know if those plans were affected by what has recently happened or if that was always a plan or whatever, but it is considered a fairly unusual move for a game of this high profile. With everything going on, the art plagiarism controversy mixed to negative feedback from the closed alpha, and now no paid marketing plans for Sony, it's hard not to see a delay on the horizon. Pushing forward with the planned September 23 launch could honestly make things even worse for Bungie and Marathon. So like I said, bad, and I just added more fuel to the fire here. But
First of all,
even Bungie.
can
Now,
I
here's the
just
thing
say,
this is the big thing, right?
yeah,
Bungie, right? This is what really looks bad in this live service strategy because, all right, Haven flop, Concord flop. But this is a studio Sony spent $3.6 billion, and $1 billion of it was for the expertise. This is supposed to be the studio to get your shit going. Like, this is the studio that's supposed to be like, this is supposed to be your Michael Jordan that you drafted to get your championships going. Like, this is supposed to be the studio that's like, hey, Sony, we got you. We're going to fix all your shit. Not only have they not helped any other studio, right? Because Helldivers is the only one that actually done something. They can't even help themselves, right? Now, I noticed some of the feedback PlayStation gamers have on, social media saying, oh, man, I can't wait till Sony takes over Bungie. Bungie's so screwed up. But I'm like, even if Sony did take over Bungie, what are they going to do? Bungie's supposed to be the expert. Sony don't have the expertise. They paid $3.6 billion for them to be the expert. So Sony takes over. What do we have? What are we left with? Sony doesn't have the expertise. Sure, they probably have expertise not to be assholes, but other than that, the whole point of Bungie was for the expertise, to get the live service game going, to influence and all that stuff. I think so far the best thing they've done, and I agree with Extreme, is, they help Naughty Dog formulate and realize, yeah, we're not doing this. That's the best move. That's $3.6 billion of what we got out of Bungie. Making sure that Naughty Dog stays a first-party studio. But he says worth it. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if Bungie themselves are having issues to the point where Sony takes over, we're back at square nothing because Bungie doesn't Sony doesn't have the skills for live service. It was supposed to be Bungie.
The people under the leadership know the expertise. They know the games. They are the ones that didn't want Destiny 2 to turn into a monetization hell. But it's the people at the very top that decided that they needed another Ferrari, that decided to milk it to death. So I agree that they should cut the head of the snake, okay, and then from there put on a new head that is going to actually let the body work what it can do. But to me, I don't really care. I don't really care about the fact that they spent all this money. That's a corporation. They took a loss, whatever. What I care about is that these people are little thieves then, and they've stolen from yet again another young artist, right? Another small artist. Can I just say how evil that is? Do you know how evil it is to be an artist and to be struggling with your art, and then finally someone sees it and validates it, but then instead of just working with you or bringing you on board or just paying you for your work, they steal it. Do you know how unfair that is? And you have no recourse, right? Because unless you happen to be from like a royal family, you can't take on an organization that can pull up lawyers whenever they want, right? Like, it is such an evil thing for them to have done. And apparently this isn't the first time in this little Thieves Guild. So fuck them. Fuck Bungie. How can you steal from a small little artist? You are supposed to be artists yourselves. You know how much it means to get an opportunity. You know that the difference between a successful artist and an artist that never makes it in life could be just one moment when one person saw one work and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to invest in this. And that could start up like that could spring your entire career. That could be like 50 years worth of loving your art, enjoying your art, making money from your art, and literally just living your dream. But no, and it just like how selfish, how evil, how truly evil to literally, and it wasn't just a little bit. It wasn't just like, oh, it was the entire language style. And the neon green, that is the signature color, comes from this person's work. And when I was analyzing the art style in my video the first time, I was like, these people don't understand any visual language in this world. it does. I was like, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing consistent about this. And then when I found out that they stole it completely wholesale from somebody else, I'm like, well, there it is. That explains it. It was never yours to begin with. So no wonder you never understood the visual language of the art style. Because I looked at it and I was like, it doesn't make any sense for these colors to be on these surfaces. How would a person use this in the world? It doesn't, and it was all stolen. But that is the true evil. Fuck what like Sony paid for it. They made a mistake. Their corporation, they'll deal with it. I don't care. I'm not an investor, and I don't care about that. But for a corporation the size of Bungie to steal from a little guy, and who knows if this is the only one? Who knows if it's just one person? Right? They could be stealing from artists left and right, artists that may never even realize that the work was stolen from. And that's what they did. Fuck this game. I hope it dies. Just for that, I hope this game dies. Like, fuck this. In fact, whatever. They should even close up shop. Like, why even save them? It is a truly evil thing, and I would never stand for it. And in an era where artists are so terrified of AI coming to steal their job because AI has no empathy and no understanding of what went into the human creation of the process, for other people to steal it? Nah, fuck them, man. Fuck this company. What are we talking about?
Ooh. Tell me how you really feel.
100% of everything you just said, and also thank you.
Okay. Now, Gordo P23 the Super says Sony should just go ahead and take over Bungie. I already said my thoughts. Is Sony like Ramon? What do you think? Like, would this fix Bungie? Like, if Sony takes over, like, what do you think could happen?
Honestly, man, the only way I could
It's like you recommended pizza right now, right? This is pretty much what Sony did.
well, no, it's me recommending pizza if it was still the same Bungie.
Okay.
But no, the only way I could be happy with them taking over Bungie and Bungie still existing as an entity is they round up. Like, I know they said the person who stole the art is no longer there, but I would wager there's some folks still there that stole that art and also the other plagiarism that they've been accused of. If they somehow in a perfect world manage to round them folks up and get rid of them, and then the head of Bungie, who apparently is pretty messed up, if they corrected all of that and got good leadership in there, then maybe I could be okay with Bungie making a comeback. But as things are right now, pretty much what M said is where I sit. And I got nothing for Bungie, honestly. I mean, I got nothing for them. So, for the honest people that work there, I hope that maybe, they find a place at PlayStation or Sony or wherever where they can continue to have employment and continue to work, because, they weren't, if you got the animator who's in there doing their job and then they look up and next thing they know, like, somebody stole what? You know what I mean? Like, I hope those people land on their feet, and then, and they, can stay within the company if they choose to. But in general, Bungie, like, I got nothing for Bungie, so that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yo, Ramon, can I just say, if this was the first scandal with plagiarism that they had, maybe we could give them the benefit of the doubt. But how
Yeah.
have you been through this before? And then the people at the top didn't
Yeah, I
go, okay,
heard.
let's have
This is the second
verification
time.
processes.
Yeah.
This is, I think it's the
Yeah.
second or the third time. And these are,
Yeah.
again, just the ones we know. So I'm sorry, you get
Who
no
knows?
excuse. You can't
Yeah.
get you do it
Good
twice.
point.
You don't, this
Yeah.
is like a person sexually assaulting a woman and then be like, oh, I didn't know consent. And then it's like, okay, let's send you to counseling. And then you do it again. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, it was, if you no, it's your fault. You're evil. If Sony is going to do something, send these people to jail. That's what I want them to do. Get
Yeah.
rid of them. You fire these
100%.
people. This entire leadership team needs to go, because you should have
Yeah.
had the processes in place after the first time. And again, this isn't just like a small little graffiti thing because that's what they try to portray that on Twitter. I looked at it and I was disgusted. I nearly threw up, because I'm like, you're trying to portray this as if it's a small little thing, and then your primary color, this, you know how Cyberpunk had yellow, and Marathon has this neon green thing. That's literally from this guy. Your entire visual language is from him, and you're over here trying to pretend. Even the fonts that they used were inspired by his work. Like, what are you doing? You are truly evil, and you need to go. All of you need to go. If you're in the executive suite, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if your nephew's not dependent on you and you have no money. You need to go. You fucked it up.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't be stealing from people. And then just like banks, banks will go, they fuck up with people's lives, people lose their homes, and then they get bailed out and they get to keep their yachts. And everybody else has to just be like, okay, I guess we'll figure it out. Like, no. No, I'm sorry. I am sorry to all the artists that are innocent. I'm sorry to all of the techs and the engineers that are just putting their head down and are writing the original code and are doing everything right. But your leadership is fucked. And you need to either get them out or you need to all go with them. Because we can't just keep like what happens then when Ubisoft sees them get away with it and they're like, okay, well, we'll steal from artists. What happens when EA decides to steal from artists? Because people just do not want to just be like, no, this too much is enough. Like, no, it's like at the end of the day, artists, this is our life work. This is our lifeblood. We put our souls into the things we create. Like, it's not just a thing we put on paper. Whether you're a writer, a graphic designer, and here's the thing, Roman, like, I'm a photographer, right? I'm not a graphic designer. I looked at the trailer and I was like, this makes no visual sense. Like, I have a video on my channel where I keep wailing on this art style because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Where is this coming from? There's no logic to this. So I could tell something was off. But the people at the top, at Bungie, that saw it develop every single day, they couldn't tell. They couldn't look at it and be like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on here? There is something amiss. They had no intuition, no hunch, nothing. Well, then you just shit at your job, which means, again, you need to fucking go.
Yeah.
Fuck these people, man. This isn't the first time. It's not your first rodeo. Listen, Sony completely fucked up with buying this team. They completely fucked up.
Yeah, they bought a problem child for
$3.6 billion, definitely worth it to save Naughty Dog, 100%. But it was still a colossal fuck up.
Yeah,
still a colossal fuck up. You should have paid them $36,000 for a day or two to go to Naughty Dog and to look at it and be like, yeah, Naughty Dog, you're about to way more than you can chew. And then you should have just written it off and that's it. Bob was your uncle. But no, you fucked it up. And I honestly, I truly do not care. I do not care about how much Sony paid. They could have spent $36 billion on Bungie. I don't fucking care. I don't even know why they spent $3.6 billion in the first place. $1 billion with a B? Are you serious? For what? For what? Anyways, they fucked it up and they either need to clean up house and make sure that all of the dirt and grime and 99.99% of the germs are taken out like some fucking Ajax spray, or they need to just lose and realize that they just lost all this money and they just cut off the team and it just dies. Because we're not going to have an entity out there the size of Bungie stealing from artists. And again, we don't know where it stops. We don't know where it ends.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Like 100%.
Can we move on?
You said everything that needs to be said.
Dan, tell us how you really feel. So did you guys get the news? So Sony's shutting down their PlayStation Stars program. It says PlayStation Stars coming to a close as SIE evaluates new ways to evolve future loyalty program efforts. Qualifying points redeemable until November 2026. So if you got your points or whatever, you have until November 2026 to cash it in. But it says right here, this is from the Vice President of Network Advertising, Loyalty, and Licensed Merchandise, Grace Chen. At Sony Interactive, we're always experimenting with new and exciting ways to bring our community of players together to share the joys of gaming and create lasting memories. That's why 3 years ago, we created PlayStation Stars, a loyalty program to celebrate our players. The unique program includes playing games to earn rewards, including our unique digital collectibles that pay homage to incredible games and our PlayStation legacy. The program has helped foster a deeper connection with fans around the world. Since launching the program, we learned a lot from evaluating the types of activities our players respond best to, and as a company, we are always evolving with player and industry trends. Through this evaluation, we have decided to refocus our efforts and will be winding down the current version of PlayStation Stars. We will continue to evaluate our key findings from this program, and we are looking into ways to build upon these learnings. Here are some key things to know as these changes take place. Starting today, PlayStation Stars will no longer accept new members for this version of the program. If members choose to cancel the PlayStation Star membership today, it will not be possible to rejoin this version of the program, and members will lose all earned points. Current PlayStation Star members can still earn digital collectibles, points, and level up their status until July 23rd, 2025, blah, 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 time. After this date, there will be no new PlayStation Star campaigns available or any additional rewards or status benefits to earn. This version of the PlayStation Star program will fully end on November 2nd, 2026, and current PlayStation Star members can continue to redeem points as long as their points don't expire before then. We also want to let you know that PlayStation Star members can still access the digital collectibles even after these changes take place. We want to thank all of our players for supporting PlayStation Stars since the launch of 2022 as we explore new ways to evolve our loyalty program efforts for the future. We will continue to celebrate all of our players through the various communities activities we have planned. The program we create are all inspired by you, and we look forward to bringing the compelling new experiences for many generations to come. So, here's my thoughts. I call bullshit on the loyalty program being based around the consumer, whatever. Here's the thing. All loyalty programs are designed for one thing, to get you to continue to buy more shit, right? And make you think you're getting some type of reward for it. My favorite loyalty programs, and to explain this to people, my favorite loyalty programs in terms of existence that I find is like the biggest con is credit card. Those are the biggest ones. Those are absolutely the biggest like rewards program that is absolutely fraudulent in everyone. And what I mean by that is this. They'll tell you, oh, you get 2% cash back, with every purchase. Gasoline, whatever, 2% cash back. And everybody's excited. Like, man, I get cash back for for something I'm going to do anyway. That's fantastic. I love it. Oh, yeah, it's great. I want to do it, right? So you go out and you spend like $2,000, right? You spend $2,000, right? So you could get back $40 in cashback rewards because that's 2%, $40. So you spend $2,000 to get $40, but that $2,000 is suffering a 15% interest rate. Right? So it's just them fooling. Like the only way it actually works if you buy something for $2,000 and you pay it immediately before the billing cycle. Now you get $40 worth, right? But here's the thing. You're going to force yourself to buy something for $2,000 just so you can get back $40? Like, do you really need one? If you bought something for $2,000 and you're able to pay it back, you're probably not really crying for $40 in cashback returns. You're probably not. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what these loyalty programs is. They give you the illusion that you're getting these great benefits and stuff like that, but you're actually paying more than what you're getting back. They canceled this program because it's the opposite. You are actually getting more. If you actually use the program, which I have, you are actually getting more stuff than what you're giving Sony. Because some of the things to sign up for to get points or whatever, they're absolutely free. Some of the stuff is games you probably already own. So as long as you go in, you keep looking at the PlayStation Stars app and you make sure you're up to date, you can click on stuff. And here's the easy. Like there are games on the list that says, hey, if you play this game, like they'll give you, hey, catch up on some classics, play this game, and you get 50 points. Literally, all you have to do is re-download the game you own, boot up the title screen, and boom, you get the 50 points. You don't have to even actually play the game. So you're collecting 50 points, 100 points, whatever, on games you probably already own. And when you convert all those, you can convert those for $5, $10, $15. So chances are most PlayStation gamers was collecting these $5, $10, $15 rewards and not really buying much content, right? They were just getting the freebies, play this multiplayer, play this single player game, play the story. Another thing it did was people caught up to not pre-ordering games. Because people pre-order games and bought it, and then like a day or two later, oh, if you buy this brand new game, you get 100 reward points, right? 100 points. And you're like, wait a minute. But if I already bought the game, it doesn't apply to me. So some people's like, I'm not going to pre-order the game. I'm going to wait a day or two later, let them come out with the new reward points for buying, give you 100 points for a game I plan to buy anyway. So Sony probably realized, wait a minute, we're giving away more money than actually getting. This is not a good loyalty program, because really the loyalty program isn't really for the customer or the consumer. It's for them. It's to get us to buy more shit and think we're getting some type of reward. When actually we're not. We're spending more money and get very little reward from it. It's just the appearance. That's why I said credit card is my favorite one with the 2% cashback or some crazy shit like that. Because, unless you pay the credit card before the billing cycle, you're losing money because of the 18% or 17% or the 15% interest rate. So your rewards doesn't mean nothing, right? What do you guys think about this?
I will say this. First of all, legally speaking, credit cards are not a scam. Right? We can say that legally they're not a scam. What they are, though, is a honey trap, right?
Good
Because
point.
if these companies really wanted to give you a little bit of cash back for being loyal to them, then they will make these options available on a debit card, right? Because, like you said, the trap is you pay for something out of credit, and for most people, that is because they don't have that money. That's the thing. That's the entire reason to have credit, right? Because credit is just debt. Okay. So there is a Australian newscaster, and he calls credit card debt plastic because that's what it is. It's a plastic that allows you to incur debt, and so that's what it's about. But going back to the conversation with Sony, I also call bullshit because if you were there and you were thinking about all of this wonderful new rewards program that you're going to roll out and that's going to thrill us for generations to come, as you say, why don't you finish having that idea, implement it, and then just tell us that you're going to be swapping one for the other, and then we can see them side by side, and then we can see what is an improvement for us, compared to the last system we've had so far. Because why is it that we are losing this one, and then you're going to take, however long it takes to set up the next one? No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no. Set up the next one, and then let us know that we'll be switching over to this other one. That way we can look at them side by side and be like, this is good or this is bad. I will say this. I was part of PlayStation Stars. I don't think it's a particularly great loyalty program because of what you said, Porto. A lot of it was too manual. Like again, there's a trophy in there was one campaign for completing the platinum trophy in Spider-Man 2. I completed the platinum trophy in Spider-Man 2, but it didn't register. And the reason that I think it didn't register is that I completed it before I ever clicked on the campaign. And even though it's supposed to be retroactive, it really wasn't. Like some things will work retroactively, other things will never work retroactively. So it was way too much effort on the customer side to even take advantage of that. But I'm sure that is by design. Because if they wanted to, they could have made all of it automatic, right? But they didn't because of what you said. You were not putting money in and then giving a little bit of a percentage. You could play games that you were going to play, or you could buy a game, get the rewards for that, and then play the game and then get additional rewards on top of it. So I do think they've cancelled it because of their own bottom line. They didn't want to keep giving quote unquote free money to all of these people that could especially find ways around the system. So no, it is absolutely bullshit. And yeah, they deserve to be called out for it. On the grand scheme of things, out of the three topics that we have today, though, between the multiplayer issues and Bungie's fucking thieves, then scam network that they have going over there, this is my least kind of like passionate issue. So yeah, it's bullshit that are taking it away, but I truly just do not care about this one.
Okay. All right. How about you? Any thoughts, Ramon?
The minute I saw all of the details on PlayStation Stars, I knew its life was
Mhm.
going to be limited because it was too
Mhm.
generous. Because
Yes, it was.
like
Yes.
it was too generous, and because I literally all I did was behave exactly as I already did, and I earned enough to get a free game. And I
Yes.
didn't do anything any different. I bought games
Mhm.
like I usually do. I played games as like I usually do, and within maybe I don't know 6 months or something like that, I had enough for a free game. So I knew its life was limited. Um, I know why it was so generous, and this circles back to why competition is good because they were trying to figure out a way to match the Xbox points system. But then even Xbox they started getting more conservative with the points that you get on their system. So when they did that, I knew that's when I really knew that PlayStation Stars was not long for this world, because I'm like, if Microsoft is finally saying, okay, this is too generous, we need to pull back, I knew that Stars was only a matter of time. So this came as no surprise to me. I also, we can make it unanimous, because I also call bullshit. That whole email that I got, I read it very tongue in cheek, because I knew what that was, but I was already expecting it anyway, so it didn't come as a surprise to me. But yeah, they came out with a rewards program. They were trying to compete. It was too generous. They didn't think it through, or whatever the case may be. And this is the expected outcome. And I suspect if they do bring something else, it will be far less attractive. People will care about it even less than they cared about Stars, which I don't know why anybody wouldn't have cared about Stars, because it was really good while the gravy train was going. But at the end of the day, I think that they're gonna, if they come up with something else, it will be vastly inferior. And then if it requires any kind of participation, there won't be much of it, because it's gonna suck. And then they'll probably get rid of that, and then get rid of it all for good. But yeah, it's it's completely expected. Like,
I
I'm
think you said it. You
honestly,
said from the start it was a very generous system, which
yeah,
not really.
way too
I know it
generous.
sounds stupid, right? Like you would think a loyalty rewards program is supposed to be generous, but it's not. It's designed to just make you spend
No,
more with the
it
illusion
makes you feel
that you're getting
like,
rewarded. Oh,
I'll give
it's
you an example of what you were saying, of how a really hilarious saying. So in Texas, they have this thing called Tax Free Day, and it's twice a year at the start of the school year, where
mm.
basically every purchase that you make that can be considered for school, like clothes, stationery equipment, things like
There's
that,
no
right?
taxes on it.
There's no tax on it. So people would wait, and they would buy like just heaps of clothes on tax free day. But at that time, when I was living there, taxes was only 8.25%. So I'm laughing at people, and they're like, dude, you're not gonna go shopping? I'm like, why would I go shopping? And they're like, but it's tax free day. I'm like, dude, do you know what the taxes is? Like, yeah, it's 8.25%. I'm like, think about that. I'm like, so you're gonna go on tax free day, or you can go to the stores like a couple days later, when the sales for back to school are happening, and it's 30%. Oh man, I didn't think about it like that.
Mhm. So the tax
But
free days there was no sales.
yeah, right. And then some stores that had sales in addition to it, but they were going in a lot of stores where stuff was expensive and they weren't on sale. And they're like, man, I'm stocking up, man. It's tax free. And I'm like, dude, they just got you. So that's what
Tax is only
rewards
8.2.
programs make you
Yeah,
think
tax
of.
is only 8.2%. Just wait
Exactly.
for an
8 point.
actual back to school sale and say 30%.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you know what that's
I see what
like?
you're saying. Hmm.
It reminds me
Yeah.
of duty free. So in
Hmm.
Australia, we have this thing called the tax return scheme or the tax refund scheme, the TIS. And basically, if you buy an item at a normal store, okay, so you're outside of the airport, okay, you can go to the airport, and on your way to the airport, basically, you can go over there, present your item, and be like, "Oh, I bought it to go out of the country, so give me the tax back," and they will give you the tax back. In actuality, you're not supposed to bring back the item with you. It's supposed to be like you bought it for like an overseas mate, a friend, or whatever. So since it does not stay in Australia, it's like unfair for Australia to get a tax on it because it's not going to be in it, whatever it is, right? But
Oh
anyways, people
goodness.
use it as a way to get money back, right? Because they'll buy like a new iPhone, then take it to over there. If they're having an international flight, they get like, if you buy like a $2,000 iPhone, right? Then you get like $200 back, which sounds great, fantastic. But for me, I'm like, okay, this is good, and I can understand in a few scenarios where you can line things up and it can work out in your favor. Even though technically they can repossess the item, they can actually take the item from you if they realize that this is something that you claim back on and then you bought it back. So they use a risk to it, but it's whatever. Right? Most people at the security line, they don't give a fuck what you did, right? Anyways, my thing for me is just like you said, Ramon, eventually that same iPhone is going to be on sale for like 20% off. So for me, I just never really understood the fascination with it.
Let's
That
wait
like,
for
oh
the
my
sale.
god, I can play exactly. Now, if you're a really, really, really smart cookie, you could technically buy it on sale, and because the sale will still have a tax to it, you could then get a discount from that tax from the sale, and then just like double up and triple up, and you can min max it, right? But for me, it just people get so excited about it. They're like, "Yeah, did you take your items to the TIS?" And I'm like, "No,
Dude,
no,
it's all
Like
psychological.
one, I'm not flying nowhere, so I'm not gonna buy a
yeah,
$2,000 ticket to
exactly,
save
Yeah.
just to get out
$200.
to the country.
Like if you
It's
were going to, let's say, England or making a trip, then yeah, you take
Yeah,
advantage of something you're
yeah.
doing anyway. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna buy a
but
flight
it has to
ticket
be bought.
just for the sake.
The
Yeah,
item has to be bought within like a month because it's supposed to
yeah,
be something that you bought for the express
yeah.
purpose of
yeah.
leaving the country. So
Mhm.
it's like you have to line up so many things. It's too much paperwork, and then you have to sign a form and everything. And it's like getting cash back. I hate cash back. Just give me the discount on this point of sale.
Just give
I
it right
fucking hate
now.
cash back.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I understand why people use cashback, by the way. I understand why companies use cashback. I fully get it, but I just hate it. I hate it. It's a
Mhm.
daylight savings. I know why we do it. I just think it's fucking dumb,
Yeah.
because cashback is such a huge issue, man. Like, okay, you buy
Well,
a
that's
new
why they
lens
do
from
it, because
Sony.
it's a pain in the ass.
Mhm.
Exactly, because they
It
don't
is.
want you to get the cashback. They
Got you. Yeah.
literally, and some of them they will send you cashback, but only in a virtual currency. So they'll only be like, "Oh, you get cashback, but as a gift card to our store." That's not cash, mate. In
Yeah.
Australia, they actually had to stop calling it that. If in Australia, I think the ACCC rule that if you call it cashback, you have to literally give like free cash, basically.
Cash. Yeah.
Before they will also send you an F card, and that F card would have cash on it, but you couldn't take it out. So then you had to, use this thing as like a little debit card, for a while. But the thing is, it's annoying to only have like $50 on this card, and you're trying to buy like a $55 item because now you have to do that broadcast thing where you go in line and you're like, "Hey, can I split my payment across 3 different cards because I'm trying to use up all of these things?" Like that was so fucking annoying.
Mhm.
Nowadays, Sony, at least with Sony's cashback, they just send you the money to your account, but it takes 6 weeks. And I'm like, bro, I want this shit now.
By the time you get it, you forgot that it sent you
Yeah,
I'm
you're
cashback.
like, what was I
I'm,
gonna use this on again? But no,
I'm just
it's
like,
all
yo.
psychological. It's all
You got like
psychological.
six
It's
dollars
like the
6 weeks
whole
later.
yeah.
And then it's such effort, just such effort. Type in your name, type in your bank account details, get
No.
nothing wrong. Or find the serial number at the back of the box or the back of the little thing, because serial numbers now you need a magnifying glass to have it, and then have proof of like this is your actual thing. So like pull out your hand in the shot with a date in the background. I'm like, bro, do you just want my birth certificate too? Like, just say that this is a data mine. Just say it. I'm okay with it. Just tell me, can I just get it sooner? If I give you everything, if I give you all of my banking passwords, can I get this shit today? I just need this money now.
Mm. Yeah. Shout out to
Oh
Glinzer.
man.
Says sounds like Glinzer with the super chat says sounds like stealing is Bungie's true destiny. Pun intended. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I got something that might excite Ramon, but we'll see. Because I caught something. This article is talking about, PSSR, but I had a question. So let me bring up the article and talk about it. It says right here, PS5 Pro leaked update reveals upgrade for PS3, PS2, and PS1 games. This will be great upgrade for nostalgics on the PS5 Pro. Says according to a new report, PlayStation is working on major updates to the PS5 Pro, including an improvement that should go a long way in upgrading the experience of playing PS3, PS2, PS1, and PSP games on a console. The report comes the way of Moore's Law is dead, a fairly reliable source when it comes to the PS5 Pro specifically, having provided accurate PS5 Pro information in the past before it was revealed. As many PS5 Pro owners will know, PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PISR, as I coined it, is a specific type of upscaling technology Sony designed specifically for the PS5 Pro, though it will certainly be used in the PS6 and beyond. Its design and its aim is to take lower resolution games and upscale them to higher outputs, primarily 4K, all while not sacrificing or loss of visual fidelity. This is one of the big differences between the base PS5 and the PS5 Pro. Right now, in its current form, PSSR on the Pro requires a base resolution of 864p, which means it does not work with games that have a base resolution of 720 or lower, which is is many classic PS3, PS2, PS1, PSP games. Now these games are upscaled on PS5 Pro using more traditional methods, but not via PSSR, which is superior method. AI of that said, AI of that said, according to the aforementioned source, Sony's preparing an update to a PS5 Pro pisser that will allow its upscale these lower resolution games, which in turn means PS3, PS2, PS1, PSP games will look and run better on the PS5 Pro, at least in theory. There have been plenty of issues with pisser since the launch of PS5 Pro, with many games being negatively impacted. This is not so much a problem with the technology as developing for it. To this end, the report also claims Sony is attempting to make it easier to work on the development side. Now, here's my thing. This is where it caught my attention. PS3 games aren't natively ran on PS5. So how would
Bingo.
Pixel work unless they inadvertently, right? Unless without realizing it, they're pretty much saying they're about to get PS3 games to work. Because how does Pixel work on streaming only games? PS3 is streaming only. Or for PlayStation, or for PS3 consoles or whatever they're using. So how does Pixel work for a game that's not running natively on the PS5 Pro unless, without realizing it, they figured out PS3 emulation? And what if they did and it's only on the Pro and not the base PS5?
Well, shout out to Hip Hop Gamer because he's been saying since the beginning of this generation that they've been working on and they were close to a solution for being able to play PS3, previous games, previous generation games on PS5, including PS3. He's been saying that in talking native, not streaming. Of course, I would assume that does not include the disc. All of that said, that if they do figure that out, I will consider that exciting for next generation. The reason I say that is because right now, at this moment, the PS5 Pro up here is $959.99 plus tax. Now after tax,
I'm sorry for laughing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
it's
that is
$1,200
$1,000.
here.
That is $1,000.
$1,200. Come on.
It's how much?
1,200.
1,200. Yeah. Ain't no way.
So don't relax. Okay? You don't got it like that. You're not very as bad as
What's
us.
the average rent cost in Australia?
Oh my god, it's probably
because I needed to
$400 a week.
gauge. You pay rent by week?
No. We play usually by month, but we say it by week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 400 a
So
week.
it's like $1,600 a month.
So the reason why I say that because it gives me the gauge of
like double up here.
But the reason why I say that is because like a PS5 Pro is almost the equivalent of 1 month's rent.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like for example, the PS5 Pro here is $700, but my rent is $2,300. So you can see the huge stark difference in pricing.
Yeah,
but your shit is almost a month's worth of rent. That's wild.
Crazy.
That's
to be fair, this is very outer suburbs. So if you go closer to the inner city, you're going to see that you're going to be paying prices that make your eyes bleed.
But even then, like imagine a son or a kid asking, "Dad, I want the PS5 Pro," and he goes, "How much it costs? $200." That kid will get slapped. He'd be like, "Are you nuts?
You better take this vanilla. You better take this vanilla PS5."
No. But to be fair, here's the thing.
Rent, boy.
Here's the thing. If that kid is at 14 years and older, right, which we can work in Australia legally at 14 years and 9 months. That's where you can
14?
start working. Yeah, 14 years and 9 months. Our minimum wage at that time is like $12 something because we have a fairly high minimum wage.
That's pretty good.
So that kid can get a job and get it pretty quickly. So
that's crazy. Yeah. You got 14-year-olds in Australia making more monies than grown ass adults in America.
Oh, your minimum wage sucks in America. I don't even know.
Wild.
I don't even.
Yeah. Minimum wage in the U.S. is insane, dude.
Wow, that's wild.
Up here, the cost of living is damn near impossible. But minimum wage is like 20.
Really?
20? I think it's like 20, like 18 or 20, something like that.
I think the highest is like in New York and California. I think the highest is like in New York, California. I think the minimum wage is $15.50 in California. Around the same
Yeah,
in,
for the
Okay,
in New
States,
York.
so for Australia, for a 17-year-old, which I assume is at 14 to 17, is $14.51 minimum wage.
Do they go by
But
age?
I think yes, at different
Oh
ages you
wow,
get minimum wage.
interesting.
I think 18 years
Mm.
and older is $24 per hour. I have to double check that fairly. Yeah, 21 years and older, $24 per hour.
Yo, that is wild. That is wild. Well,
Yeah.
somebody says Seattle is $20.75 for Seattle. So the thing about the
Oh
United
wow.
States is it's not. So I'm assuming yours is for all of Australia as a
Yes,
country.
federal. Yeah, because
It's
Yeah.
federal. Yeah.
we make sense. Because we're a nation. We remember that. Yeah, we're a nation. You guys, your federal government is the biggest puss-ass, weak-ass thing. How do you lose to the states? That makes no fucking sense. It's supposed to be the United States. Like Canada works the same, right? Like Canada has a
Yeah.
real federal government that actually says federal law for the entire nation,
But
right?
Yeah. I mean,
Every
it
other
does.
country
There
on
are
earth
provincial.
works like that.
to be
There are
fair,
provincial.
the
No,
United
there's
States.
always provincial things that are
no,
particular, but not big,
remember,
important things.
but remember,
Yeah, that's
United.
federal.
Remember,
Yeah.
the United States wasn't formed as a country. It was individual states that fought.
No.
But
Stop with this exceptionalism. No country
it's
was
not
formed as a country.
exceptionalism. No,
It is
it's not.
exceptionalism. Almost
No.
Australia wasn't formed as a country.
I don't know what you. No, what I'm saying is when
There
they
you go.
fought for rights,
You're not special. Almost
Okay.
every nation formed the same
Okay.
way.
yes,
All of them
but
were like kingdoms and disparate villages that didn't like each other.
No, but what I'm saying is each colony, right? The 13 states, they decided to fight together, but they decided to maintain the identity of the colonies. They didn't want an overall federal government to completely rule over. That's why each state has their own constitution, right?
No, everybody
So the only thing
wanted this.
the only
Again,
thing they agreed.
I
Listen,
get that.
no, the only thing they agreed was to have a federal constitution with limited power at the federal level. So the federal power is literally what the Constitution says you can do. Right? So the Constitution does not give the federal government the ability to say this is the federal minimum wage. They don't have that power because the
But listen,
Constitution
that's
says it's not
dumb.
resting there.
That's dumb because you need a federal.
Okay.
If you need a federal government that actually has federal level powers, every
Okay.
other nation figured that out. And remember, this thing again.
But does,
Like I love
but
that
in line with the
Americans are
Constitution.
so in love with their constitution that they are like, "Oh my God, we're the only ones." No, every nation has a constitution, and that's what the amendments are there for.
Okay,
I fucking amend it. You should think you have to do.
Yeah, I think the reason
fathers were like,
no, but
"Nah,
no,
we
but
can't
here's the
get
thing.
everything right."
But in order to amend it, you have to get 3/4 of the states to agree. So
so agree.
No, but listen. Let's say I'll give you an example. Missouri is not going to agree to a $20 minimum wage because their economy is not built for that high.
No. But here's the thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a real federal government, you flow the money better between the states. That's what we do. Do you think Western Australia or the Northern Territory makes as much money as Melbourne or Sydney? Of course not. But yet the federal wage applies there. So what do you think we do? Every other nation, like I love the way Americans always talk like, "Oh no, but if you did this," it's like, "Yeah, nigga, everywhere in the world it works like that." Yeah, everywhere in the world there are states and territories in that place that do not have the economic like power to sustain the federal law. And so what do? They just work it out. They just literally give more funds to the people that need it so that all of us can do it. Because we're all supposed to go to the club together. If you can't pay to enter, we're gonna chip in and pay for you to come with us. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
It's like we're trying to get in the club together. We're in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Like, bro, every nation works like that. Whether it's France or Canada. No, yo, Ramon, you're from Canada. Are there no provinces in Canada that are relatively poor compared to like a Vancouver or like any of the other famous ones that get all the tourists and all the education and all the international students? Of course. To do what your federal government does, they spread the money around. They understand that. A state made up by a bunch of farmers isn't going to beat California with Silicon Valley in it. So Silicon Valley just gives more of the money away. And then that state can also sustain a livable... Because the funny thing is that to the person buying the thing at the groceries, yeah, their prices are still elevated. You know, like the price of eggs in Missouri is not necessarily going to be like a third of the price of it in other places. So it's like they do still need a livable wage, even if they happen to live over there. It's crazy that it's like state lottery. You're supposed to be the wealthiest nation on earth, and yet if you're born in the wrong state, your federal wage is going to be like $5. How are you supposed to live on that?
No. So we do have a federal minimum wage, but it applies to federal employment, regardless of what
So it
state
doesn't
you're
even
in.
apply to them. Oh, that's
No,
crazy.
yeah, it
That's
doesn't.
insane.
So federal minimum wage doesn't apply to the states. It applies to federal jobs.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what
Yeah.
state you're in. Yeah.
Yeah.
The state wages define the minimum
Okay.
wage.
And that's what
States
they're.
decide. Yeah.
But
Federal
then
wages
does the
apply.
state
So
regulate the
federal minimum
rent
wage
and the
applies
prices
no
of
matter where you
groceries?
live. You know, so
Yeah.
like federal. No, but that's another thing. Believe it or not, prices of groceries in California are more expensive than prices of groceries, let's say, in North Carolina. Like literally for the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
product. Like it's
Okay.
it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like you go, let's say for example, gas. I'm paying $5 a gallon in gas. Yeah, in North Carolina, my daughter pays like $2.80.
Damn. Oh, that's a.
So
Oh
yeah,
my
so
god.
there is cost of living differences between states as well. You understand what
Which
I'm
is the
saying?
same.
That's
You know,
Canada.
insane.
like
Canada is the
I'll
same
give
in
you an
that
example.
regard
I
too.
have a 6-bedroom house in North Carolina. My mortgage is
Yeah.
$1,500. I got this 2-bedroom piece of shit that's the size of my garage. I'm paying $2,300 in California.
But to be fair, I understand
I'm
that
gonna be in
because
my
that's about supply and demand. That's
yeah.
like a supply and
It's
demand
just
thing. I
different.
can
Yeah,
understand that part, right?
yeah.
But the thing is, if you don't have like a federal government to sort of equalize the field, then eventually the person living in a state that has lower economic output just loses out. Because
Mhm,
the thing with you
mhm.
is that they assume living in California or whatever, you are able to get high paying jobs and access to
Mm.
people with more money around. Like if you do like a side gig project, you're like a dog
Yeah,
sitter or something.
yeah,
There's people have more economic
yeah,
capacity to support your
yeah.
business, right? So then you can make things work. But the thing is that on a standard level, you know, and also to stop companies from taking advantage of you, because guess what? KFC has to pay the federal minimum wage in Australia because you know it's not just federal government
Yeah,
thing; it's
yeah.
an actual thing that every
It's
employer
minimum
has
wage
to
for the
do.
country. It's minimum wage for the country.
Exactly. So that's how our youngsters can get started and start earning, you know, a decent amount of money without having to rely on their parents or whatever. But the thing is, that can only happen if your federal government can actually do federal government things, you know.
Mhm,
And guess what? I don't care how your constitution started. Every constitution in the planet can be amended.
mhm,
Amend
mhm.
yours. Fix it.
Yeah. But I don't think it's people. I don't think the states want to give the federal government the power to determine state wages.
They should just
Nope.
be declared as traitors. Because that's what you are. If you're
So,
stopping the nation from going forward, that's treachery. That's literally treason. The
Yeah,
fuck?
that's slippery slope. Consider what's going on right now. That's a slippery slope.
Oh,
No, it is. It
oh man.
is treason. It
Oh,
is
man.
treason. Like, are you
Is it?
serious? Like, so you're saying that the people are at the mercy of not only the states, but then also the companies within that state. Because then, if
Yes.
the federal law does apply to the companies, does the state law apply to them?
Yes. No. So okay. So I'll give you an example. The federal minimum wage. What's the federal minimum wage? I don't even fucking know what's the federal minimum wage.
Hey, P-Rock,
is.
sorry. I just got to interrupt real quick. I gotta
Okay.
burn off. I gotta get ready for work and everything. Hey,
Okay.
yo, as always, thanks for having me. It's always been a pleasure. P-Rock, it's a pleasure. Chat, it's a pleasure. All of you guys, stay blessed. We're blessed. We got this hobby. Enjoy your games. Broaden your horizon on these games. And, man, enjoy life as best you can. You guys have a good night. And thanks for having me.
Thank
Okay.
you, man.
All right. All right. Let me see. What's the federal minimum wage? U.S. federal minimum wage. I'll give you an example. U.S. federal
Like $3.25.
minimum wage. No, it's actually higher. What is it? Okay, no, you weren't that far. So the federal minimum wage in the United States for federal is $7.25 per hour.
Oof.
$7.25 per hour. Okay.
Oof.
Now, okay, so that's the federal minimum wage. Now in New York, the minimum wage for New York is $16.50. So the state has a
Now,
higher now. So if you're a business in New York, you have to abide by the state minimum wage, which is $16.50 an hour. Okay.
okay.
But if you're a federal job in New York, right? minimum wage is $7.25. New York
Hold
can't
on, hold on,
override
hold
that.
on, hold on, hold on. The post office is a federal entity, right?
Yes. So technically, if they wanted to, they don't pay a minimum wage. But if they wanted to say minimum wage for a post office would be $7.25 in New York.
That's after 40 hours. That's $290 per
See?
week
Now,
before
granted,
tax.
they get paid way more than that, right? They get paid way more than that. Like a lot
But
of
then
federal
what's
jobs.
the point of having the
Okay.
floor so low and just be like, oh, because then how do you argue for a better, like a higher raise? Because the person will be like, listen, your floor is down here at $7.25, and we're
Yeah.
paying you $16, right? So even if you feel that you're worth like $24 an hour, it's very hard for you to argue for that because the floor is so far below you. They can just threaten you with that. They can be like, well, you don't like being paid $16 an hour. We could pay you $7.25 instead. It's
All right.
harder to make
So
the
yeah,
argument.
no. So I mean, that's a good point. But the federal jobs work is you'll know what you're gonna get paid because all federal jobs they have a pay scale, so it's already
Yeah.
and it's above the
No,
minimum
I know
wage.
that, but how
Yeah, but
do you then argue for more? Because the thing is, inflation goes up, price of living goes up. So, and I'm sure that those scales, I'm sure that they stay pretty static. So if you're like, oh, in
mm,
2009, I was doing very well at $16.25 an hour, and now it's 2025, 16 years later, and I'm still being paid at the same rate, I need to get an upgrade without a promotion. I'm not saying you need to get a promotion to go up. I'm saying you
yeah,
want to do
yeah.
the same job, but you want to get paid more because that's what makes it
No,
livable
yeah,
in your
yeah. So
area.
federal jobs don't work that way. You want to get paid more, you have to get promoted or get into. So they call steps. So there's the natural pay raises that you get within the promotion. They're called
Yeah,
steps. Step one, two,
yeah,
three. So you'll get natural pay raises every 6 months, whatever, whatever. But to get the
yeah.
big earnings, you have to get promoted.
But
You
that's what I
can't just
mean.
be stuck in the same job for
Your
like 30 years.
negotiation power
Yeah,
is very low because here's the thing:
yeah,
if you're being paid minimum wage and you've been there for 30 years, you can argue like, hey, like the 14-year-old started last week and he's being paid as much as me.
yeah,
I do deserve. I have more experience. I bring more to this job. I do deserve to be paid more, even if I'm fulfilling just the same role. It's easier to make that argument when you are
yeah.
there on the ground floor. But if you're going to be like, oh, you're just suspended in the air, we're just paying you out of the goodness of our heart, it's very hard for you to then be like, hey, pay me more. Be more good before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how it is. It's just yeah, but that's just an example. So each of the states will determine minimum wage, and the companies within that state have to follow that,
Oh man.
except for federal jobs. They have to follow
Yeah.
whatever the federal sets. John Baptiste says, I thought, thank you for the super chat. John Baptiste says, I thought PlayStation couldn't do another COD bundle. At this point, I think they're feeling the pressure to pay those investors ASAP. So in their mind, it makes sense to bundle it with the PS5. All right, so to talk about what John Baptiste brought up, and I made a tweet, so we could talk about this. So Sony's doing their days of play weekly sales and stuff like that. $50 off on consoles, controllers, games, whatever. And that's like, everybody made the whole sales on the hardware a big deal because Xbox raised their prices while PlayStation is temporarily dropping the prices, right? So PS5 Pro is $50 off and stuff like that. But within the list, I noticed sales on PlayStation 5 Black Ops 6 bundles. And when I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. There's a Black Ops 6 bundle? I thought Microsoft got rid of that since Sony doesn't have the deal. Why is there a Black Ops 6 bundle? And not only that, why is it on sale? Like, bro, I'm like, what's going on here? So Microsoft's allowing their game, right, to be marketed directly on the console, and it's on sale. That shit is crazy. Shout out to Blaze. What's going on, my brother? Blaze, what do you think about that? Like, are we at the point where Microsoft give no fucks about their hardware? Because, bro,
Yeah.
Black Ops 6 is on bundled again, and it's a sale to get it cheaper. Like, literally, they're saying, get Black Ops 6 on PS5.
You talking about for the Xbox or for the PS5?
No, for the PS, there is no Black Ops bundle for Xbox. It's the PS5. The Black Ops 6 is back. Like, before they took it away because it's now Microsoft, but now it's back. And it's part of the sale this week on the state of whatever sales. So now
you know what it is,
the Black
Piak?
Ops, so PS5 has once again a Call of Duty bundle, and it's on sale.
You know what? They're seeing those numbers that Xbox games are in the top 5, top 10, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it, throw it back.
Man,
That's what's going
put
on.
that shit back. But because here's what I learned. This is what I learned about bundles. So to the consumer, sure, the game is free for you, right? Because if you're gonna buy a $400 console and now they pack in a game, let's say like Call of Duty, and it still costs $400, you save yourself $70, right? So for the consumer, hey, you got you're gonna spend $400 anyway on just a plain console. You might as well get a game with it. So to the consumer, they see that as a thing. But what I didn't know is that bundle, the cost of the game, still goes to whoever made the game.
Right.
So for example, anybody who buys this Call of Duty 6 bundle, Microsoft still gets their 70% cut of the game. It comes out of Sony's side. It comes out of the hardware side. Does that make sense? So, for example,
Right.
Sony's like the Call of Duty 6 bundle, let's say it remains at $400, right? They didn't do a price increase. They said, hey, throw Call of Duty 6 in there, right? Out of the $400, $70, 70% of that still goes to Microsoft. So it still counts as a game sale for Microsoft, even though it's bundled in hardware. Microsoft gets a cut of the game sale. And it comes out of the hardware hide. It comes out of the $400, and I didn't know that. So like Horizon Zero Dawn, people say, "Oh, that don't
That's
count
crazy
because it's packed in." No, Guerrilla still got their game sale out of that hardware. So whether you buy a game packed in, it still counts for the developers and the publisher as a game sale. It comes out of the hardware hide.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That makes
"Oh
sense.
shit, I didn't know that."
And you know what? That might be why Xbox is so reluctant, has been so reluctant this generation to do console bundles. Because they're like, yeah, we're not going to give you this game for less than you would have got it
Yeah,
if
because
you
it comes
bought
out
it
of
directly.
Microsoft's side.
Yeah, because it comes out
bad
their
enough,
pockets, you know?
bad enough, they're already losing. They can't get the console to profitability. Now you expect them to lose more money because of the game?
Yeah.
They're like, fuck that. They're just losing too much money on that one. They're like, hell no, we're not doing these bundles no more. Because the game comes out of the hide of the hardware sale. And I learned that. So Microsoft has no issues putting Call of Duty 6 in the PS5 because every time that console sells, they get their 70% off the game. It just comes out of the hardware hide from Sony. Sony doesn't care because that's just more console sales, so they'll make it back up. They'll make it back up. Yo, Trojan Horse. That shit is hilarious, bro. Yo, Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about Xbox hardware. That shit is crazy.
This I think is it's still a rumor, right? It hasn't come out yet, yeah?
No, I think it's already out. The Days of Play, I think isn't it already out? The let me see.
I don't know.
PlayStation. I think it's already. I
don't want to talk definitively about rumors.
Let me see PlayStation
and insiders.
Deals. Let me put.
But can I just say, what
let me look at the PlayStation Store. Yeah.
Assuming this is true, and they gave Sony a Call of Duty bundle, right? A property that they own, but they didn't even give their own gamers that same bundle. Like, you don't even have, like, why is the bundle exclusive to your competition from your property? That's the disrespect. And listen, that's all it is. It's just disrespectful. If you are an Xbox gamer or if you are a fan of that brand, you have to understand how disrespectful it is. And listen, I speak from experience. I thought Helldivers 2 was extremely disrespectful. You are asking PlayStation gamers to pay for internet, knowing that Steam gamers don't have to do the same. So I said, hey, listen, just exempt Helldivers 2 from the internet requirement. It's your property on your platform. If other people want to say that's not fair, fuck them. They can create a PlayStation then. If EA says, oh, that's not fair, well, then create a console. And then you can exempt yourself from your console. We could need it. But the thing is, I was like, no, there should be an exemption for, and I wasn't saying take away the requirement altogether. I was just saying for this particular title, because it's across both platforms, you have to make it the same. The PlayStation gamer on the PlayStation console playing a PlayStation game shouldn't be penalized compared to a PC gamer on a PC platform playing a PlayStation game. That was my logic there. And I refuse to support the game. I still have never bought Helldivers 2 just because of that issue. Same thing here, people. If Microsoft, that own Call of Duty, are refusing to give you at least the same opportunity as they do the ops, you've got to look at that and be like, that's not right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say you have to boycott it. I'm just saying you've got to look at that and give it a side eye and be like, what the fuck is going on there? Because if you let them get away with it for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, how do you know they're not going to do it for the next Call of Duty when it's brand new on sale?
Yeah, but at this point, the gloves are off, bro. Everything's going. The floodgates are open. It don't even matter. Disrespect is not even on the table anymore. They've been bitch slapped 100 times. At this point, like, they don't give a fuck about their consumers, their console space. They just don't care. And to them, it's all about a dollar sign at the end of the day. It's always been about that. But now when they're seeing PlayStation gamers buy up all these games and they're making all of a sudden, all Forza Horizon went from 49 to the top 10 spots. Like, bro, that's a huge jump. And they're seeing that, I used to say Game Pass wasn't sustainable, but looking at what this model they're doing, I think they'll be all right, because these PlayStation guys are going to keep buying these games. You know what I mean? And I want to critique a little bit of the PlayStation guys, because we used to say, Halo, Gears, and Forza, we'd shit on those games. I'm definitely part of that, right? But dudes are going to buy Gears Award, and it's going to sell really well.
Oh, yes.
So,
and I think out of all the games, that's going to sell the most, because I think the PlayStation guys are more apt to third person than first person.
Third person.
So I can see. And if they go, and if somehow Microsoft sticks with the traditional multiplayer, single player campaign, Gears of War multiplayer, they don't do this live service, or at least they don't go too far to the right. They mix it and they combine it together. I think that will be very attractive. And I think that's a good test case to see, can the old be new again? Right? That'll be an interesting case. Like, do gamers want that back? Now, I'm on the PlayStation blog. I'll put it on the screen, but yep, it is true. So this is straight from the PlayStation blog. Deals directly from PlayStation participating retailers from May 28th to June 11th in select regions. Save on hardware and accessories, including PS5 consoles, DualSense controllers, and more. You can find these offers on directplaystation.com, where available, as well as participating local retailers. Please note that offers and promotion dates may vary by region and retailer. Deals on PS5 console offerings include, in the United States and Canada, PlayStation 5 console, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, digital and standard, will be available starting at $399. Save up to $119 US compared to buying separately. In select regions such as Europe, Asia, PlayStation 5 console digital standards will be on promotion starting at €399. $50 off PlayStation 5 Pro console. There will also be offers for PS5 accessories and games, including $50 off PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation VR 2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle, $30 off Pulse Explore wireless earbuds, $30 off DualSense Edge wireless controller, $20 off Access controller, $20 off DualSense wireless controller. Oh shit! I'm gonna check.
First dot point there. The way they put that first in the United States and Canada, PlayStation 5 console, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That is nasty work.
And they say save up to $120 or $160 Canadian compared to buying separately.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
You can save $120 by buying this bundle.
Listen, I always say this when people are like,
nasty work.
Nasty work. Can I just say, I saw a journalist, one of these people, like air quotes and everything, that said that Sony should put their legacy games on Xbox, because Xbox customers will love it and they will pay for it and they will have just as much success. And I was like, why would they do that? How about they just let Xbox die? Then when those Xbox gamers become PlayStation gamers, then they sell them those same games.
Exactly. They have no choice because there's no Xbox.
So clearly, that's what Sony decided to do. They decided that, hey, you know what? We're gonna let this shit die. But
that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yo, shout out to Gordo P23. Says, bro, giving a bundle to your competitors and not to your own loyal console customers is beyond disrespectful. Even Gordo's like, yo, this is wild. And like, people would be like, hey, where's the Call of Duty bundle for Xbox or something? Nah, you're good. Just buy our overpriced console and get Game Pass. and you'll have Call of Duty.
I mean, you gotta
Wow.
feel some type of way though. Like you gotta feel some type of way. This is crazy, bro.
They got Game Pass, dog. Don't worry about it. It's cool. It's cool. It's great. It's fine. It's fine. They got Game
Like,
Pass.
bro,
Everything's fine.
like
Everything's
I'm
fine.
so sick of
Everything's
that
fine.
excuse and Game Pass. Like that's Xbox is whack. Y'all got trash games. Game Pass is always the
Game
fucking
Pass.
answer for these dudes, bro.
Game Pass. We got
That's
Game. We got
crazy,
Game
bro.
Pass. They got Game Pass. It's good. It's great. It's great. Lots of games. Game Pass. It's free. It's free. Call of Duty's free on Game Pass.
Can you imagine if Doom: The Dark Ages was a console exclusive? I'm not saying that this would sell a gazillion consoles, but dudes are gonna. I feel like, you know what? Like you add that Indiana Jones, like, bro, I'm telling you, I feel like Microsoft.
Well, to be
too
honest,
early.
I'm not so sure about Doom though. Have you seen, like, supposedly Doom hasn't even sold, according to an analytics firm, obviously, so take it with a grain of salt, see how well the research is, but Doom hasn't sold 1 million copies yet.
But
Most
do you
of
know
its players
why?
is because of Game Pass.
Do you know why?
Mm.
It's because
Why?
I told you this. Putting a game on a subscription service devalues it in the eyes of every gamer. This is another thing that people are not noticing, even though I've been saying it for the longest. When you put something on a subscription service, even the person that doesn't have access to that subscription service, they see it as a lesser product. You know, they see it as a direct-to-DVD movie. I'm sure there was some fantastic
Yeah, but
direct-to-DVD.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
you, not to cut you off, bro, but like you see Oblivion, complete opposite effect. There's 300,000+ people playing that shit on Steam day one when it was available on
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Yeah,
So it's
but
like,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, with Oblivion, it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
like
you know what?
Oblivion is
facts,
that thing
facts,
that again it proves to be the opposite of that, but there's a very good reason for that. Oblivion is some people's favorite Elder Scrolls games. Some
of all
people were
time,
like,
yeah.
I didn't like Skyrim all that much. I loved Oblivion.
I
So
think
you
Oblivion's
give
better.
them Oblivion again, and there you go. You know. So that's the thing. But I really do think it has a huge impact. Like, for example, if I told you, oh, you know, go and watch this thing, and you're like, oh, I never heard of this film. And I'm like, yeah, oh, they just printed it on DVD. It didn't have a theatrical run. You'd be like, really? It didn't even go to the theaters, like not even the community theaters, like the local art, you know, fancy, schmancy, like the Blue Door kind of theater. It didn't even get that. It just went straight to DVD. You think this is going to be a good experience? No, people have that stigma. And I do think that there is a stigma around Game Pass, and for good reason. Game Pass, when people say it's a Game Pass game, we all know what we mean. We all know what we
So,
mean. And we don't mean something good. You know, like, I definitely think it attaches that, it cheapens it in the eyes of people. And then another thing that I think it was Jez that pointed out, Microsoft is kind of overdoing the cadence of the games a little bit. Like, their games just come out one after the other with no impact and no room to breathe and no real marketing budget. Like, you take a look, what did they have? They had Indiana Jones, then they had Disavowed, then they had South of Midnight, now they have Doom: The Dark Ages. And these things are all within what, 5 months of each other? I know that people want a good cadence, but that's almost too much, because each title is kind of like, it's a bit like when they release Halo Infinite and then Forza Horizon 5 a month later. They step on one another.
You're saying they're overlapping each other type.
They're overlapping too much. You know, I know it sounds crazy to say, but
As
I
a
think
consumer, they might look at you though,
bit
Em.
more.
You don't think
Pardon?
as a consumer they're like, well, I don't give a shit as a consumer. Bring all the games you want. But I do agree, a lot of people are grown ass men with shit to do, and I think they could have easily spaced out the year and had an excellent, you know, whatever. I'm not. Everybody views shit differently, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think they should have gave it a little time to maybe for the holidays drop. You know what I mean? Who knows?
But listen, they don't even build. They don't have the hype cycle. You know what I mean? Like, that
They
these
don't let it
games to come
marinate.
out and then they just pass. Yeah,
Right.
they just pass very quickly. They put like a
Yeah.
trailer on YouTube here and there, and then that's it. Where's the, like, to be fair to Doom: The Dark Ages, I have seen it in Australia on the bus. So they have put marketing budgets behind it. Okay, fantastic. They did it for Doom, but they didn't do it for Disavowed. They didn't do it for South of Midnight. You know, they did a little bit for Indiana Jones, but it's just kind of like a hit and miss sort of a thing. Does that make sense? Like, anyways, I'm just speculating here, but I do think that there is a stigma around Game Pass games that go directly to Game Pass. I do think there is a stigma around Xbox games, because they had that for like the last 10 years. And I do also think that the fact that they are not making it exclusive, it doesn't have that shine, that special something like, oh yeah, we get it because we are part of this. It loses its culture. You get what I mean? Like you know what it feels like? It's a bit like when an athlete gets traded. Now I don't speak like American football, but I do know that Tom Brady left teams at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there. And then, the fans that used to hate him when he played for the last team, now they love him because they're on his side. Because now you're one of us. So there is kind of that thing about the console culture. Like, yeah, Doom, you were a third party and you were for everybody. But if you're not exclusively to us, it just adds a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a specialness. Even if later you release it like a year or two later on the other platform, for a moment it belonged just to you. Like take a look at like Stellar Blade. The way that the PlayStation gamers are so proud of that game. They're like, yeah, we got Stellar Blade. And then eventually it goes to PC and they're like, well, Stellar Blade is all news. But for the moment it was special.
Right.
Even Kenna Breach of Spirits. For the moment it was special.
It was never special to me.
Exactly,
Puerto Rock,
yeah.
can I say something? You have that interesting screenshot on screen. You know what? Good screenshot you have on screen right there, Puerto Rock. Listen, whenever a company comes out and says, especially Xbox is notorious for this shit. We have 3 million people use the battle rifle, so whenever they bring up bullshit shit like we have 3 million players, that's all a fabricated illusion fucking stat. So excellent screenshot you got right there.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, I could imagine, the appearance of Game Pass potentially making games look bad, right? But I think, particularly with this one, I have a feeling Doom lost his luster. Because Clair Obscur sold 3.3 million. And that was on Game Pass.
Also wasn't great on that. Yeah, because
but I have a feeling Doom is not resonating. I think Doom lost his luster. Like, when I look at Doom, I think of that big IP, but I grew up on that, right? But I think Doom lost his luster. I don't think Doom is that big game anymore.
I think Doom's the best game so far this year, though.
What? No, it probably is a better game, but I think the franchise, the name no longer has that, that je ne sais quoi. Doesn't have that riff no
agree.
more. I think it lost it.
I agree with you, Podok, because for me, I didn't grow up on Doom. And when I see Doom, I've even played Doom 2016. When I see it, I'm like, yeah, it feels like a relic of the past. It feels like a product of its time. I even so when I look at the new Doom, I've seen gameplay videos of it, I've seen reviews of it. People that like it find it great. Fantastic for them. I'm so happy that there are still games that cater to that. Fantastic. I wouldn't take that away from you. But it's a bit of Indiana Jones. Same thing. I didn't grow up on Indiana Jones. Never watched an Indiana Jones movie in my life. Yes. And I'm not going to. Stop. I'm not doing it. Okay? Because I can only hear that, oh no, you have to watch Crystal of the Lost Gods. Shut the I'm not watching it. Okay? Listen. I didn't grow up on that. So when they bought an Indiana Jones IP, I was like, I guess it would be good for the grandmas and grandpas. Like, I don't fucking know.
Hey, Grandpa, but guess what? You interested in playing Indiana Jones?
Guess what? Star Wars doesn't have that pull anymore either. People, like new kids, don't care about Star Wars. Okay, to be honest, I think Star Wars was always overrated, but I can understand that it was important to the cinematic industry. But still, Star Wars doesn't have that pull anymore. You have to let space go for the new things. Guess what? There is a kid that is 15, 16, 17 years old right now that for whom Clair Obscur is going to be his Mass Effect. For whom Clair Obscur is going to be his Halo. For whom these new titles and properties is going to be his Gears. And those things that are like frozen in time as a truly special experience that will always be a part of their identity. Fantastic. But you give that kid Halo now, he doesn't give a fuck about it, bro. People don't care about it. This is why new IP has to constantly be generated, because eventually it gets old, it gets stale, and it just, no matter how much you change it, it just feels the same. So I do think that Doom has fallen into that trap. So yeah, it is.
Listen, I will say that I think Dark Ages is a good game. I think it's the best game I've played, that and Berserker, but I still think Eternal is peak, and then 20, and then it goes. I think Eternal is better than Dark Ages, in my opinion. But Dark Ages is still an excellent game. And Puerto Rock, have you heard He's been on a campaign. You haven't seen him? He's been on my show. He's been on everybody's show, Twitter. This Expedition 33 is the best game he's ever played.
Oh yeah.
Top 5 game
Top
ever.
5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. It started
Have
here.
you played it?
I haven't played it yet,
okay.
but it started here. But that campaign started here. It birthed here, and he just spread his disease all across the
Okay.
world like a virus.
You like
These patients,
turn-based?
60. No, yeah, no, I'm excited to play it. In fact, I gotta get it physical because they nerfed it, and I refuse for people to nerf my single player games. I will install it with the cord not connected. You will not.
They nerfed
I'm
it?
gonna get.
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
mad
do
at
the
it.
8 billion
They
hit
didn't
in
nerf
one
it.
shot.
They didn't nerf it.
I'm doing it.
They didn't nerf it.
I'm
They
doing
didn't
it.
nerf it.
But
They fix a broken skill. That's what they did.
no,
They
it's
didn't
not
nerf
broken.
Okay.
They're trying to fix single player games. Leave it in this. Sometimes it's like the Liberty Bell. The crack is what gives it its charm. Don't fix
Right.
it. Leave the crack
Do-
in.
Do you know what's funny?
That's
If
the
it was
beauty.
broken the
The
other
flaw,
way, where
the flaw is the
when-
beauty.
if it was broken the other way, where the boss did too much damage, people will be crying and begging for them to fix it.
Oh,
But because
that's
it was
true.
them who got the advantage, they're
Yeah.
like, no, it was pure the
Brother
way
man,
it was.
brother man,
They
listen.
did that with
okay.
Liza P. They did that with Liza P.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. No one complains seeing more money in their bank account. People complain seeing less. Okay? No one's gonna be like, no one's gonna be like, oh my God, I woke up to $1 million in my bank account. But people will wake up to see a negative balance and be like, what the fuck?
Hey, Potter, in 2012 or so, PayPal had a glitch. Okay, PayPal had a glitch, and they credited someone's account $92 quadrillion.
I would have emptied the bank.
He did. He tried to.
And I'm not giving it back. I'm running
I
away.
think for 3 hours.
I would
For 3
drain that
hours.
shit and put it straight to the Cayman Islands. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
I think it was
It's
for
over.
3 hours. This man was the richest person to have ever existed. In fact, $92 quadrillion is such a huge number that there isn't that much money in pretty much the known
Printed.
universe.
Printed. I'm gonna take as much as I can, and I'm putting that shit in the Cayman Islands, and I'm disappearing. I'm becoming a citizen of the Cayman Islands. That's it. Done.
You
done.
could buy the entire Cayman Islands.
Yeah,
without
in
that
fact, I'm
much.
buying the
many
Cayman
movies, bro.
Islands. I'm gonna buy the Cayman Islands, and I'm gonna set my own rules. Nope, you can't.
Oh.
I set a law that I cannot be deported out of this island because I own it. Stay the fuck away from me. Oh man, unbelievable. All right.
Could you
All right,
imagine,
fellas.
bro? Oh.
All right. Let me do the last super chat. Shout out to Gordo says these Xbox dudes keep saying they have Game Pass, and meanwhile Game Pass is cheaper on another platform. They can't keep using that as an excuse. Oh, PC. But people, I guess, it's whatever. They got Game Pass, Shit, if these games keep raising the prices, I'm gonna sign up for GameFly again.
Where you been, Porter?
What?
Where you
Where I
been,
been?
brother?
When you
Yeah,
at
like
me?
I haven't seen
Well,
you
GameFly?
around. I don't know. No, where you been? You?
Oh, where I been?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I
Prepping-
see you. I still.
Prepping for retirement.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
No, but I do my shows. I haven't been able to do much on the weekends though, because right now this is our final year in California, so me and my wife are doing overtime. In fact, we just came back from San Francisco.
Oh, you're
my
moving.
daughter-
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually I'm moving to Florida, not San Francisco. But we went to San Francisco to sightsee because that was one of the bucket list stuff that my wife wanted to do.
Yeah. You told me you're
It's
moving
just-
to Florida. Fire.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So, but we're doing a lot of stuff on the weekend as our final year in California. Because after that, adios. We're back in the
Yo,
East
Potter,
Coast.
my mother is in Florida right now, and she's
Really?
loving it. Yeah.
No, I could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
Yeah, no, she actually likes the land of the slaves over there. She actually really likes it.
Oh shit!
She's always-
man. Oh
She's
man.
always wanted to move.
Like
What?
oh man. She's in the
What?
land of the
It's
slaves.
true.
Come on, bro.
What?
Like,
Come
but
on.
it is true.
It just happened. It
It is
wasn't that
true.
long ago.
It was like a couple of centuries ago. It's just stuff like this, right? But we learned out. Hey, we're a young country.
Puerto
Yeah.
Rico, I just want to say, I think you
Where you
guys found a new topic on this podcast talking about whale sperm and fucking pineapples.
Oh,
I
man.
was that was really entertaining. That was very entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, this is kind of fire, bro.
Oh
That
man,
was
it's
heat.
just you miss.
That was heat.
Oh,
We
okay.
need an after hours
Oh.
podcast. That would just be
Bro,
the entire podcast.
Bro, Puerto Rock, you gotta listen to me. You gotta have another show. It's more content, just where you talk about. You can talk about games too, but it's like whatever sports. I think
No.
people fuck with that.
Okay, I'll try. Well, right now I got the Friday Night Live. I'm trying to still develop that, into
The
something.
one-on-ones.
Yeah, the one-on-ones. I'm still trying to develop that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to get that.
like the one-on-ones.
Yeah. In fact, this Friday, I'll finish off the show with this. This Friday, I got Josh Edit, who wants to debate
Ooh.
me. So it'll be a debate. Josh Edit. So if you know,
Hey,
You guys
T-Rock's
want a
gonna
moderator?
he's
You guys want a
apparently
moderator?
T-Rock's gonna cook them up, baby.
He's apparently no, not you, because you'll take over him and be like, you know what, fuck that, Puerto Rock, be quiet, I got this. I'm like, you're the moderator.
Great moderator.
You'll be like the
I'm
ref.
a great moderator.
Yeah, you'll be
Listen,
like the
I
ref
am-
interfering with the game. Like, get out of here.
Listen.
I'm gonna score this goal.
Listen, I'm biased
No.
towards the truth.
Okay,
Okay.
But but he wants to. Josh Edits. He's on Twitter. Supposedly, he's Elnor's Alex Edit guy, whatever. But I called him out, but I give him
Oh.
props because he accepted.
I
You
don't
know who I'm
know
talking
about
about,
that.
right? Yeah.
No, I
but
didn't know.
Oh, you
But
didn't
if
know?
he's connected to
Supposedly,
Alex,
he
then
helps.
I will accuse myself.
Oh, he said,
I'm not touching that. with 10
but most of the time when dudes talk shit, right? Because he did a tweet, we just shit talking. But I always do this when people Puerto Rico always says stupid stuff. So when I see that, I'd be like, oh, okay. So come on live then and let's debate. You pick the 5 topics. I'm gonna let you pick the 5 topics. But if I say stupid shit, you should have no challenge, no problem. 99 out of 100 times they run away. But he took the challenge. So I give him props for that. So I give Josh Edits for
Hell yeah.
he talking
Can I,
shit.
can I add
He's
a
ready to step
stipulation?
up. So I
Can
give
I add a
that.
stipulation? I would
What's the
like him to
stipulation?
turn on his webcam. Because when
Okay.
people say dumb shit online, I want to see their
Oh.
face say it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, if he can, he
Yeah,
can.
I don't,
He's
I
done
don't
it
like this
before on his channel.
anonymity. You're hiding behind.
No,
Yeah,
he's done it
M is
before.
correct. Bro, there's too many mongoloids that have anime pictures as a fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Okay.
Y'all,
Hey,
you
I'm
want to run
about
your
it,
mouth,
but-
turn on your camera.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, turn on your camera, turn on your mic
did,
so that we can
he
see
did-
and hear you.
he
Facts,
did
Sam.
say
I fucking love you, bro.
he
Fire.
took the challenge, which I give him more than what I can say with other dudes that talk shit who don't show up. But so this Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, Josh Edits, right? It's not going to be the traditional live and interview. It's going to be a debate. He picks the 5 topics. And we're going to talk about the 5 topics. And then he also has some questions about me, but they weren't really debate topics. I said I'll answer them because he did list 5 topics, but 3 of them wasn't really topics. They were like, oh, why do I like PlayStation? I'm like, that's not a topic. I'll answer the question, but you need to come up with 3 more topics, and then he did.
Bro, why do
So-
that's like the head coach of the Celtics wanting to start and play basketball. I don't understand, like, why, like, bro, you an editor. Like, I don't get, like, say your
I don't
piece
get
on
it.
Twitter and keep it moving.
Listen. The man want to dance with the devil in the pale blue, in the pale
Okay.
moonlight. So he's gonna get it.
Careful what
He's
you
gonna get
wish
this work.
for.
But I give him props. At least he's showing up. Hopefully, he'll show up. He actually
No,
does
I
show
give him
up.
props to.
I give him props. That's more than I can say the other, Xbox dudes and content creators that say shit, but they never show.
A lot of
You know what I'm
talk shit
saying?
never want to show
So-
up. Fact.
Exactly. They loud behind their own podcast. They're loud behind their own Twitter handle. But when I invite them, or I say I'll go to your show, because I even says I'll do it on your channel. I'll let you take the mic home with you. I pull Eminem on them. Here, take the mic home with you. We could do it on your show in front of your peeps, and you pick the topics. I always say that.
I know what else I think though, Puerto Rock.
I won't
See,
set you
M,
up. You pick the
I think
topics.
you don't know Alex, do you? M, like that? You just see what?
I seen him on some videos, sometimes his videos. Even though that's been a long time since I watched any of his videos. But no, I do my best to not know him. I'll go out of my way not to. I want you to know that. In case you're about to invite me on a show with him, I want you to know I will do my best not to know him. Even after the show, I'll go on the show because I love you, but I will do my best not to know this man.
Listen, I feel like everybody's got their personas and whatever, but I know
Yeah.
Alex outside of YouTube, and he's a good guy, bro. That's
Outside of YouTube,
that's
he's a
all I
good
can
dude.
say.
Outside of YouTube,
Yeah.
he's a good dude. But
Yeah,
when he's
whatever
in
he might
character,
not like it. Yeah,
he's
you
in
might not like his
character.
character and bananas
No,
and shit
when
like
he's
that.
in character,
yeah.
he's in his
Yeah,
bag.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
banana suit and the Fudanari and Dick Girls, all that shit. He's
Look,
in the
shout out
role.
to
Yeah, you
Alex.
see,
But
He's doing
I'm
his
happy
thing,
to
outside,
bro.
know him.
but
I'll take your word
outside
for it.
behind the
Really?
camera, he's a good dude.
That's a lot to say.
Yeah.
That's a lot to
He's a
say.
good dude.
It's like,
He is.
outside of the mass murdering, the blatant racism, the
No,
weird
but-
sexual fetishes,
Oh,
you know,
man.
Hitler,
This
he
ain't
was a
Jeffrey
pretty good
Dahmer.
dude.
He's not Jeffrey
If you knew
Dahmer
him-
now. He's not eating
That's
people.
crazy.
He's just
just
not
like-
eating people. You know.
Listen, isn't he? I don't know.
Right? No,
I'm
you
not
know,
mad at him.
outside-
Man. He's getting his
It's-
success.
knows-
He's making his numbers.
he
Like
knows-
I'm not mad.
you
Do whatever he
know.
does. Yeah.
You know?
I'm not mad at him. I just don't want to get to know him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Bro, there's nothing
Just
wrong with that.
keep-
Not
keep it
everybody.
over
Not
there.
everybody gotta get. Not everybody got to get
No,
along.
keep it over
I
there.
don't like half the shit Alex does, but I know that he's a good guy. He's always rocked with me, and I can't be
In
fake
fact,
to say I don't like.
In fact, he showed up to one of my lives, and it was a chill convo. Besides
Yeah.
the fact that he wants to see my nipples, and he encourages my chat to pay
Yeah,
$50.
you
Like-
say that, and I
like-
remember that. That's the part
Yeah.
that sticks with me. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to
He's
get to know
gonna
this
he's
dude.
gonna want to see your nipples, Em. He's gonna
I'm
say,
telling
take that
you.
shirt off.
And then he's going to tell me that he's going to sleep with my dad. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing that he
Yeah,
says.
no,
all
no.
the-
He
I don't
will
know
say
what
he
it
will
is with
blow.
fathers.
No, he's gonna say he's gonna. No, he's not gonna say sleep with your dad. He say he's gonna blow a huge load in your dad's ass.
Yeah,
That's how he
there,
talks.
There you go.
That-
You see,
He
shit I
talks like
don't,
that.
you know.
That's Alex.
Yeah,
That's how he talks.
Blaze, you just gotta watch for the company you keep. I'm just saying, the people around
talks
you
like that.
are the people
He
around
doesn't.
you.
He doesn't. Him say sleep with your dad is a nice way. You know, he say he's gonna lay your dad on his
I was
stomach
making it nice.
and blow his asshole
I
out.
can't.
That's how Alex talks.
He's gonna well spur my dad. That's what he wants
he-
to do.
Yeah,
I
he
get it.
talks like that. So
I get it.
watch out.
I don't.
So,
I don't need that in my life. That's
Em,
that's
listen,
too high school level.
No, Em, I'm not trying to change your mind. All I'm saying is, I treat people how they treat me. If someone
Yeah.
shows me respect, no matter what people like, I gotta go on a base by base thing. And Alex has always been solid for me.
Kevin
I
Mack
can't
said
say it, you know what I
peace.
mean?
I'm out. Kevin Mack said peace, yo. I'm out.
No,
He's
that
like, I'm done with
weird
this
gay
convo.
shit. Alex is he might be gay. Yeah, I mean he might be gay.
He is
I
gay.
don't know.
He said it.
I don't know.
he's
I
gay.
guess, hey, you know, I
And
don't.
the thing is,
And I'm
it's not
sure-
the homosexuality that bothers me. It's the part where it's always going after your dad, and somebody's asshole is always involved mid conversation.
So
Because the thing is, no one ever brings it up. It's not a topic. We talked about one sperm before. It wasn't a bother because it was brought up as part of a fun thing, but no one brings it up. And then so suddenly, fathers everywhere clenching their buttholes. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's okay. It's okay.
You don't need that
understand.
image of
I
your dad
understand.
and Alex. You don't want that image
I'm just
intruding in
like,
your mind. You're like,
I don't
need to
need
hear
that.
this.
I don't need that. I don't need that. My mental
Like,
health. I don't have a therapist. I don't have a therapist at the moment. My mental health is
but at
already
least,
shaky.
but at least you got free healthcare. We don't. We would just get fucked in America.
There is that. Even though, I'm telling you, that I can't handle it. So yeah, that's it. Do you know who should come back to the show though, or I should meet
Who?
again? Gaz.
Oh,
Oh,
he
that
ain't
would be
coming back.
fantastic.
He ain't coming back. He unfollowed me on Twitter.
What? Why?
Yeah, oh, he ain't coming back.
Did you call him Boeing?
Puerto Rock, believe me. Again, I went to war for you. I said, listen, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. I said, stop fucking talking about politics, guys. You do that shit too much, bro.
Oh,
I said,
oh.
Puerto Rock, whatever his beliefs and your beliefs are, everybody got
No.
different beliefs. It's whatever. But
No.
I said, Puerto Rock is solid, bro. Facts. You can ask. I listen. I don't give a fuck. I
Wait,
can't
it was
allow.
about politics?
I think
I
so.
think so.
Because
Really?
he doesn't
I don't
like
know.
my view. No, so I'll say my view, right? I thought so. The election, right?
Yeah.
The pro-Palestine, and I don't have an issue with people being pro-Palestine, whatever. That's not the point. But I thought it was a fundamentally stupid movement that pro-Palestine was saying, "Do not vote for Kamala Harris. Do not vote for her. Make sure she loses." And I'm thinking, do you understand what's going to happen if President Trump becomes president? His people
Right.
are pro-Israel to the core. Like, those guys do not believe in two-state solution, and they actually believe in removing Palestinians away from the land. Like, they actually believe they shouldn't be there. So
Yeah.
I got it. President Joe Biden's what he did wasn't good enough or was terrible or whatever. I get the criticism. But it doesn't. It would be like It would be like I don't like this because this guy's a bad guy, so I'm gonna vote for the devil. Like, do you understand who you're gonna bring in? It doesn't make sense.
I understand.
Yeah, so I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, and they were saying like, oh, we're gonna do it to own the Democrats. We're gonna show the Democrats a thing or two. We're gonna make them pay. I'm like, listen, you don't know politics. Pendulum swings back and forth all the goddamn time. This is just a temporary thing the Democrats have to deal with.
They're
but
all
make
evil.
no mistake, in 2028, there's still opportunity for the 20 Democrats to take. Hell, there's talk of 26 being a potential blue wave because of how things are started. A lot of people are like, some people are like, man, we really screwed up putting the Republicans in power. But that's just normal when you have two powers. The pendulum's always swinging back and forth. So
they're both fucking evil. I'm sorry. I don't like. That's why I don't vote. I don't vote because
But what I'm saying is like, look, Trump was president in 2024, and what happened? Went to Biden. Now it's back to Trump. What's going to happen next term? It could go back to Democrats. So that pendulum swings back and forth. But you put a person in power where you might not have a Palestine in 2028. So it was an incredibly stupid move to say,
America's allies with Israel, right?
When you don't realize who Trump is and the people he's putting in place. Like, those guys don't believe in two-state solution. They don't believe. That's why Trump says, I think it's a good idea if we just, move all them out and have the country so we could take over. We'll make Palestine a beautiful place. He's literally saying, get rid of the Palestinians so they could take over and build it up and allow the people they want there. He literally said that. I'm like, so it didn't make sense for pro-Palestinians to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to make sure Kamala don't win. I'm like, do you guys know who Trump is? President Trump is? Bro, his peoples are pro-Israel, like straight up take over the whole region people.
But that's America in general. America's allies with Israel. That's just...
Yeah. Can I just say this? Listen. People.
What
was funny is one of the biggest content creators who pushed that literally within months. Oh, we got to get together and stick together. I'm like, who are you sticking together? Oh, now you want us to stick together after you realize you fucked up? Now that you see the demon for who he is, like, bro, listen. I'm going to say this the last time. My father said this, and yes, I'm going to give him credit. He's the one that said this. I don't give a fuck if you can give me a tablet from 10,000 years ago. No, my dad said this. When a man shows you who he is, believe him. That's it.
I'd rather the devil. I'd rather the devil. At least we know who Trump. I didn't know what Kamala was going to do. I said, fuck it. I'll take. At least I know. Listen, I don't vote, and I never have. I just. I'm good. I'm good with all that.
This is exactly what I'm going to tell you about. Listen,
I'm going to tell you.
I don't care if you vote Trump. I don't care if you vote for Trump. I don't care if you vote for Kamala. I don't care if you vote for Democrats or in independents. Please vote. People died so you could vote.
No,
that's how important it is.
All set.
No. You need to vote. You need to vote. Listen, in Australia, we have mandatory voting, right? It's just a part of our culture here. Okay? Please.
Like, what happened? You will vote or die? Like, what happens if you don't
they
vote?
give you a small little fine that is just or they give you a day in jail.
Fined?
You choose. Yeah, you get fined.
You go to jail if you don't vote?
Yeah, or you go to jail. Yeah.
I love America, man.
So like I say, I'm not voting. They're like, yep.
They get you. They will come and get you. They check the voter roll for every single person that is on voting age.
That's why I love America, baby.
That is what keeps the system better.
But you know, I live in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is literally California. It's a primarily nobody's vote is gonna change anything in Massachusetts.
No. This is exactly what the people. You just said that both people.
Yo. Australia, they're like, hey, yo, Blaze, if you don't vote, you're swimming with the fishes.
That's
so get
crazy.
your ass in that booth. Get in the booth.
Mandatory voting is a civic duty. You should have mandatory voting. You should have mandatory voting. Absolutely.
No,
listen, it's a wonderful
people
thing.
fought for our country, so we had the freedom to choose and be free.
So you will make the choice. Choosing not to choose isn't what they fought for. Literally, because you weren't choosing under the kings.
Freedom, so you can make your decisions.
No, they didn't fight for freedom. They fought for the ability to direct their own path. You not directing your path by not voting is what you had under a king. You didn't get to direct the path. They literally fought so that you will get a choice.
America,
But you're choosing not to.
Oh shit!
Listen, you are
Oh, I would
disavowing
love that. I would
everything
love
they
to see
fought
that.
for.
I would love to see someone introduce a bill making voting mandatory for 18 and above, and
No,
see
can I
how
just say
America
how
reacts
good
to
it
that.
is?
I would just,
Because
I wouldn't. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
You're right.
that.
You
I
know
just,
that would never fly. That would
I
never
don't know how
fly
to
over
say
here.
that.
You know that.
Can I tell you the
you will
benefits?
vote or you will go to jail.
Listen, a lot of countries around the world have mandatory voting because
you're
No,
right,
in
you're right.
America, nobody will vote.
I know.
They're
They're
like,
like, all
fuck
right,
that.
take us
So,
all to jail. Take us off.
You don't have enough space in jail to put us all.
Right.
But here's
like
the thing.
150 million Americans didn't vote. It's the biggest
Yeah.
incarceration you will ever see in the history
Come
of the
on, man.
world.
No, listen.
Damn, I'm gonna buy you a ticket tonight. Wait, how much is a ticket to America, man? Where my phone
Oh
at, bro?
man,
You need to get out of there.
You need
Yeah,
freedom,
you need to get out of there.
baby. You need
You
freedom.
need
Listen,
freedom.
Listen, you're gonna
guys.
come to America. We're gonna put a Bible in one hand and a gun in the other,
Facts.
and McDonald's in
Guys,
the middle. America.
It's not freedom that you have, it's negligence. Negligence. That's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. It's neglect. Okay,
Oh,
listen.
man.
If you make voting mandatory, you have to move it on a day when most people can vote. We have early voting. We have early voting booths. You have postal voting. We have
that.
many ways. You can vote from overseas in Australia.
They got all
We have
that.
that. We have that.
No, but you have it at a mid level where there are still roadblocks for a lot of people, because especially for black populations, there's a lot of roadblocks for you to get your early voting like credit or whatever. Over here, it's given to you automatically. The only thing we don't have is online voting, which again we could have, right? We could do it, okay? But the thing is,
he said we're not paying $1,200 for a pro thanks to no voting. America.
Hey, he's spinning though. Come on, baby.
oh, mandatory voting is the way to go. But before that happens, please don't vote.
I think I'm about to do Fridays as off-topic Fridays. Because shit's too good, bro. I had no idea that Australia was like vote or die.
Go to jail.
I didn't know you got
bro.
the guillotine. I didn't know they gave you the guillotine if you didn't vote.
By the way,
you will vote or
it's
we will
mandatory
kill
voting
you.
for every election, including your local elections. It's every single one.
Yo, like you can't even work. Like, man, we're holding like 50 elections here. Like, what the fuck? Relax.
How are people going like the Australian political system is so scuffed? What the heck? It's
at
wonderful.
A certain point,
it's good.
At a certain point, be like, listen, man, with all this voting, I'd rather just spend the day in jail. Just send me to jail, bro. This is too much. Like,
man, I didn't know that. That's scary. I'm good with Australia.
Wow.
How is
That's
this
crazy?
scary? You can pay a fine
good.
instead. You can just pay your $50 and move on if you don't want to go. The jail thing is an extreme thing.
It's $50.
$50.
Yeah. They give
So would you
$50.
pay? So would you do that, Blaze? Like, let's say if
100%.
America adopted, if you don't vote or pay $50, you would pay the $50.
Writing the check immediately. Take it.
That would be the highest revenue income in your entire lifetimes. Every single voting. But here's the thing: it's mandatory for every election. So for your local election, for your state election, and for the federal election.
So like mayor,
so you will be paying a lot of money.
senator, representative, Congress, president. That's like 5. That's a minimum of 5.
At Puerto Rico, you know this?
So that's 200. So that's 250 a
elections,
year. So would you pay 250
No,
a year?
three.
Not to vote?
We have 3 elections. We have 3 elections here.
No, but
right?
we have
it's your local representative, right?
No, we have a lot.
Your state representative, and then it is your federal representative.
So we have a lot. So we have. So what about mayor? That don't count towards mayor. It's just federal.
We don't really do. I think the local one is the mayor. I think that's the equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in America, we got. So I'll start with the state. I'll start with the state at the city and states. So in the state, you have a bunch of cities. Each city has a mayor. Okay. Yeah. Then each state you have senators and representatives.
Right.
Yeah.
Because one is for the House, one is for the Senate. Okay. And then you have the governor. Right. You also have state judges. And then you also have the president.
Wait, you vote for your own judges?
Yeah, we vote for judges. Yeah.
We don't.
Impatient. Politicians are going to do what they want regardless. But
no. You're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
To do whatever they want. No, listen. Let me tell you, right? We had
I mean,
a Trump
technically, we're
lookalike
seeing
in
it.
Australia.
Bro, we
No,
see
hold on,
it,
hold on,
bro.
hold on. Let me prove to you that it works. We had the Trump lookalike here called Peter Dutton, right? He came in, he started culture warring, and he was for the conservative side of our national system, right? So they went to the far right and they did everything. They tried to follow the Trump playbook. We rejected him to the point where he lost his seat. Like he's out of government completely.
Yeah.
He didn't just lose the election, he lost his own seat at the
Yeah.
election. And he was the leader of that party. So that means that because we voted, we got him completely out of government. He's
Yeah, but
not
they have
any
to
part,
vote.
not local, not government, not state, nothing. He's complete. It's like Mitch McConnell if he was just thrown out the door. You don't get to be part of the party whatsoever. That is the power of actually having people use the exercise. Because the thing is, you guys complain all of the time that things aren't working for you, but then you don't go vote. And the reason you don't go vote is because the people at the top that you could vote for have told you your vote is useless. And oh, you're a blue state anyway, it won't make a difference. You're a red state anyway, it won't make a difference. We flipped lots of places that were traditionally held by one party or the other. I don't care who you vote for, but please vote, because that is the thing that actually gets you out. That's the reason that they try to keep it away from so many people. Do you think if your vote didn't matter, that there wouldn't be putting so many roadblocks for colored people and migrants that could legally vote in order to vote?
No, I'm not
Do you
saying
think that it would have taken so long for women to be able to vote? Your vote is your most important.
And do you know what jury duty is? Do you know what jury duty is?
Of course.
Okay, if you vote, you get thrown in the pool of jury duty. And that's another, it might be ignorant to you, but that's another,
That's it.
I ain't trying to do none of that, bro. I'm not trying
Fuck
to do none
outta
of that.
here.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I don't care. I'm not trying to do none of that, bro.
like,
My
he don't
life has
wanna
never
rat out-
changed.
He don't want to rat out his friends. He don't want to rat
Yeah,
out
I'm
the
not trying to be
Gambino
on the
crime
stand
family.
and say, yeah, right there, M.
No,
Yeah,
but-
he did it.
Listen. If you don't want to do that, just tell them you have a conflict of interest. They're legally not allowed to pick you if you state
No,
explicitly
yes,
that I have a
it's-
conflict of
it's
But
interest.
you're
not that it's
always,
gonna be,
you're
hey,
always
what's the-
there, though.
I could just say, hey, what's
No,
the
but listen,
conflict of
if
interest?
everybody
I'm part of the
voted-
crime family.
Listen, listen.
Hey, I'm part of the
Blaze,
family. What's going on here?
If
Hey,
everybody
the
voted,
Butterfield
you
goes
will
over
be one
here.
of
Hey,
millions.
that's Vinny right there. Hey, Vinny, what you do? You got caught again, Vinny? Mama, stupid ass. I told
Nah, I
you
can't
not to
do
do
that.
it. Hey, I
Man,
can't
look.
here. I can't be a judge here. There's moron. Hey, I'm gonna see you tonight, you dumbass. What the hell is
Blaze,
wrong with
Blaze.
him?
Porter, I
Hey,
gets it, bro. Porter, I gets it,
Paisan,
bro.
man, what is wrong with
Blaze,
you?
you will only feel
These
that
young
because
kids,
you will
they
be
don't
one
listen.
of
They
like
don't go
300
with the
people
old
in your city.
ways.
You'll
They don't
be
respect the
one of
old
300.
ways, the traditions from Sicily, Paisan. Little Vinny,
Peter, I
stupid
gets it,
ass,
baby.
once
I'm telling
again.
you, he gets it, bro. He gets it.
Listen, Blaze, it's a numbers game. If there's
Oh.
30 million people that are voting around your state, then you have a very low chance of being bothered ever. Then you can just walk up, and then once every 7 years, you just say, "Hey, I have a conflict of interest," and you just go home.
Okay,
Like,
but
this is
can I just say
unfiltered
something?
because it's mandatory.
I think Trump is a listen. I just look at Trump and I look at a buffoon idiot, and then I look at Kamala,
Yeah.
unexperienced. They just pushed her in. So I don't like. I don't want to vote for either. I don't like either side. I think America is one of the best countries in the world, and this is the best we got to offer.
I
I'm
would
good.
say,
This is
I would say this
No,
past
I'm
election
good.
was probably like one of the worst for like because a lot of
Oh,
people
wow.
felt
No,
that way.
but hold on,
It's
but
like,
hold on, hold
yeah,
on,
there's a
Blaze.
lot of
Here's
people
the
felt that
thing.
way.
In America, your system, to change your world, right? To make the world better for your child, your mother, your daughter, whatever. Your local election matters more, right? Because
Yes,
your federal
actually,
election,
yes.
your federal election is so far removed, and your government is crippled by this stupid constitution people refuse to amend. We just talked about it before.
Hey, that's the greatest document in history of the world. The only
That's
document that's
crazy,
more
bro.
point is the
Still
Bible.
stupid. Still stupid. But here's the thing.
Em, you're going to jail. That's the difference. We love our constitution.
Listen.
No, here's the thing. Vote locally
Nobody
at the
throwing us
very
in
least.
jail because we didn't vote for the fucking mayor.
Facts.
You should go vote for your mayor. You should vote for your mayor. You should vote for your judges. If you get to vote
calm
for
the
your judges,
conscience. Come on, brother.
So just to let you. So in America, you vote for your judges, except for the Supreme Court. That's the only ones you don't vote for.
yeah,
'cause
no,
they get
I get that.
selected.
The Supreme Court, everybody knows
but the
that is a
judges at the
lifetime
state and city
appointed by the
level,
president.
the district attorney, the attorney general,
Yeah.
the
You get to
mayor.
vote for all of those and you're not voting?
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot.
insane.
Yo, but
These are the
that's a
people
lot
that
of work.
make your local laws. These are the people that choose
Yeah.
whether you get a bike path or a train
The
or good public
senators,
transport.
the
Like,
representatives,
bro,
And
these
that's
are
the
the
thing.
people that choose
I
whether
don't complain.
the
I don't
district,
complain. That's the other
district,
thing.
the
I'm not a
district
complainer.
leaderships. Like, there's a lot of voting
here's
on
the
it, bro.
thing.
It's
Here's
like
the thing,
it's like a
Blaze.
second job voting in America.
Blaze. Do you okay? Obviously, you don't have to vote for every single one, but at least
I
vote
know.
for the mayor, right? At least vote
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
here's the thing:
Yeah, that's
voting
smart.
No,
is
That's
your
smart.
civic duty. It is the best thing that you can do to make your local environment better.
Right, because
And
that
so they're
control.
lying to
Yeah,
you.
right.
They
I
are
got
lying
you.
to you if they're telling you that your
Listen.
vote doesn't matter because they don't want you to show up.
No, but
They
that
don't want
see,
you to
my
show up.
local mayor
no.
affects me and my family where I live and all.
Yeah,
I get
that's why
that.
you should. That's
You're
why you should at least vote for your local election. And in fact, if you're from Australia, please do also pay attention to your local elections because we have to do it as part of the mandatory voting system. But a lot of times, people just go in and just scribble whatever they want. They don't really invest or even investigate who is the person they're voting for. Because Australia has been lucky for a long time that we haven't had stupid presidents. And I'm so proud of all Australians for sending a message that says, no, we don't want to be stupid. Okay? Because we see Trump in America and we want none of that. But the point is, imagine if you could have gotten Mitch McConnell out of politics 40 years ago. You wouldn't have fought in Afghanistan. You wouldn't have fought these wars that were unnecessary and never actually counted towards you. They did nothing for you except bleed your blood all over the world, create more enemies than it ever has friends, and then just created issues all over the place that require now refugees to come to your home and be like, well, you fucked our home up. Can we come to yours now? America has been on a very dark path when it comes to the foreign relations. Not everything is dark, obviously. The American military does great work rescuing a lot of people, and helping with loss of natural disasters. I can appreciate that part, but your foreign policy is garbage. You've been in world wars since world wars were invented. You never.
We're the
stopped.
world police. We're the world police.
Yeah, man.
But you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
I'm not saying we should be. I'm not saying we should be. I'm not saying we should.
No one ever asked you to. No, but your politicians are saying that you should be, and you should have gotten those motherfuckers out because they give more money to the defense industry, which, funny enough, is more like offense industry than you get for like your local thing. You don't have free healthcare because daddy needs a new fucking $10 billion aircraft carrier.
I agree with the healthcare part. We have shitty healthcare.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. So,
but I ain't
go
complaining
ahead.
about $80 games. I'm not complaining about shit like that. I just don't care. Eggs are expensive.
Says,
they're gonna be expensive.
He's like, I'm gonna pay the $50 not to vote. He said, "Fuck that." Fuck you,
that,
please.
for real.
Blaze
I
says,
really want to. Puerto Rico, can we fly him over though? I just want you to experience like I want you to
get him to America.
No, I just want you to walk down.
We're gonna feed you.
Yeah, you coming with us, bro.
We're gonna put a Bible in your hand. We're gonna put a pistol, a shotgun.
Come down to
Australia. We're gonna put some timber. No, listen, I don't want to get jailed for not voting.
Spiders,
jail. You know what I'm saying?
You can't vote in Australia, mate.
We're gonna watch. We're gonna have you walk past the White House and give the middle finger and be like, "You don't get in trouble." No,
I've been to the White House.
Okay.
It's a nice house. It's a nice house. I like it. I always wonder where the snipers were, though. That's the one thing I like.
Don't you just want to come outside on the street and just yell, "Fuck Donald"? Whatever you want to do, you can do it, brother.
We can do it here too. We say it to our politicians' face all the time.
You can say "fuck the police" like NWA.
We say it all the time. Lots of people say "fuck the police."
All right, here's the number one reason: you get to see real breakdancing.
Facts.
Oh my God.
That's a
do I
fact.
get to see school shooting too? It's been long enough.
No,
it's been long enough.
Because we can't put you. No, you're not going to school because then it will look weird. We will look like pedos, so we don't want that. So you gotta stay away from the school zones.
That's okay. I can be shut up at the mall. It's okay. I understand that mass shootings happen anywhere in America. It's okay. Malls, cinemas.
But we're gonna give you a gun so you can shoot back. We're gonna give you guns so you can shoot back. All right.
The only thing freedom to shoot back with a gun.
I'm not mad at anybody's opinion. I don't care if you like the left. I don't care if you like the right. I don't care if you like Trump. I really don't care. That's why I don't get. Like I said, I just judge people on how they treat me. I don't care what you like, what your interests are, that shit don't matter to me, bro. It's never.
Listen, just go vote. Vote for your local election. Vote for your mayor. Okay. If enough of you vote for local elections,
that might be
trigger up. and it's going to eventually make your country better.
Local mayor
Because-
facts. No facts. That's something I should do. My girl, I think my girl votes. I'm good, bro.
Listen, man. Listen, Americans are too complacent. That's basically it.
Oh,
You've
that's
been
true.
taught that inconvenience is this huge thing, but the thing is, it keeps away from you the very thing that people fought for and died for. Like, you people had civil wars.
That is freedom. Freedom.
You know, what, you die, and then for the
And
people that you die for should not even benefit from the thing you died for.
Did our soldiers not die for our freedom? Is that not a fact or what?
Yeah. That's
But
what
your
we-
soldiers died so you could vote for your country's choice.
And so we couldn't. They died so we
No,
could.
they didn't want you to not.
No, they died so we had we have the freedom to choose whether to do it or not to do it. That's the beauty of it.
Do you know what you sound like? You sound like if you
Like an
work
American.
tirelessly for 60 years, you've worked tirelessly to build up a nest egg for your son and your daughters and everything like that, right? And then they receive the inheritance, $60 million. And your son takes his half and he's like, yes, my dad worked so hard so I could go and gamble it away in a casino on the very first night. Wouldn't you roll in your grave?
So
Yeah,
this
I
is-
hear what you're saying, bro. I do.
So this is pretty much voting in Australia. When you say no, when you say no to voting in Australia.
Oh my God.
Yo, Em, you check if anybody's at your door right now?
Pardon?
Somebody at your door right now?
Go ahead
No.
and say no to voting in Australia. Em is
Em,
like first time.
I would lock all your doors. Lock all your doors today. Make sure you got your cameras are covered. Like, I'd be worried about shit like that.
Yo, some people like maybe it's better that Americans don't vote because at one point they
Oh,
thought
wait.
1/3 was smaller than 1/4.
Yo, can I
They
just say
thought
the
1/3
fine
burgers
is
was
actually
less.
$99.
They
The fine is
thought,
$99.
Americans think
$100 now.
Yeah.
what happened? What? The fine is how
$100.
much?
It's $99. It's $99.
$99.
Yeah. But guess what? We are so democratic, you can get a payment plan. Isn't that a
No
wonderful
way.
country?
No way. That's fucking hilarious.
Yo,
Do they got a rewards program? They got a loyalty rewards program. If you consistently
even
don't
go to
vote,
court.
you can earn 2% cash back.
yo,
On
guess
every
what?
vote
You
you
can
don't
go
do.
to court and you can argue for why you didn't vote. I'll send you the link. It's great.
Oh man.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, this country is wonderful. This country is
No,
wonderful.
I
It gets a
believe
few
the
things right.
country's good. I'm not talking
That's
shit about it.
just
I'm just
crazy.
saying I disagree with you on that aspect. That's all.
Oh man, my man
Listen,
said, my man said, yo, vote or die. They literally take that to the that's just a saying in New York. In Australia, they mean it.
Hey, Brown, don't bring that up. Puerto Rock is in a good mood right now. Please don't bring that up. He's in a good mood.
I know, but he's a Clippers fan. Well, he can't be talking
Oh.
shit.
You're
Get
a
out of here,
Clippers fan?
Donnell.
Oh,
He
all
says,
right.
what about them Knicks slapping my ass off? You're a Clippers fan. Stop it. And you let the
Yeah.
Mets whoop the Dodgers' ass. Stop it.
I didn't know I can't save you if you're a Clippers fan. I can't.
Yeah, he's a
Sorry.
Clippers fan. He's in LA as a Clippers fan. So who does that? Who the hell is a Clippers fan in LA? That shit don't exist.
That's like being in New York and being a Mets fan. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You hear that, Donnell? Exactly. You are the Mets. You're the version of a Mets fan. Terrible. But anyway, man, this is a good off topic. We're gonna wrap this up, man. Blaze, man, what's going on, my brother?
Not much, bro. Sorry I'm late, man. My kids
No.
weren't.
That's all right. I
Cooperating
understand
tonight.
that. Yeah, how's your
Yeah.
Saturday shows going?
They're doing actually really good, bro. I've been growing
Nice.
numbers wise, live numbers wise.
Hell
I'm just
yeah.
trying to, I'm trying to mix, bro. Puerto Rock, we got to get you back on. M just
course.
pops up and just starts, bro. M extended my podcast by 3 hours.
Oh man, yeah, you're in trouble.
100% he did.
He shows up.
You know,
You're in trouble.
someone left me a comment said, y'all let that fucking UK guy get too much airtime. I said, he's from
UK,
Australia, and that's my
UK
man.
guy. He speaks
Yeah,
the
I was
Queen's
like, that's
English.
my man, and he's
You let
from
that
Australia.
UK motherfucker, you let that Central Sea looking motherfucker extend this shit to 3 hours.
I think M is great.
That's
I
good,
think
though.
M has great viewpoints.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
fuck with
man.
M heavy. I don't care what
Yeah,
nobody says. So.
that was a good draft pick from the chat.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't know how you found him. Like, what the
I
hell?
get some gems. I get some gems out of the chat.
Bro,
I got some
facts.
good.
I
I
don't
get
know
some
how
good
to-
gems.
Damn,
I
what
know
the
how
fuck?
to
How
pick.
you-
I know how to do some draft picks. Out of the
What did he
chat. I
say
got
that
some
made
good
you
gems.
bring him in the chat? I don't get it.
I
Like,
don't know. I just
Oh,
offer.
he said some stupid shit. He had to be corrected.
I think it was Naughty Dog development time, right? Multiplats. I think it
Yeah,
was some shit like that.
it was Naughty Dog development priority because I was
Priority,
arguing
yeah.
that
Yeah.
regardless, a first party studio first has to answer to the needs of the platform, and you were
Yeah.
like, no, they're going to go for the live service strategy. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was right.
now you're a
Hey,
star, Em. Now you're a star.
come to find out, I think I remember. I relieved Extreme off the bet. He says we're gonna play a Naughty Dog game by what was it, 2025 or what was your
It was
date?
2025. It was
Dude, I was
2025.
like, that ain't
Damn, you
happening, dog.
lost.
I was like, yeah, you would have
Damn.
lost
Yeah,
that shit.
that was back when the live service game was supposed to come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, bro,
yeah.
this shit's gonna cause us not to play a game till at least 2026. You're like, no, we're gonna have it in 2025. And then something
Damn.
happened, and you're like, hey, Porter Rock, can we like? I think you're right.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
You're free. You're free for the bet.
That's the thing about me. When I see that I'm wrong, hey, listen, man, there's no point holding on. There's no pride.
Listen,
There's no pride in it. There's no ego. There's no ego. There's
He
no
was not
ego.
dying.
There's no pride.
He was
It's
not.
just like,
He was
yep,
not
you're
sinking
right.
with the ship. He's like, I'm not sinking with this
Yep.
ship, man.
That's exactly why with like Fair Games and Marathon, you see me, I'm like, no, fuck
I'm like,
that,
no.
not me. You will never catch me on the Titanic. As soon as I see that iceberg, I'm like, okay, winching down the life raft. Like, y'all can stay
Right
here.
now,
I'm going.
before anybody
Right now.
says nothing.
But 3 hours early. Like, nope, this isn't good.
Like that.
This isn't
Oh,
good.
man.
I left early. That because the thing is, we had the argument, and then the next day they said
Yeah.
something suspicious.
And you're
And
like,
I
wait a
was like,
minute.
And then a week later, I was like, yeah, I'm done with the bet. I'm good.
You're like, wait a minute. This was quick. That shit was fast too. Like these got
What
unwrapped
about
real
really-
fast. Like you're like,
You
wait a
realize
minute.
our bet? You realize our
The
bet
what?
we had, right? Me and you
Yeah.
had a bet. You have to buy
Yeah.
me GTA, and you
Yeah,
got
absolutely.
saved again. You love
Absolutely.
the delay. Like, oh shit, I ain't got to pay base for another year. Fine. Like, damn.
Yeah, no, fuck
That
that,
was the
because that
bet.
delay affects me.
Not
Play
true.
Grand
That's
Theft Auto
true.
6. I got the
Yeah.
Pro. I'm ready. Listen, I have no issues honoring my bets. I have no issues. You know, I'm like, yo, let's get this game out here and
Yeah,
over with.
Lannister in this bitch. Always pay the debts.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Always pay your debts.
Jamie Lannister.
All right.
There we go.
All right. It's good to see you. Extreme, man. What's up with you? Did you do some new content?
Yo, got some new content coming up. I wanted to shoot a video
Oh.
talking about a few things, but then I tried it a few times, didn't work out. So, anyways, I will be creating new content over the next few days, but go watch the old content. If you like my rant about gamers not being honest about what they're asking for, you're going to find more of that on my channel. Just go browse through the videos. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Absolutely. Check out the library. And then, of course, your only friend is YouTube Streets, Porter Rock 77. Thank you so much for rocking out with 60 Frames No Lag podcast. And, of course, again, tune in this Friday. Got Josh at it with the debate. It's been a while, but good on him to show up. So that's going to be a good time. Again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific this Friday. Josh at it. So we're going to have a good time and stuff like that. But anyway, you guys take care. See you again next week. And that's it. We do what we do. We're out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love, for the chat, for the super chats. And Donnell, F you, bro. Talking shit as a Clippers fan. I ain't trying to hear that shit. All right. You guys take care. Peace.
Peace.